Oh shit. Alright. We are now live. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my god. Yo said pour him a shot. We live, baby, yeah. Alright. Let me wait so people can get in here. Oh my goodness. Hold up. We're gonna be talking about Yu-Gi-Oh tonight. You can hear some people in the background. That's the Urban Ninja, of course, and Master Zen. If you can hear them in the background.
We are not jiggling anybody's titties.
What? 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 Hey! Oh no! You gonna say?
I said Brian said it, I'm just repeating it. Green peppers.
This man is eating pizza while I'm Jesus Christ.
Rocking with my hunger. I'm fat and I'm hungry.
What's going on, Rafael? Oh my god. God dang it. I'm trying to share this John Brown live. Oh my god. Hold on. Jesus have mercy, Christ. Goodness gracious. What the fuck? Who the fuck is
What do you think?
What are you doing?
Gyrating in the back of the chair.
Jesus fucking Christ. Have mercy, Lord. What's going on, RC99? Yo, it's been a long time since I was on one of your live streams. What's good? What's good? What is going on? Give me a second. I'm just networking right now so I can share the live and thing. If y'all can do me a favor, share the live however you can. Please. All right. Megadon, what's going on, man? Oh Lord. Okay, hold on. Let's go back. I said let's go back. Cause we about to start. I just went to Tokusatsu pop-up shop in my area. They had Kamen Rider, Ultraman, and Godzilla merchandise. You lucky son of a gun. Where was that? A pop-up shop? You lucky devil. That's it. From now on, Megadon. We jealous of Megadon now. We jealous. We are extremely jealous. Extremely. Expeditiously, we are extremely jealous of Megadon right now. Arrow, what's up, man? But yeah, so this video in question that we're going to be reacting to is by Jordan Fridge, of course. Shout out to him. Thank you for making this 3-hour long video talking about the bizarre world of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. And yes, this is one of the reaction requests that is in the chat. I was trying to figure out for the longest time how do I tackle this? Do I cut up in pieces? Do I just react to it as a whole? No, we're gonna just do a live stream. We're just gonna stream it, us reacting to this, and him talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Heck, he even did one talking about regular Yu-Gi-Oh! So if people enjoy this, we might just do another live stream talking about the other video, or do another live stream talking about Sonic. You know, just let me know. Just let me know, or I might just do a video just talking about Sonic instead of that. But anyway, let's get into this.
Yu-Gi-Oh! As a franchise had such humble beginnings, starting off as a manga series that didn't specifically focus on the main card game the series would be known for, to now having so many generations and iterations of the anime, the card game itself, video games, and more. I made a whole series detailing a bunch of the early years, covering everything that involved Yugi, essentially covering 5 seasons of the anime. Today, we are going to continue forward into the next generation of Yu-Gi-Oh!, switching to a cast of new main characters as well as a whole new location. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX was an exciting moment for Yu-Gi-Oh! In general because it was completely rejuvenating all aspects of the franchise.
Right.
It would be sad saying goodbye to Yugi, but we are going to be heading out to a dueling academy, and with this, a whole bunch of new cards to see in the show as well as collect and duel with in real life. Today, we start our journey into exploring the lore of Yu-Gi-Oh!
I know I have the dual disc for the Battle City tournament dual disc, but I low-key want that dual disc specifically, and it's a damn shame that I couldn't find it when I was trying to find it. John Brown shame. Just a shame.
GX. We shall be going through the seasons, learning about the characters, understanding the narrative, and more. And speaking of that, this will be a 3-part series. Each part can be viewed standalone, but will all come together like pieces of the Millennium Puzzle. With Yu-Gi-Oh! Becoming such a massive phenomenon all around the world, it was only inevitable that the franchise as a whole was going to be expanded on. Similar to how Pokemon and Digimon would move on to their own next generations of their property, it was time for Yu-Gi-Oh! To do the same, with
Right.
saying a proper goodbye to the original characters and their story, and move forward in time where there is now a school called Duel Academy.
I remember GX aired on Nicktoons when I was growing up. I loved it. It did? Well, that's interesting. 'Cause I don't remember it being on Nicktoons first. Cause the way when I saw it, it was on Cartoon Network when I had saw it. But hey,
Built on a small island by Seto Kaiba, an educational establishment solely dedicated to teaching young duelists to hone their skills in the game and become some of the best duelists out there. So much like the last series I made going through the OG Yu-Gi-Oh! Seasons, today we are going to deep dive the story, explore the lore, and more of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. So why was Yu-Gi-Oh! GX created? Simple. Just because the story was over for our main characters in the anime and manga, that doesn't mean the card game needs to stop, and the best way to continue to put out new sets and show them off properly is by having...
hold on. Let's make sure we got in a good... Wait a minute. Quality. This thing is at... I apologize, you guys. I don't know why that was at 420.
Cartoon to go with it. With this opportunity and going with the trend of the term next generation, we get the title of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, with the GX standing for Generation Next. See, it's not the next generation, it's the generation next. It literally means the same thing. Nihon Ad Systems and TV Tokyo would produce this new series, having it based on no source material with Studio Gallop animating it. Then continuing their deals with 4Kids Entertainment to license the series and translate it to English. Just like that, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is back, and you could see the series on Cartoon Network. And it was truly super exciting to see what this new Yu-Gi-Oh series was going to be all about and how it differed.
I said it aired on Cartoon Network for sure. It aired. Ah, that's why. You're in the UK. That's why. That is why.
From the original. What didn't differ is, of course, 4Kids Entertainment's editing and adapting. While the usual stuff you'd expect to be edited and changed, like violence or certain references not suitable for the audience it was being presented to, they ended up changing, tweaking, or downright getting rid of some plot points for whatever reason that they had in the series. There are several moments that I'll bring up here and there throughout talking about the whole show that are pretty interesting for their differences between both versions. Outside of that, the series would first premiere in Japan in early October of 2004, with the 4Kids English dub not hitting TV screens in the US until early October of 2005. With Yu-Gi-Oh! GX now celebrating its 20th anniversary, revisiting the series and exploring all it has to offer seemed like a very fun thing to do. It was also cool to see an announcement for the anniversary that they were going to do a remastering of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, but since that has recently started, it seems fans aren't too happy with it. Aside from it being region-locked to Japan, it looks like the remastering is more so just cropping in the 4-3 look into a 16:9 aspect ratio. So what that—
What? Huh? What? So you tell me that's literally all it is? It's just a really? Well, that's disappointing. Oh man.
looks like is if I take the footage here and just zoom in to about here, and boom, remastered. So if that honestly is the case for the whole remaster, that's definitely disappointing. While I do hope that there will be more for the 20th anniversary, I will still be celebrating my own way by going through the series with all of you. Plus, I will be going into other aspects of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, like in Part 2, we will be talking about the manga for the series.
Oh,
and how
wow.
it's completely different from the show. And in Part 3, we will be talking beyond Season 3, as Season 4, and even the last technical episode of Season 3, were never translated and released outside of Japan. So there's the real ending to the series that we will be discussing that never got to air in English. Now, with all that
What?
being said, it's time to get into all that Yu-Gi-Oh's second generation of stories had to offer.
So okay, you know what? Y'all's told me this beforehand that like there's a whole part of this show that did not come to the U.S. that I just seriously need to watch Yu-Gi-Oh! GX in the sub. I just need to watch it in sub and catch up from there because yeah. Uh-huh. That's what I need to do. And then if I find out that the original series, there's some things in the original series that wasn't aired in the US, that means I gotta go back and rewatch that. Oh.
So much like Jaden,
I'm gonna give me my salad in a minute.
You don't want to be late to school.
It's Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
Watching Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
After having so much time with Yugimoto, Atem, and all of Yugi's friends, we get to the first episode that starts a new generation of Yu-Gi-Oh! Passing on the King of Games title both metaphorically and literally with the episode titled The Next King of Games. Or even more literal with the Japanese title being The One Who Succeeds Yugi. But in this inaugural episode—
Wow, that's literally what it is? Wow.
Jaden Yuki, as he is running through the city to try and make it in time for his entrance exam into Duel Academy that he is already late for. That's when he runs into none other than Yugimoto, who is treated as this godlike figure here. We don't see above his nose, he has Atem's voice, and for some reason hands Jaden a special card that he believes has a calling to be with him before he walks away, and rightfully giving Jaden a thumbs up. Literally, he passed the baton here. But man, why you gotta do us like that? Now I'm crying all over again for him doing the thumbs up thing that he did at the end of the Millennium World arc and whatever. Aside from how meaningful this can come off from those who were so connected with the original series of Yu-Gi-Oh!, it was a big moment to establish that GX isn't a replacement to the OG series. Rather, it's a new story set within the same world, and that it's okay to follow this new story. The card given to Jaden from Yugi was Winged Kuribo, a creature that I personally love a lot, including like when we get to see cards like Winged.
I ain't gonna hold you. So do I. I personally have a love for Winged Kuribo. I know he's a weak monster. I don't care. I personally liked Winged Kuribo. in GX. And honestly, I'm gonna just buy that Funko Pop of a Karibo, the a Wing Karibo on eBay. I'm about to just do that.
Karibo level 10.
Cause
I have memories of
hold on, cause I already have. Hold on. I need to dust this off for real. So I bought Flame Wingman already because I have Elemental Hero Avion, and then I have Burstinatrix, and then I have Jaden Yuki. Like I have all three of these. Now, what I wanted to get is I bought Flame Wingman. That's gonna be coming soon. But I also wanted to get Elemental Hero Sparkman and Wing Karibo. And I think that's literally the set of the elementals, the elemental heroes in Funko form. I'm not sure. I think it is. But yeah. Let me put them back. All right, let's continue.
pulling the ultra rare version of that card from Cybernetic Revolution myself at my first ever card set pre-release for any card game. Anyway, before I tangent on into my own nostalgia of that, this regular winged Karibo card ends up seemingly speaking to Jaden, catching him off guard before he realizes he's still late and needs to keep it moving. From the music to the frantic nature of our new main character, they set up the feeling of a coming-of-age school student-based series very well. Even if he just spoke to the King of Games, he utters that he can't be the next King of Games if he's late to said games. At least that is what's said in the English version of the series. We always need more plainly stated added context because we can't pick up on implied subtlety. You know, just USA things. As we arrive at this testing ground for battles taking place, we get a good look at some of the top duelists and those wanting to get in by passing their entrance exam of winning their duels in order to get accepted into Duel Academy. With Jaden here squeaking in at the last second as to not be turned away from his chance to be accepted into the school. Here we meet Cyrus Truesdale, a smaller in size duelist who we see end up winning their duel, but who is nervous and filled with anxiety over being watched and in the presence of all the students from the school already who decided to come and watch the potential new students duel. During this overview of the duels, we get to see as well as quickly meet a bunch of important characters like Chaz Princeton, the snooty student who thinks little of these duelists, as we see his two goons with him who have the funniest exaggerated voices ever.
Hey Heartless, what's going on?
And look, say what you want about the dub here, but there's a
Well,
weird and nostalgic charm to it all that I do personally enjoy. This is how I grew up watching the series, and the voices only get crazier and funnier and weirder from here. It's a Yu-Gi-Oh cartoon. It can sound a bit cheesy if it wants to, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. Just have a good time. We all, of course, get glimpses of key characters like Alexis Rhodes and Zane Truesdale, Cyrus's older brother, but
I watched this on TV for free.
We also get to witness.
I watched the old school one for free on TV as well. I believe so I believe it has Tubi has the regular one, not the regular one. The first season it has GX, and I believe it has 5Ds. I have to double check.
Who seems like an upcoming prodigy, win and gain entry into Duel Academy. So exciting to Jaden to tackle and face head on. We also get to meet the head professor of the school who is overseeing the dueling exams directly, Dr. Crowler, and you better remember to call him Doctor, or he'll surely remind you that there is a reason he's called a doctor, and it shall be respected. I didn't know that
Neos and Shining Flare Wingman are also had Funko Pop made of them. Oh yeah, true.
Could have gotten a PhD in dueling as a career path, but you know, that's pretty cool. Can I get a PhD in making Yu-Gi-Oh videos? That'd be pretty cool too. He's not fond of what he sees in the newest batch of applicants wanting to get into the school this year, being overly strict about how even the best of the best performances are judged, and nearly not wanting to let Jaden do his duel because of him being late. Luckily, Chancellor Shepard, the headmaster of Duel Academy, calls into Dr. Crowler to make sure that things are going okay, and that he isn't doing what he usually does and turning away basically everyone who tries to get into the school. So while complying with his technical boss, Dr. Crowler goes to personally be the one to test Jaden in a duel. However, this isn't going to be done with these special curated testing decks, implying that he is going to use his own personal one that wouldn't be fair to use on any of the applicants.
Yeah, and Jaden whooped his ass.
Jaden
whooped his
ass
ass.
for winning his duel and saying that he's the second best duelist here, replying to the question.
And I'm gonna just say this right. How you beat one of the teachers? How you beat one of the teachers that's going to be your homeroom teacher? Well, not even your homeroom teacher, but how do you beat one of the main teachers in the school with his own personal deck? How you do that? How you do that?
Of who's the first, as he has full confidence in himself, saying he's the best as he proceeds to head down to his duel. Sure, Jaden's definitely cocky about his own dueling abilities, but it feels playful, and his niceties around it all kind of make you instantly believe that he's got that secret sauce that the others don't. Sometimes the arrogance can come off.
I mean,
a
he
bit
got
too
that
harsh,
sauce.
like
He got it on him.
learning who he is in regards to the school, thinking that he was just some sort of weird-looking mascot and not a high-ranking academy staff member. You know, Jaden, he's kind of the silly class clown a bit, if you couldn't tell. He's being playful, sure, but still sassy, and we respect him for that. Without wasting any more time, the duel begins, and it's clear that Dr. Crowler has no intentions of going easy or holding back, ready to do whatever it takes to make sure Jaden doesn't win. Jaden starts off by summoning Elemental Hero Avian, and the Elemental Heroes in general play a big role for the cards he uses throughout the series, and the hype around them at the time was insane.
Oh no, I love the elemental heroes. That's why I was showing y'all that I love the elemental heroes. The elemental heroes are like my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh deck. I love those cards. Those cards, they look boss as fuck. And this is from the same guy that to take it from me, who loved the decks of Yugi and Joey's. I love their decks. I always had like a fusion, a mix of the two, because I love Joey's monsters, but I also love Yugi's as well. So I always like had mixed them together. I love that deck. I love the elemental heroes.
We would see more of them. They were so cool. And these line of cards were only the tip of the iceberg for all the other different types of cards that we
GX
see
calls
throughout
all
the
the
series.
shenanigans to
The
transpire.
Elemental Heroes were so cool, and I can't wait to mention more of them as we see them. Their fusions, their derivatives, it's so much more. We'll get to it. Then he throws down a face down and says, "Get your game on." Man, this kid's full of catchphrases, huh? Dr. Crowler, like I said, isn't here to play around, mentioning in his internal monologue that he is using his own deck and smirks over how easy this shall be. Using the card Confiscation, sacrificing 1,000 life points to see Jaden's hand and picking a card to discard, going with Monster Reborn. Then, after he lays some cards face down, he plays Heavy Storm, wiping all spell and trap cards on the field, including the ones he placed down, as he did so on purpose. Those cards were both Statue of the Wicked, which when brought to the graveyard summons each a token monster to the field, wowing all the duelists watching, especially Chaz's goons, who make note of this not being an exam deck, and go all like, "Chaz, what do you think?" "Yeah, what do you think, Chaz? We need your answer and your input. Tell us what you think, Chaz."
Right, like man, quit gobbling his sauce, bro. Just like chill, like chasing down all mayo, no beverage. Like, come on, man. Don't you think, Chaz? Don't you think, Chaz? That guy's pretty good, Chaz.
Chaz is just clearly excited to see Jaden lose to a teacher with such a powerful deck, and wishes that this was how all of the other applicants were treated just to keep them from getting into the academy. There is no faith that Jaden has an iota of a chance to beat Dr. Crowler here. Alexis thinks that this is pretty unfair, but Zane tells her that she's too soft, and that he just wants to see the secret legendary rare monster card that Dr. Crowler keeps hidden in his deck, giving us a bit of foreshadowing. Jaden just seems excited, complimenting the duel, and Dr. Crowler even breaks from his evil attitude to be all like, "Well, thanks, I'm a teacher after all, I appreciate it." Thank you. And I kind of love that. But that doesn't mean he's stopping to go easy, and Jaden, of course, wouldn't want that. He sacrifices the 2 tokens to summon that legendary rare card, which is Ancient Gear Golem, shocking everyone in attendance who's watching. It has 3,000 attack power, and while Jaden is expected to be scared of this, he is the complete opposite, as he has always wanted to take one head on. Once again, shocking the crowd over his confidence and bravery in the situation. Look, if facing a hard, powerful card in a duel is brave, then like you and I gotta be like really, really brave or something, you know? Might as well give us medals for how brave we are for playing some card games. Ancient Gear Golem goes in for an attack, destroying Elemental Hero Avian, and despite being in defense mode, Ancient Gear Golem has the ability to deal the difference of the attack to the destroyed card's defense points, cutting Jaden's life points in half down to 2,000. When it looks like Jaden is hurt himself and not going to be able to handle this, he ends up laughing, complimenting the strategy and looking forward to learning techniques like that in the academy. With Dr. Crowler visibly angry about this and not wanting to let Jaden win, Jaden just thinks Dr. Crowler is shaking with amazement over being impressed by him. As Jaden is about to draw his next card, he hears Karibo's cry once more before drawing it as his next card. Then it winks at him and he just goes, oh hey, yeah, you know, that's whatever. I'll just take it as a sign to play you, rather than, I don't know, freak out over the fact that he's hearing this card talk to him and then literally having it wink at him. But this is Jaden Yuki. He believes in believing intuition. You know, his own form of heart of the cards. So he just goes along with it, not questioning anything. Jaden summons Winged Karibo in defense mode, playing another card face down, as Dr. Crowler thinks that this is all nothing, starting his turn. And by the way, his special dual disc that shoots out the card at him is so cool.
It really
It
is.
has his Ancient Gear Golem go in for an attack on Winged Karibo.
It's cool as fuck.
It, but its ability saves Jaden from taking any damage from the attack like last time. Jaden then takes a bit of offense from Dr. Crowler calling Winged Karibo lame, saying, Teach, slow down, what gives you the right to call my cards lame? Messed up, man. Then Jaden's trap card is activated, revealing to be the card Hero Signal, allowing him to bring out Elemental Hero Burstinatrix. You did what in my cereal? Now with it, he thanks Winged Karibo as he then uses the spell card, the Warrior Returning Alive, to bring Elemental Hero Avian back from the grave. Dr. Crowler tries to take over the moment to use it as a teaching lesson for those watching to look at what mistakes Jaden is making right here, but Jaden just straight up cuts him off, saying he wasn't done, and oh boy, he really wasn't. Then uses polymerization, fusing the 2 elemental heroes together to bring out the one, the only, elemental hero
Flame Wingman.
But despite all of this, it is still a weaker monster than Ancient Gear Golem. Luckily, Jaden has another card that can help, the spell card Skyscraper, changing the landscape of the field to boost elemental hero Flame Wingman by 1,000 attack points, bringing it to a total of 3,100, as it is able to then destroy the Ancient Gear Golem. The audience is left in shock, but more importantly, Dr. Crowler is left in shock as he nearly is crying over the fact that his best card was bested. To add insult to injury, Jaden adds on that his elemental hero Flame Wingman's ability takes the attack power of the destroyed monster to directly hit Dr. Crowler's life points too, resulting in a full-on win for Jaden. Jaden is just ready for more praise and acceptance into the school, but everyone is still in shock, changing how all the others around view him, with Chaz offering the most emotions yet by not believing that this slacker could have defeated a teacher who was using their own personal strong deck. Alexis is impressed and looks forward to seeing what Jaden does at the academy, while Zane scoffs at the results and walks away. Jaden's newly built friend group seems excited though. Cyrus is jumping up and down cheering for him, while Bastion smiles and looks forward to some fun and friendly competition at the school. Before we close the first episode of the series, Jaden pulls out the Winged Karibo card again to speak to it, saying from here on out, they are partners, as the Winged Karibo speaks and winks at him once more. As an introduction to Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, I don't think you could have asked for anything better. You clearly get to meet and understand the personalities and vibes of a solid majority of the main cast of characters. Plus, you get to experience why Jaden is pretty cocky. He's an unsuspecting great duelist who got to steal the show in front of everyone, the school staff and other high-ranking students, as well as his new friends. And you get the whole duel in one episode, not split up or left on a cliffhanger like we'll have throughout.
Right, and you know what? That was honestly one of my big pet peeves when it came to Yu-Gi-Oh! The regular show. Like, not the regular show, but season 1. Even though they were still doing it in GX and then like 5Ds, I did not like the fact that they made the duels be so long. They stretched it so long that it had to go to another episode and to another episode just to see the outcome of the duel. Like, we can have duels like I know of actual real life duelists where their duels have gone on for at least 3 minutes. At least not, and honestly, not even to just that for 3 minutes, like 2 minutes or 1 minute in fact. I've seen that, and I'm not talking about online. I'm talking about in real life in a card shop, sitting down. The place smell like armpits. They having Cheeto dust and everything, and the duel literally lasted for about a minute because they knew exactly what they were doing with their decks. Like, I cannot stress this enough. A lot of duels don't even last that long, for real. I'm not even gonna lie.
Series, or like we've seen in the original series, which there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just glad they're not using that in the first episode. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX had to come out swinging strong, and it did, with a great first episode filled with nostalgic moments, cool new cards with fun new tactics, and a slew of new interesting characters, all before we even get to the interesting location of a dueling academy. This would all just be the beginning of a massive new adventure that we get to go on alongside Jaden.
Yu-Gi-Oh! GX will continue in a moment.
Now it's Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
Finally, we arrive at Duel Academy with all of the new first-year students who got accepted.
Shout out to
into the
Pegasus,
school
right?
and
Shout out to
going
Pegasus.
style on a helicopter. Now, like in every other school-related show, movie, or story, there are different teams, groups, houses, dorms, etc. that the new blue. And clearly, with them all being named after the Egyptian god cards. They all get a chance to hear from Chancellor Shepard, as they then get sorted into one of the 3 different dorms. Jaden and Cyrus get to stick together as they head to Slifer Red.
I've never seen actual championship tournaments that only last the first turn and end in 1 minute. I have. Honestly, it wasn't championship tournaments. It was just local tournaments. Well, not even local tournaments. It was basically like my old friend group, because they used to duel all the time. They would duel at like either like the mall or like a library. I'm not talking about championship tournaments. I'm talking about just regular ass tournaments with just regular people going into a dang on library and just dueling. And it would go on for at least a minute, and they would duel again and again and again and again. Like, I'm not even kidding you.
Which Cyrus is excited about, mostly because he's already looking at Jaden as this role model character and inspiration for him. Bastion, however, ends up heading to Raw Yellow, which is fine. It's not breaking up the band. He's friends with Jaden and Cyrus, but like, light friends, And he instead is more interested in having competition to be a great duelist with Jaden. But it's all good. I'm sure they'll find another new friend in Slifer Red that fills a bit of that needed trio vibe. Anyway, I do love the color-coded jackets. Slifer Red
Me
is
too.
the best, and I will not hear anything else, okay?
It is.
What's not good,
Facts.
though, is the rough condition that the Slifer Red dorm is in. But Jaden's more upbeat and optimistic personality looks for the good in it all, enjoying the nice view their dorms offer. In their room, they end up meeting a new friendly face, the one I was just foreshadowing, as we get introduced to Chumley Huffington. Yeah, this show is filled with the craziest private school type of names that you've ever heard, but that's neither here nor there. He's not portrayed in the best light when it comes to being smart or hardworking, or even nice sometimes.
I ain't gonna hold you. I know we're gonna get into the episode where this dude fights his father, but I have to say this right now. I know I was just hyping up Jaden's deck, but we gotta talk about his this dude's father's deck. I love it. Cause it had it had like the whole theme of the of his father's deck was hot sauce. I loved it. That shit was all I enjoyed it. Like, if he flipped the table and some more hot sauce came down, he got all this strength and all these life points. I loved it. I loved it a lot.
And he was held back a year, but he does give the exposition we need to understand the differences of the dorms and what they mean for those sorted into them. It works like a tier system, with the best of the best being sorted into Obelisk Blue, which is where we would see people like Chaz, Alexis, and Zane. Then there is the intermediate duelists who have a lot of promise but aren't considered the top students yet, which is where we see people like Bastion. And then all the way at the bottom here is Slifer Red, which, dang, after I just went on a whole thing about it being great.
It's still great.
Slifer Red is reserved for the students deemed to have the least potential in being a great duelist or great student. And Jaden was put there out of pettiness because with his performance in the dueling part of the exam, he clearly is great at that. just maybe not so exceptional at the written exam per his own description of barely passing it. Anyway, what's the first day at school without a little bit of drama though, right? Jaden and Cyrus end up running into Chaz's goons after exploring parts of the campus, with Chaz coming over to taunt Jaden about not being good enough to beat him if they, were to duel.
And yeah, and then he
Alexis
beat him.
for stepping in to
And
put
then
the
he
food
beat
on
him.
pause for a moment. Nothing happens for now, as the welcoming dinner is about to happen, and they can't be late for that. Each dorm ends up getting their own dinner, but of course...
Speaking of dinner, let me go get my salad. Master Zen is playing Metroid. Master Zen is playing Metroid.
that varies in quality and presentation depending on the dorm. It's like one of those YouTube videos, I tried $1 to $10,000.
What he said, I think his deck used to be the Desk Koala, which had over like 200 attack points. That was one of my go-tos when I used to duel my friends. Oh, okay. Oh, what'd you say? Oh yeah, a daggone sure is. It's too bad I'm live. Oh.
There's a truck outside, nigga.
I know. It's too bad I'm live right now.
I can watch your live. We're gonna get some food.
I just opened my salad.
And that stops who, where, why, because?
Because I have food in front of me right now. Literally.
Damn, dog!
That's what you get for being the asshole.
I answered the door. Nobody saw that.
They saw it.
They did. It was invisible.
That's what you get. And besides, aren't you still working?
I just finished. Well, I'm about to finish up.
Actually, you know what? Hold on. Master Zen, would you do me a favor and watch the and take part in the live stream? I'm gonna see what this food truck's all about. You said what?
I'll come in with the banana.
With the wait a minute now. Hold on now.
I actually do have a banana, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the banana.
Oh.
While he going to get food, I guess I'm just gonna sit here for like what, 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah, I mean you can still play the video. It's fine.
Alright, let's continue with the video, ladies and gentlemen, while he goes and do his food.
Or meals or something. Obelisk Blue eats like the snooty rich kids at a boarding school, while all the way down at the bottom we have the Slifer Red students eating whatever little they could that their
I'm
teacher
still
personally
pissed
had to
about
make for
that.
them.
Do you
And
have a
speaking of which, we
multi-million
also
dollar
get to meet
school?
them. The headmaster of the...
I'm sorry, you have a multi-million-dollar school for dueling people, except you break the lunches down to poor, medium class, and rich. That's kind of bullshit.
What the whole thing between the categories?
For the lunches.
Oh,
I would have been pissed by that. I would have been dueling my way all the way to the teachers and be like, fix my fucking meals.
oh yeah, true.
Dorms, Professor Banner. Not to be confused with the Oh, and of course, his pet cat, Pharaoh. You can't forget the cat. If you needed a reminder
that
of the
cat
time
was an
period
icon.
this series came out, how about the fact that, of course, they have stylized PDAs that can already do video messaging and FaceTime, but then again, the series always has cool future-like tech. The amount of money invested into dueling technology alone.
What's going on is I'm about to go get. I'm gonna see about this food truck that's outside. Arrow.
Offering a duel with
Oh,
him,
shit, I
where they
forgot I
each
gotta talk
wager
to the
their
chat.
best card for the winner to take, and of course, Jaden.
How you
was all
doing,
like,
Arrow?
"Heck yeah, sounds fun." While his roommates think he's crazy. Jaden thinks you gotta step up if someone calls you out to a duel, and that kind of logic can be applied to so many other examples that aren't dueling in real life, and that's great, and we love to see that. You can actually learn from this show. So now Jaden ends up getting into a duel with Chaz, who is amped up to really see if Jaden's previous duel was the real deal or just a fluke. Jaden starts off with an insane hand, by the way. Aside from teasing some other elemental hero cards and speaking to Winged Karibo again, he immediately puts together his Flame Wingman, but Chaz was ready with a trap, predicting he would go for this combination. As his trap card lets him sacrifice his monster, he then gains control of Flame Wingman, leaving Jaden not sure what to do yet aside from pulling out Elemental Hero Clayman in defense mode. This lets Chaz get the upper hand and through his turn, gets Jaden's life points cut in half. While he proceeds to constantly call him slacker and thinks that he's crying, Jaden is once again laughing, saying that he loves this, and this is why he wanted to be here. He lives for this trash talking and loves a good, fun, tough duel. He then brings out his next elemental hero, that being Sparkman. Jaden takes down Chaz's Chthonian soldier to leave him with some damage gone from his life points, but the card's effect also deals that same damage to Jaden. But with Flame Wingman still in Chaz's control, things don't look so great here. He plays a face-down card waiting for Chaz to then make a move and attack, allowing Jaden's trap card Mirror Gate to be activated. This effectively swaps the monsters on the field to the other player's control, giving Jaden back his Flame Wingman, while Chaz gets Sparkman, resulting in Flame Wingman defeating Sparkman and hurting Chaz's life points severely. Chaz isn't too happy about this, now using the spell card Chthonian Blast to destroy Flame Wingman and take the value of half of the attack points away from Jaden's life points, leaving him with the low amount of only 550 left. From here, Chaz uses Call of the Haunted to bring back his previous monster, only to sacrifice it so he can bring out Mephisto the Infernal General, who has 1800 attack points while Jaden is left wide open to an attack. Jaden, however, is ready to summon his Winged Karibo when Chaz thinks Jaden has nothing left to offer in the duel to try and win. However, during all of this, Alexis came in to watch the duel, and by this point notices that security is coming around to do their checks because, sneaking out of the dorms and dueling after hours like this isn't allowed, and everyone here could get in big trouble. Chaz is more worried about getting in trouble for this than winning the duel, stopping it as they all need to leave. He still tells Jaden that he saw all that he needed, thinking that he's still a bad duelist who got lucky, although Jaden probably would have won that duel. He had that monster reborn that he just drew, and that he could have brought back that Flame Wingman, and it doesn't matter. They all have to leave so as to not get in trouble. He fills Alexis in on this after they get out of there, as she understands completely that Jaden is no joke of a duelist, and maybe there is something to his cockiness that isn't just fluff. He might just legitimately be a pretty great duelist who knows what he's doing. But that's all just day one of Duelist Academy, and what a long day it's been. After a long day of dueling, nothing helps keep me focused and keep me energized like some good old gamer subs. Do you think I have the stamina to deal with both school and dueling all combined into one thing? Get real! Real deals, that is, as you can head to the link down below or use my
I remember that card.
to save 10% off your order.
Not card. I
promotion.
remember
Not
that
just
episode
one
of
time,
GX.
But anytime
That
you
episode was
purchase.
funny to me
So
just
get your
because he
game
wanted
on by getting your
a
subs
good
on.
sandwich, an
Remember,
egg sandwich.
fringe.
And then the student
Thanks
was
for
at the
all
waterfall,
support as supporting gamer subs
literally
directly helps
digging
support
his
the channel.
hands in the
Now,
waterfall
back to some
to
dueling. As school
pick up
continues
good
on,
cards.
we see how the top students are treated and respected, and how the most likely to drop out students are looked down upon. Specifically from a teacher like Dr. Crowler, who spends time picking on Cyrus for not having the correct answers in class, leaving him to feel embarrassed. But Jaden steps up to defend him, poking fun at Dr. Crowler for still losing to him the other day. Now, from what we've already seen, Dr. Crowler has that quick-to-anger and retaliate attitude to where he'll risk his professional academic standing just to mess with some kids. He does so by creating a fake love note from Alexis to Jaden, but ends up putting the note in Cyrus's locker, leading Cyrus to find it and believe that Alexis likes him. Classic school drama stuff, and Dr. Crowler doing this makes it all weirder. But the note said to meet Alexis at midnight outside of the girls' dorm, and you can see where this was all going and how Dr. Crowler wanted to get Jaden in trouble. So his creepy rare hunter-looking self hides in order to capture the moment, making him even weirder for being outside of the place the girls are currently bathing in, but whatever. While Alexis inside is with some other students discussing some of the boys, it's clear that she does lean a bit into thinking about Jaden. But there isn't a massive interest in talking about it or exploring that, at least not at the moment. Cyrus does end up showing up, much to Dr. Crowler's disappointment, but even worse, the girls catch him outside, and then proceed to hold him captive. While Cyrus quickly reveals the letter as to why he's here in the first place, it only slightly clears things up a bit, and at least he's not seen as a creep, and Alexis knows that someone set poor little Cyrus up. But Alexis isn't just moving on from this, as she has a little bit of a plan of her own. First, she ends up baiting Jaden to come out and duel her by sending a message stating that he needs to come there now if he wants to see Cyrus again, and then proceeds to challenge Jaden to a duel, with the extra bit of challenge of the duel being all based around if she is going to tell the Chancellor or not about this little situation going on here. Jaden is a W-mans who is going to accept the challenge and fight for Cyrus, though. And this duel gives us a chance to see how good of a duelist Alexis truly is and what type of cards she uses, with Cyber Blader being her strong fusion card, keeping Jaden on the ropes, but in the end, Jaden's fusion of Elemental Hero Clayman and Sparkman, who is Elemental Hero Thunder Giant, is able to best Alexis and win Jaden the duel. With the boys free to go without being reported, Alexis definitely thinks highly of Jaden, nearly getting flustered a small bit after Jaden tells her she's got game, and she never really planned on turning them in. She thinks this place is way more interesting with them here. As our time at the academy moves on, it's time to test how well the students are doing and possibly see if they are worthy of getting promoted to the next dorm up. In the background of everything surrounding this, the academy was getting in a huge shipment of cards, but Dr. Crowler went and bought basically all of them so that he can give all the great ones to Chaz, as he wanted to be the puppet master of setting Jaden up for failure, stuffing Chaz's deck with powerful new cards and making sure that they face off against one another in the testing duel. And you really can't help but just very strongly dislike Dr. Crowler. If only there was a stronger word to describe how you are made to feel about him. Ugh, don't you just hate when you can't think of a certain word? Whew. Anyway, before any of the exams, Jaden ended up helping this older lady with her broken down van, to which she won't forget his help for doing so. Later, when Jaden and Cyrus get a chance to head to the card shop, they realize nearly all of the cards are gone aside from this standard pack of cards, and I just love the voice of the person at this card shop here. Of course we have some left. It's so good. You can't help but love all of the voices in this series, and if you don't, I'm truly sorry, but this is too fun. Here's where that older lady from earlier comes in, as she's the owner of the card shop, remembering Jaden for his help earlier and giving him a special few cards for his deck. So now when it comes to the duels, Chaz and Jaden get to face off against one another again, and they both have a few new things under their sleeves. Chaz ends up getting together X-Head Cannon, Y Dragonhead, and Z Metal Tank to bring out one of my favorite cards, XYZ Dragon Cannon, and then on top of that, add in the newer support at the time of V Tiger Jet and W Wing Catapult to now have VWXYZ Dragon Catapult Cannon. Whew, that one's a mouthful. Why does Yugioh do this, man? Luckily, Jaden gets to win over the crowd, and by that I mean all of the girls, because he summons his winged Karibo. But he also sets up his new strategy, playing a card face down and waiting for Chaz to make his next move. As Chaz goes in with an attack, Jaden activates his face down card, Transcendent Wings, turning Winged Karibo into...
Wings.
Yep,
I'm pretty sure
you guessed it.
this is...
I'm back, Shaq. Tell me why that was this woman.
I'm about to say, I'm pretty sure this is Joe's favorite. Joe likes Wing Karibo, so I know this is probably his favorite part. I'm gonna pause here and let him take over. It's nice to sit down and look at this video with y'all. I'm sorry I can't be in the this is.
She was foreign. So you was with cheesesteak?
He complained about his sandwich. I know he
I'm
is.
dressed this way.
So I'm gonna go and complain and listen to him complain.
Suck my ass. No, I got my regular stuff. The hell? No, it was not cheesesteak. Yeah, that was outside. Outside the truck. Yeah, she was getting food. She was getting more than me. No, I told you she was foreign. She was like one of them. Yeah, I don't know what nationality it is. Something. He said it. I was cool with ethnicity. That kind of made me upset.
What was this now? Oh, okay. Question. What? I don't know what the world that means. They finna duel in the background for real.
My boy, Winged Karibo level 10. Then by sacrificing itself, it can destroy Chaz's VWXYZ LMFAO Dragon Catapult Cannon and inflict its attack damage to his life points directly, bringing Chaz down to 1,000 life points, giving Jaden the
Oh,
perfect
yeah,
opening to have
this
his
was the duel
element
he
ability
won,
knocked
yeah.
out and attack directly,
Yeah, he
taking
beat
the remaining
Chaz.
1,000 life points to defeat Chaz and win the duel. The crowd goes wild from this.
Oh yeah, true. That was when he had the level 10 Wing Karibo. True shit.
And Jaden always keeps it open to another future duel between the two, and Chaz Princeton here, well, he will not be made a fool of, and he says they most certainly will duel again. Can I also say that in this episode, it's funny to see that there are clearly other students dueling on other fields right next to Jaden and Chaz, yet they have no monsters fighting each other, and the audience is really only watching and caring about the Jaden and Chaz duel anyway, and I'm just saying. Anyway, it pays to be a good person. Jaden took time to help someone in need out of pure kindness, and that karma came right back around to him. In the end of all of this, the Chancellor tells Jaden that no Slifer Red has faced an Obelisk Blue in these exams, and let alone offered a performance quite like that to win, as he is then offered the chance to be promoted from Slifer Red to Raw Yellow, which Cyrus was worried about happening as he didn't want to be separated from Jaden. But as a true friend, he is just happy for Jaden, congratulating him and supporting his growth in the academy. Bastion is excited for Jaden too, becoming more friendlier than ever and welcoming him into Raw Yellow. But then Jaden surprises Cyrus back at their dorm saying he's not going anywhere, as despite it being nice over at the Raw Yellow dorm, Cyrus isn't there, and that makes all the difference. A nice, wholesome ending and a way to keep Jaden with his good old pal. Oh, and I guess Chun-Li is still there too. Whatever. I hope you didn't forget that this is still Yu-Gi-Oh! And it was only a matter of time before some sort of shadow game related plot point came into play. We ominously enter into a spookier episode with Alexis placing a rose at a mysterious site as she internally says, "Be at peace, brother, wherever you are," which definitely adds some layers to her character and some potential storylines to happen here. As we then see the Slifer Red boys having a fun time playing a game where they tell ghost stories of varying degrees of fright depending on the level of card they draw. Jaden ends up telling a story about him hearing voices in his closet when he was younger, only to ever find his cards in there, and then once again seemingly hearing voices from his cards now, with that being his Winged Karibo.
Appreciate that, Al.
Setting up more interesting plot points. And also, Scary Dark Magician cameo. We appreciate that. But also, why is little Jaden's closet like a whole nother room? That's ridiculous. After these stories being shared, we get Professor Banner coming in to join in on the fun, and definitely make us feel more oddly suspicious about him with the knowledge he's about to give us. Another plot line? Maybe. He comes in and talks about an abandoned dorm on the island, and it was officially shut down once students started going missing, relating it all back to the use of Millennium items in dangerous shadow games. Of course, after hearing this, the boys are planning on sneaking out over to it, with Dr. Crowler hearing about this because he's creepily listening from outside their window for whatever reason, and now he can really get Jaden expelled from the school if he can catch him doing so, or just scare him away from it enough. We then cut to a mysterious masked duelist somewhere in a city defeating another duelist and claiming his soul for the Shadow Realm, with what kind of looked like the Millennium Puzzle, and that's weird, but let's forget about that now, because he then receives a call about coming to Duel Academy. And he's probably not going to be going there to be a guest speaker at an assembly or something. Obviously, this is the work of Dr. Crowler calling this shady dude, and it's crazy how evil he is towards Jaden. Like, he beat you in a duel. You're a teacher who wants the best of the best duelists here. Isn't this a good thing? Don't you want him to be good? Either way, Dr. Crowler just wants to use this person named Titan to scare Jaden, when it seems like Titan would be leaving the duel with deadly consequences of the Shadow Realm at play, or so it seems. Maybe Dr. Crowler isn't as evil as we think, because the end result that he wants from all of this is for Jaden to just leave the academy, not, die. Get sent to the Shadow Realm. Now, later on, the Slifer Red boys are sneaking out to the abandoned dorm as they end up running into Alexis, with them both questioning their reasons for being there. Putting two and two together as the audience, you can clearly understand that Alexis is there because her brother is one of the missing students from the Shadow game-related duels that took place there. As she explains that the rumors of the dorm are true to Jaden and the others, Jaden wants to go inside of the building, naturally. So while they do go inside after being warned by Alexis, she ends up getting captured by the Shadow Duelist, only to be presented in a dire situation once Jaden and company make their way through the dorms, seeing Egyptian hieroglyphics, and a picture of a student that we can only assume is Alexis's lost brother, and eventually finding Alexis's card to bring them deeper into an underground mine, where here, Titan emerges in front of them, saying Alexis is already in the Shadow Realm and challenges Jaden to a shadow game, to which Jaden doesn't fully believe in, only thinking it is a myth used to scare others. So, Jaden goes all, get your game on, and dives head first into the duel, not caring about if the consequences are even real or not. Titan's deck is built on Archfiend cards, which Jaden is just kind of fascinated by more so than worried about. On the surface here, the game does look deadly. Alexis's fate is left up in the air, and Jaden, well, Chumley kind of annoyingly internally monologues at best, saying Jaden came here to save Alexis, and now he might not even be able to save himself. With the episode coming to an end after that, leaving Jaden in a really rough spot in the duel that doesn't look too good, and giving us our first multi-part episode of the series.
Oh yeah, that does. This one is the part, the two-parter.
Yugioh GX now continue.
As we re-enter into this two-parter, things aren't looking great for Jaden. He's missing parts of his body, that can't be too great, but Jaden pushes through this as much as he can. Throughout the duel, though, we can see how Titan is clearly up to something with how he's using the Millennium Puzzle to cause the effects we see. Jaden is becoming more disoriented, he's not even sure what's going on, why he can't truly see at one point and can't hold himself up anymore. Titan alluded in his internal monologue that Jaden has no clue what trickery is really going on. But before things become even worse, Winged Karibo starts speaking to him within his mind, guiding him as a light through the darkness to make him realize that Titan is just messing with his mind, and that this isn't really a game of shadows. Jaden then launches his Elemental Hero Avion card into the Millennium Puzzle, stabbing right into it to prove that it's a fake, thus breaking through the hypnosis and smoke show Titan was putting on to make everyone believe that it was real. Jaden goes full-on Ace Attorney here, calling an objection to everything Titan is claiming, like Jaden realizing that from the hieroglyphs in the other room, that it would be called the Millennium Puzzle, and not the Millennium Pendant as he's been saying. He also calls out what his old exact profession was as a sideshow carnival act that he was let go from, and with everything disproved about it all being real, Jaden demands he gives Alexis and all of the other students that he made disappear back. But he claims, however, to not know anything about those other kids. That may have been a bit of honesty there. We'll follow up on that at some point.
Okay.
But then out of nowhere, they all get trapped in what might be a real shadow game situation, with Titan getting engulfed by monsters and begging Jaden to save him. Winged Karibo then pops out in the flesh, literally pulling himself out of the dual disc in the cutest way possible. And now Jaden's feeling like something actually might be weird around here. Or maybe not. Some entity then fully takes over Titan.
And you know what's crazy? I really just love how Winged Karibo just came out and just protected Jaden from those little demon troll things. I love that. I love that he just came out and just like, leave my master alone. Y'all won't leave him alone. I may not look like it, but I'll fuck all of y'all up.
The shadows demanding a soul, and the duel must continue. But Jaden is still treating it all like a big, elaborate trick and doesn't believe any of it. But you and I know what's actually going on here. This is real now, and Jaden, he just doesn't get it. We do get to meet Elemental Hero Bubble Man, though, and that's pretty cool. Takes a bit of the tension away. Bubbles aren't scary, unless you're the dirty bubble from SpongeBob. Ugh, filthy. He's not around for long, though, because Jaden gets the chance to summon a more powerful hero, Elemental Hero Blade Edge, using him to win the duel, with the Shadow Realm now claiming Titan's soul, as Jaden still is ignorant to it all being real. Winged Karibo shows him a way out, and then the Shadow Realm disappears. The others think that it could be real, but Jaden is like, nah guys, it's all a trick. It's a good one, but it's not real. Alexis is all good too, and Jaden gives her the photo of her brother that they found on the wall and act like this is some sort of example that there's a trace of him out there, when it clearly was just a photo of him hanging on the wall in that dorm. You know, like a photo probably would, but regardless, Jaden wants to help Alexis going forward to help figure out what happened to her brother and hopefully find him. Alexis
Right.
is grateful for all of this and is more hopeful than ever that she could figure out the mysteries around her brother's disappearance finally. But there's a lot of mysteries here that we need to figure out. Like, why did the real Shadow Realm make an appearance, and who is actually behind the other students going missing? Only time will tell. So we know that Dr. Crowler's plans didn't work, so he pivoted to telling the Chancellor about the students involved in causing some issues and sneaking into the abandoned dorm, leading to the disciplinary action squad to round up Jaden and Cyrus, but not Chumley, and bring them to Chancellor Shepard, where they both end up getting suspended. Through trying to plead their cases of what happened, Dr. Crowler suggests a wager, a special tag duel that would pit Jaden and Cyrus against two students that he gets to pick. If they win, they are let off the hook and free to go, but if they lose, they would be expelled. Harsher consequences,
Wow.
certainly, but there is a chance at full-on freedom from it all, so a tag team duel it will be. I mean, how else are they going to sell a Tag Force video game?
Oh,
series?
true.
Alexis
True
and
shit.
Chumley end up stepping in to try and help the situation, offering either of them to help Jaden in a duel instead of Cyrus, which, ouch, like I get it, but still, ouch. And if we rewind to the opening scene of the episode, we see Alexis talking to Zane about how he feels about his brother being here, and he's not too happy about it, saying he shouldn't be here. Poor Cyrus, he just can't catch a break. And I get why he is here, as he's determined to be a better duelist. But he needs to still get to that point where he needs to care about that by believing in himself.
Right.
Things are about to get a little shaky. The rules, however, for the duel were already set and cannot be changed. No one's going to be replacing Cyrus. He will be forced to duel, even if he would rather have someone step in, as he is worried about holding Jaden back and getting them both expelled. But Jaden believes in him and wants to help him however he can, and tells Cyrus to get his deck because Jaden and him are going to have a bit of a practice duel to start figuring things out. Little did anyone know that we were going to get a bit of a therapy session here because of this duel. Things start spiraling a bit as the duel gets going after Cyrus makes a mistake in not using his creature's special ability, making him feel a bit stupid and that he doesn't belong here, as Jaden tries to calmly teach him that it's okay to make mistakes and it's not that big of a deal, and that he legit is here to help him learn just like a teacher at school would, or should. Dr. Crowler ain't teaching him anything. In fact,
Definitely
he's just
not.
bullying Cyrus because he likes to. Jaden encourages Cyrus to get his head in the game Troy Bolton style, and wants them both to act like real opponents here, and wanting to let Cyrus figure things out and not come off as making him feel helpless. The others watching are telling Cyrus to believe in himself and that he can't give up, giving him all the energy needed to face Jaden properly. Heck, he even then plays Pot of Greed. Ooh, I wonder what that card does. Sadly, this newfound confidence ends up crumbling after he pulls the card Powerbomb, bringing us into a flashback that shows us the relationship he has with his brother. In this flashback, we see Cyrus getting into a duel with his school bully after finally standing up to him. But before he can play Power Bond, his older brother Zane tells him to stop, as he then walks over to the bully and offers him a rare card in exchange for him to walk away and act like this battle never happened. Cyrus was confused and mad, thinking that he was going to win here with Power Bond, and even mentions that Zane was the one who gave him the card in the first place. Zane claimed that Cyrus was about to misuse it, showing that the face-down card his bully had was Spellbinding Circle, and his really powerful monster would have been trapped from doing anything, and thus through the effects of the card, and being open for an attack beyond that, would have cost him the duel and he would have lost. Zane seems to be coming from a logical side of things, breaking down what he did wrong, but not offering the right encouragement to be better for himself so that Cyrus could properly understand everything. Instead, here we are years later, and Cyrus is freezing up over holding the card in his hand.
Yeah, because he feels as though he can't do shit. He just feels as though like he couldn't do anything. And honestly, that was one of the things that I did not like about that scene in particular. It's like, if you're gonna be a big brother, if you're gonna be an older brother, actually tell your sibling what is like what they should do to make it better. Not just scold them and just leave it like, oh, he's just gonna be a screw. You just screwed it up. All of that you would have been gone for. Tell them exactly how to fix it. Tell them how to fix it. Tell them how to stand up for themselves and not really have to worry about, because at that point they'll be okay. Well, I know what to do now. My big brother, my big sister showing me how to do this, what not to do, so that way I don't make the same mistake. Let's run it back. That would have been fine. That would have been fine. Just like how Jaden is doing with Cyrus now.
As the battle rages on, Jaden kicks up the heat with Elemental Hero Thunder Giant and Elemental
What
Hero
is happening
Acidic
right
Touch to
now?
win the
Hold
attack.
on. What's going on?
reacting to this shit. Also, I can see Brian mansplaining.
A mansplaining. On that note, I talk to you later. Come in, bitch. Don't run. Don't work.
Jaden is really proud of Cyrus and his strategies, but questioned what he hesitated on playing. He sees that it was Power Bond and realizes that Cyrus could have actually won potentially if he used it right there. Cyrus says his brother claims that he's not good enough to use it, having a bit of panic saying that he'll never win the duel with him as a partner, running away in sadness and some PTSD lingering from that card. Alexis and Jaden talk about what Cyrus is
happened to him
going through as Jaden
What,
tells
Cyrus?
Alexis about Cyrus freezing and not reaching his
I forget.
full potential over
I
his
honestly do.
brother
That's why
telling
I need
him
to
he
rewatch
couldn't
this
use a
series.
certain card or
It's
understand
out.
certain
Oh, no, it's
strategies,
not.
with
I think
Alexis
April
then telling Jaden that his brother
What you talking about?
goes
The
to
the Redux. I think it's coming in April.
Oh, that's another thing. That's another thing.
What happened?
From what I am hearing, the
The fat nigga with the clown nose.
Didn't he go into a company? A card company?
Oh, I did.
John, no. Well, it's not even a spoiler because I watched the John Brown show. I just don't remember. I'm gonna rewatch series. But what I was gonna say was that apparently the remaster, I'm from what I'm hearing, it's just gonna be a close-up shot of like the original series. From what I understand, I don't know what that entails.
If it's a close-up shot, does that mean you gotta take this picture and just put it close to like her eye or see?
Well, something like that. Basically, what Jordan was saying is like it's on take this shot and really like just right.
Oh, it's right there.
Yeah. Bruh. What? This man.
Not for you. I don't want you dancing for a piece of man. Oh, okay. You start dancing.
I was getting ready to say, Max Zen, don't, yeah. We have to respect the power of the Nugget King. I'm gonna get him a Burger King hat, and he's gonna be the Nugget King.
Dead ass. I was not really mad if you do that.
Whoa. How?
You think you can eat more nuggets than me?
How? Hey, yo!
is the top-ranked duelist, so things feel like that 2002 Avril Lavigne song, Skater Boy. But Jaden wants to duel Zane to figure things out, especially
Wait,
if it's
what?
causing his partner in this upcoming
She wanted a
important
skater
duel to
boy.
have
She said, "See you
all
later,
things out,
boy."
especially duel with him as a partner, running away in sadness and some PTSD lingering from that car. Alexis and Jaden talk about what Cyrus is going through as Jaden tells Alexis about Cyrus freezing and not reaching his full potential over his brother telling him he isn't good enough to use a certain card or understand certain strategies, with Alexis then telling Jaden that his brother Zane goes to Duel Academy and in fact is the top-ranked duelist here. So things feel like that 2002 Avril Lavigne song, Skater Boy. But Jaden wants to duel Zane to figure things out, especially if it's causing his partner in this upcoming important duel to have all this self-doubt. Alexis wishes him the best and admires his confidence, telling him to go and get him. Oh, she does believe in him. Cute. Also, seeing Cyrus's Roy deck brings me back. I used to have the Cyrus starter deck. Oh, I still have the packaging for it, apparently.
That's crazy.
Oh, actually, don't look at that. Bit of a jacket-related spoiler there. Whoopsie.
Oh, wow.
Anyway.
Hold on, wait a minute. This man actually got... Shut the fuck up. Jordan Fringe actually got the old school cereal boxes of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon on the shelf? That's crazy. He better not open them boxes. That's death. Because you see it right there. It's right there.
Shogun has entered the chat. I know. That's a terrible Shogun voice, by the way.
I don't. I'll be
What
about
you
to
yelling
say.
about?
What is that show? Look
Nigga, I
look
can't
over
read.
here. Nigga, look closely.
I went to public school. I see. Oh, I ain't never seen that box before. I've never seen that.
Neither
Pokemon box, yes, I've seen that 1,000 times.
Yeah.
I've never seen
A Yu-Gi-Oh cereal box.
What fucking cereal is that?
I have.
Could it?
I don't see the Kellogg's logo.
Oh wait, it's a Yu-Gi-Oh cereal.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but he has it on his shelf. He just has it.
Gonna rob that nigga.
He might be in the UK.
Well, looks like we're going to the UK, brother.
Oh no, we're not going. We can't go. No.
We can go to the UK. We can't go to Australia. That's where the spiders are. You know I don't like spiders.
Bro, you worried about the spiders. I'm worried about the law.
Fuck the law. The fuck about no law, nigga? What did we have a conversation about earlier? I'm a strip, but listen, black men, when they get arrested, they give us signature bonds. $1,000. They smack you on the wrist and say, don't do this shit no more. And they let you go. If you just so happen to do it again, they let you have another one, and 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 another one. I watch police body cams, brother. I know what I'm talking about. So if I just so happen to go to the UK and break a couple laws, you know what they're going to do? Extradite me back to the US. Governor Westmoreland will be like, are you going to do it again? And I'm going to go, no, sir. He's going to be like, all right.
Not unless you Johnny Somali.
First of all, Johnny Somali's a fucking retard. I said it. I don't care. The word, I mean. No, he's stupid. He's stupid. I'm not publicly harassing people. By the way, I know it's not about that, but I just wanted to put this out there as a PSA. If you are a public harasser disguising it as pranks, you need your teeth smacked out your mouth. That's beside the point. Let's get back to Yu-Gi-Oh for a second.
I was just surprised that he had both of these boxes right there. I know they old as shit.
I'm pretty sure that
might
was
be
just a box.
harder to do than dueling Zane, just trying to get the chance to do so. Jaden faces pushback and blockades in every direction from teachers like Dr. Crowler, who is, well, you already know, and later from the Obelisk Blue dorm students who let him know to his face that Zane would never waste his time with a
He was a little worse than Pegasus.
Cyrus isn't doing so well, overthinking all the ways that he could have used Power Bond to win, and how he doesn't believe in himself, thinking that he's
No, he wasn't. He was just from what I was saying was that like he was just always in his older brother's shadow because his older brother didn't really want him there. So his confidence was just like down the gutter. But from what I remember,
he was hanging with the best duelists in the world, nigga.
Yeah, and he bumped up in rank. He ended up
like the yellow,
the Obelisk Blue.
Raw yellow. Oh, he's in blue.
He went to Obelisk Blue. That's how good he got. He got really good.
I know he went to blue. I thought he was at raw.
No. I mean, he went to raw yellow, but then he had gotten from what I understand and what I remember, he got bumped up, he upgraded again.
And this is what pissed me off about GX2, that Jaden stayed at Slifer Red.
Yeah, he chose to. It was something he chose.
I think that was stupid. That might be the only thing I don't like about the story in GX is how Jaden just wanted to stay there. You handicapping yourself. You're already one of the best duelists in the school, even though it's harder to cards. But whatever, that's popular trope. But go ahead. I don't know. Pisses me off.
Honestly, in my honest opinion, Jaden, if anything, if you want to stay in Slifer Red, they should have got him like a full on, you know what I'm saying, like a full on jacket, like a full on cape jacket where it's like, yeah, that's what I'm saying, like a nice red coat.
Like how Chaz and them got
Yeah, give him like a nice red coat. Nice red coat, and it comes down here, and it's red.
Trying to leave the school, as then Jaden and Chumlee find a note left for them explaining his dramatic decision. Everyone's problems here start intersecting with one another as Jaden ends up being able to find Cyrus thanks to Winged Karibo guiding him, because that's happening more and more now as a thing. And he was trying to make a raft to paddle away from the island, and at the same time, Alexis finds Zane, who is standing on the water support beams for a bridge, staring off into the sunset to Aura Farm a bit, as they talk about brother-related issues. You know, she can't find hers, and he's not really being a great his, yada, rada. But they end up seeing Cyrus trying to leave the island as Jaden is now arriving to stop him. destroying his raft on accident, technically, as he then pulls him from the water to save him from drowning in 1 foot deep water. Zane comes over to make Cyrus feel even worse about everything, but Jaden is already pushing back on Cyrus's behalf, challenging Zane to a duel, to which he surprisingly accepts, claiming it to be slumming as to degrade the likes of anyone in Slifer Red. The duel ends up getting intense pretty fast as we get a cool look into what was basically the next generation of Blue Eyes White Dragon, with that being the Cyber Dragon line of cards that Zane uses. We get some new Elemental Hero fusion options as Jaden ends up having Bubble Man and Clayman come together to form Elemental Hero Mudball Man, and despite putting up the best fight that he could, Zane is able to show why he's considered the best duelist in the school. Similar to Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, Zane brings out Cyber End Dragon, after playing Power Bomb, taking this already powerful card and bringing its attack points to 8,000. But with Power Bond, if not careful, could also be his downfall with the damage done to the player who used it. Luckily for him, Cyber End Dragon with that massive amount of attack points is nearly unstoppable, defeating Jaden in the end. During the battle, Cyrus is starting to understand what his brother was originally trying to teach him all the way back when he was younger, and that's knowing how to use a card and knowing how to play it being two different things. That leads him to getting some confidence in himself, willing to stay at the school and work with Jaden as his partner in their upcoming duel. Jaden and Zane do have this respect for one another's dueling skills, with Zane admitting to Alexis that Cyrus has good company with him, breaking a bit of the tough brother exterior that we've only been able to see up until this point. Now, much like any show, there are what can be considered filler episodes. Like, the next episode should realistically be something related to Jaden and Cyrus's tag duel, but instead, it's about Chumlee and his father. While the story here isn't important to the overall plot of the series, we do get some time to better understand Chumlee, his relationship to his father, who was threatening to...
Yep, there we go. Yep, this.
In the end, how Chumlee is able to prove his value in wanting to make his father proud and put in that effort in school. His father did end up defeating him in the duel, but he can see that his son does have the passion now to do his best and is surrounded by good company like Jaden and Cyrus.
Yeah,
Speaking
yeah,
of
his
that,
hot
it's
sauce
time to
deck
get
was
into their
awesome,
big
bro.
Tag duel. So I hope they've been practicing because Dr. Crowler has been cooking up who he wants as their opponents here, even denying Chaz the chance to be one of them after he requests it because, well, he apparently got the greatest dueling tag team out there, foreshadowing the nostalgic return of none other than the Paradox Brothers, who we last saw all the way back in Duelist Kingdom when Yugi and Joey had to face them to progress from their own dire situation. Well, I guess they were also in spirit form in the later Waking the Dragon season of the show, but who cares? They are back, and imagine getting such a throwback of a surprise to see them here.
Okay, question. Cause I'm dead ass puzzled by this. In regards to the timeline, since they brought back the brothers, right? How long has it been since the first season of Yu-Gi-Oh? Because we go into Yu-Gi-Oh GX and we see Yugi Moto, but he has like Atem's voice. So is it like a few years into the future? Is like a few years later where like Yugi, you know, it like fully grows up, or is it like, I don't know. Well, no, it has to be. It has to be because of the fact of the whole of the school being built, and it's by the from the Egyptian god cards and all this other stuff. So is it like, I don't know, is it like 10 years, 10 years in the future, 10 years later? Is it like that? Somebody let me know in the comments.
Up to this, Cyrus is ready to be there, giving it his all with Jaden, as the audience who will watch in person builds up. Alexis and Bastion get a chance to meet and watch the match together, with Zane wanting to oversee his brother's performance. Alexis also notes that the Paradox Brothers aren't these world-renowned duelists, but rather more known for being mercenaries who will show up to where they are hired and do whatever they are paid to do. Chaz is watching here too, and he's mostly salty that he was denied the opportunity to duel. But as the duel gets going, Jaden helps support Cyrus in keeping his confidence up, being there for him as a good friend as much as he can in this situation. But not too long into the match, things aren't looking good because the Paradox Brothers end up getting their big beast out on the field, the Gate Guardian. It's clear that Cyrus is the weaker link of the two, that if the Paradox Brothers heavily target, will cause Jaden to overcompensate to help him.
Are you saying you guess in 5 to 10 years? Okay.
Or have to stand on his own and eventually lose to the power of them both. Once again, we do get another new Elemental Hero fusion, which I love that we constantly get new stuff with the Elemental Heroes nearly every episode. I know it's not going to last forever, but it's fun for now. By using polymerization on Clayman and Bursinetrix, Jaden brings out Elemental Hero Rampart Blaster. The Paradox Brothers, however, end up fighting through all of this, leaving Jaden and Cyrus in a more critical condition to end the episode on a cliffhanger for how they are going to get out of this. Between the first part and the start of the second here, they play up Jaden looking frozen and unsure of what to do next, or how to get out of the tough situation that they're in. But come on, this is Jaden Yuki. He's our GOAT, at least for this series. Yuki will always be the GOAT, and even on top of that, the correct answer is always Joey for being the real GOAT. But I'm just saying, as the duel continues on, Winged Karibo is there for Jaden, making it seem like he's just talking to himself. I mean, technically he is. This is all just in his head for now. But Cyrus is starting to fold again, losing the confidence to keep going, but Jaden talks him into believing in himself once more, explaining that he already knows all too well that the whole battle could change with one lucky draw of the right card from your deck, providing examples of their practices and how if he just believed and trusted the process, he could.
I like how GX brought back some villains from the OG series, like the Paradox. Right. Yeah. Now that was also the reason why a lot of people enjoyed GX, because of the fact that it also had tied in a lot of the characters, some of the characters from the OG series.
Won many times over in different duels before, and it's basically, heart of the cards stuff. But man, we all wish we just had a friend like Jaden. Seriously, his morale boosting and true belief in his friends is just infectious. Through his confidence and heart of the cards, yada yada, you know the drill. Cyrus does pull the card that he needs to turn the duel back into something they could possibly win. Being able to have a combination of using his Drillroid to defeat the Paradox Brothers' defense wall, leaving Gate Guardian open for Cyrus to then play Shield Crush, which destroys the opponent's defense mode monster, obliterating the Gate Guardian. Thanks to Cyrus, their biggest hurdle in the duel thus far is defeated, but the duel itself isn't over yet. The Paradox Brothers aren't too happy, as on their next turn, Para ends up sacrificing half their life points via the card Dark Element to special summon Dark Guardian, another extremely powerful monster that Jaden is temporarily able to hold off at bay thanks to his face-down Hero Barrier card to stop the attack coming their way. Oh, also, it apparently can't be destroyed in battle, so let's see how in the heck this thing can even be defeated. Cyrus feels disappointed here, once again flip-flopping to feeling helpless a bit because all of that energy and excitement pulling off such a combination to seemingly change the tide of the duel, only for it to leave them in basically a similar situation anyway. But Jaden gets him to keep his head in the game as he then plays Pot of Greed, which, hey, what does that card do again, Jaden?
This lets me draw 2 cards, and next I'll play Pot of Greed.
This lets me draw 2 cards.
Next I'll play
Pot of Greed. 2 cards.
Pot of Greed.
2 cards.
And yet again, we get another Elemental Hero fusion, having Avian, Sparkman, and Bubbleman all come together with Jaden acting like he's just making up the fusions as he's going.
Right.
This guy, some of this dude, why not toss this one in as well? Let's see what happens. It's great. The result of this brings out Elemental Hero Tempest. Even then, things still seem impossible to most. Tempest can't just beat this creature in battle, so Jaden is relying on Cyrus to know what to play and how to use it.
Come on, Cyrus.
He's got this. We also see Zane observing this as well, thinking the same thing and wanting to see if his little brother has learned and actually understood what to do here. Remembering all that he has learned, and with all the eyes on him like in the first episode where he was extremely nervous over it, he takes a moment, entering into a daydream-like conversation with his brother to reassure what he knows and should do. He asks the question about knowing how to use a card and knowing how to play it, to which Zane replies with, "That is something that can't be taught, only learned." To which I say, what the heck does that even mean?
Right.
Okay, I get it, but like, what kind of non-answer is that?
Is that? What even is that?
To Cyrus that this is all about seeing the duel completely from every side, understanding every angle to play, react, everything about it. It's not about overthinking everything, it's about taking action with full understanding of the game being played. And it still sounds like we're just saying things, but somehow it makes sense, and with this clarity, Cyrus starts getting into the groove and finally has the confidence to play Power Bond, taking his UFO-roid and fusing it with Jaden's Elemental Hero Tempest to create UFO-roid Fighter. Okay, the creativity with the name got a little lost there. But that's not the point. Thanks to Power Bond, the creature has 8,000 attack points. And while Dark Guardian can't be defeated, the difference in attack points is still dealt to the Paradox Brothers' life points, resulting in their defeat before the effects of Power Bond would have backfired on Cyrus to cost him and Jaden the match. This is a huge moment. Not only did Cyrus find the exact right time to play that card, he alone in the end was able to use a winning strategy to defeat what felt like impossible opponents. Thanks to Jaden's support as his best friend and understanding that wisdom his brother was trying to teach him, Cyrus proved to himself that he can be a great duelist who is worthy of being in this academy, and beyond that, will not be overshadowed by the legacy of his older brother's status as the best duelist there.
Right.
Just the moment when Cyrus had his and Jaden's monsters fuse, it was basically like when Yugi and Joey did it in the original series against the Paradox Brothers, having Yugi summon Skull and Joey's Red Eyes Black Dragon fuse to create Black Skull Dragon, and that's a pretty cool little callback. During everyone's reaction to them winning, Alexis slips a bit when speaking to Bastion, as she seemed to express more feelings towards Jaden more so than anything for the sake of them winning and being able to stay at the academy. Interesting. Even though it was supposed to be said that the boys here would get off scot-free, they're still told that they have to write a 5-page essay. All about what they learned from the duel and why trespassing in the abandoned dorms was wrong. Oh, make that 10 pages for Jaden having a bummed reaction. Oh well, at least they get to stay and be students at the academy, and we got one heck of an amazing duel with some excellent nostalgic characters coming back into the series for a cameo. Cyrus just hopes that he proved to his brother that he has learned and grown, with Zane doing his thing, you know, standing quietly and then leaving without saying anything. Classic Zane. He's no different than the Funko Pop version of himself that I have.
Hey, yo.
He doesn't walk away. Where'd you go?
It's Yugioh GX.
Yugioh GX.
With things at the academy seemingly continuing on as they should, it's not long before some foul play comes back into the mix. And that was not intended to be a baseball pun, as they are playing baseball at the start here, but I know you'll just call me Jordan Cringe anyway, so what the heck, who cares? Dr. Crowler is looking for some sort of shake-up to really get to Jaden now, as nothing has been working. But almost like taking a baseball to the head to smack around some ideas, which does happen here, but the ideas do get shaken up, he has a plan to somehow get to Jaden through one of his friends, Bastion Masawa. But there is a lot going on in the episode for lore purposes that we do need to pay attention to. First, we can see how close Jaden and Cyrus are getting with Bastion, learning more about how he views things, to be so good at them, breaking down everything into formulas so that he can understand and apply that to literally anything. He's super smart, and it looks like he's...
Oh yeah, I forgot he does. He is like that.
From Blue for the shot of upgrading to their dorm from Raw Yellow. Jaden and Cyrus are super happy for Bastion and will continue to support him, but who is his opponent? Well, that's where Dr. Crowler comes in, as he is setting him up against Chaz, who he begins treating poorly, making a fool out of him in class over his previous loss against Jaden, and that if he loses to Bastion, then the two of them will have to switch dorms, effectively demoting him to Raw Yellow. This doesn't sit right with Chaz, of course, and later on when speaking to his older brothers, we learn about what the Princeton family is after in terms of success across different important fields of the world. You know, politics, finance, and duel monsters. Okay, be so for real right now. One of these things is not like the other.
Right.
Whatever. I do love how serious and important this little card game is in the universe of the show. His brothers are very hard on him, putting all this pressure on Chaz to be the best so that these goals of them dominating each thing here can come true. What is Chaz to do? Oh, I know, something bad. That's a good guess. With Bastion spending the night over at the Slifer Red Boys dorm, his room was left wide open for Chaz to go snooping around, resulting in that card shop lady from a few episodes ago waking up the boys to show them Bastion's deck now scattered in the water. They aren't sure who could have done this, but Jaden knows it's because someone doesn't want to see Bastion advance into Obelisk Blue. So with the duel about to take place and his deck completely ruined, what's Bastion to do? Well, since he's so smart, he has multiple decks that he has crafted, bringing a literal meaning to the term play one's cards close to the vest, because he has a vest full of cards. Before revealing this though, the big mystery of Chaz doing this is handled right then and there before the duel takes place, with Chaz playing stupid about it, with Alexis and Zane coming in to snitch on him, as messing with someone's deck is low and a dirty thing to do. He doesn't like being accused of this, saying he's not a thief or a liar, but it's all good. Bastion has his other decks, and Chaz's plans here are foiled. But Dr. Crowler's plans are technically not. The two of them begin their battle with Chaz's stay in Obelisk Blue on the line, pushing him to really give it his all and not to lose to Bastion. The duel goes back and forth for a while as they each evenly play against one another. Eventually, Chaz is able to bring out Infernal Incinerator, a powerful monster that only gets more powerful thanks to every every monster on the field Bastion has, but thanks to his formulas, both in real life for him and with the type of cards that he's playing, 2 Hydrogeddons and 1 Oxygeddon, he ends up bringing out Water Dragon by bonding them. Get it? Water. H2O. It's made of 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen. It's scientific. Who says you can't learn anything? With the effects of this monster and the loss of effects on Chaz's due to Bastion having less monsters on the field, Bastion is able to one-shot destroy Chaz's monster and defeat him in the duel, claiming to have all of this planned out from the start thanks to his formulas. The formulas of success, that is. To make things sadder for Chaz here, Bastion proves that it was Chaz who did try to ruin his cards, saying he stole, he lied, he cheated, and he lost, as well as he deserves to be demoted. But then Bastion surprisingly declines his invitation to Obelisk Blue, saying that he would only accept that invitation after becoming the #1 student from the freshman class, to which he believes Jaden is currently that student. Jaden is always ready for a duel and offers Bastion the chance to get that duel in right now, but he declines this too, as he would rather wait, take his time to work on his formulas and strategies to properly be prepared to face Jaden.
Right.
I really like how honorably he respects Jaden as competition and as a friend. While Dr. Crowler's plans of getting Bastion to basically be his new prodigy and a way to take Jaden out at the same time, we do see the growth of friendly rivalry here of these 2 incredible duelists. Also, their energy turns into a tiger and dragon at the end for literally no reason, and we're just going to accept that, okay? Well, actually, it's the representation Tao philosophy, but it just happens out of nowhere, alright? Well, for the next little bit of time,
it is weird.
Into what would be considered more filler, Chaz ends up leaving the academy on his family's yacht, claiming to be back at some point, and everyone's just like, oh man, no, not Chaz. Well, he'll come back, I guess. They spend the rest of the time this episode dealing with a monkey who escaped from a secret testing lab on the island. It's not really important to anything going on, but it's funny that the monkey's name is Wheeler, and we know that everything here is all paid for by Kaiba.
Wow. Even in the end, even in GX, Kaiba shows his hatred for Joey Wheeler. That's how you know if it had Joey Wheeler won one duel against Kaiba, Kaiba would crash the fuck out. That's how you know. That's how you know.
So, the pettiness spares no expense. Also, animal testing is bad. At one point, a special exhibition is held at Duel Academy that features Yugimoto's deck, but soon after, it ends up getting stolen by another student there named Dimitri that Jaden has to face in order to retrieve the deck and return it properly. What is cool is that we basically get to see Jaden go up against Yugi's cards, just minus Yugi being the one behind playing them and truly knowing how to use them. But it's a cool throwback to see some familiar cards and creatures come back into the series. We also get introduced to a new character that, while not super important now, will become a larger character down the road in the series, and that's Blair Flanagan. Initially trying to disguise herself as a boy like that time Lola in Zoe 101 did, but this is soon figured out, and like I said, she'll come back around later in the series. But now, though, we do get back into the lore for a bit with a few things going on. Firstly is this mysterious character arriving on the island that Duel Academy is on, who is there to understand and uncover whatever secrets that are hidden regarding the school. In the meantime, there is going to be this big matchup between 2 different dueling schools, with the school here choosing Zane to represent them like they have in the past. But thanks to the other school going with a first-year student, Zane nominates Jaden, saying he will represent the school well, which is pretty cool to see.
Kaiba is petty.
Is into this, Dr. Crowler isn't, and thinks that it should be Bastion who should be the person to represent the school, leaving Chancellor Shepard to set up a match between Jaden and Bastion to determine who will be the one to represent the school in this upcoming match. And the 2 of them end up really excited to finally face each other, having confidence in each of their abilities to be the one who wins, with Bastion claiming that since his duel with Chaz, that he's been crafting the perfect deck to beat Jaden with. And Jaden's honored and excited to see what Bastion has been cooking up for him. Before all of the dueling starts, Jaden and the rest of Slifer Red run into this mysterious older guy who has snuck onto the island, who is now disguised as a Slifer Red himself, and rather than being weirded out by this random new and way older Slifer Red student, Jaden accepts him and decides to show him around the place, unaware of any of the intentions of this new character. While they're all hanging out and Jaden is getting his deck together, this new guy ends up picking up one of Jaden's cards, that being Skyscraper, as he gets a flashback about it ruining dueling for him for some reason. What we can see in the flashback images, however, is what looks like a shadowy outline of Seto Kaiba, using his Blue Eyes White Dragon in a match against whoever this is, and yeah, I guess that counts as an OG character cameo.
Oh,
Maybe
wow.
we'll see Kaiba again, who knows. In this trance of remembering what happened to him, he ends up slipping on being discreet about information regarding himself, telling Jaden that his name is Gerard, to which it actually was, instead of using a fake name while he's doing whatever he's doing. Keen fans of the series who noticed that might have been Kaiba in the flashback and understanding that Duel Academy was funded and put together by Kaiba can start to see why this guy who had dueling ruined for him might be doing here. Possibly trying to find a reason to make Kaiba look bad as to get back at him in another way that isn't dueling. To get away from the conversation about his past to not seem suspicious, he changes the conversation to learn about students going missing, letting us know as the audience that he's here to find all of the dirt he can regarding the missing students, whether that be digging into these rumors or finding anything further that could be covered up. But of course, the Slifer Red boys talk about their experience with the abandoned dorm, because what an experience that was, regardless if Jaden is kind of clueless as to what really happened there. This leads Gerard here to go and explore the abandoned dorm, firstly meeting Alexis there, who is dropping a rose like last time, but she dismisses him, clearly weirded out by his interest in what's going on. Plus, she doesn't know this older guy who was wearing a Slifer Red jacket for whatever reason. I wouldn't have spoken to him either about what's going on. Meanwhile, Bastion is preparing for the duel, spending time alone in his room and eventually claiming to have cracked the code for the perfect winning formula to defeat Jaden in a duel. And as their duel finally starts, it's hard to only stay focused on such an important duel for these two, thanks to what's going on in the background with Gerard sneaking around the school for secret information. Plus, when Zane talks about the match with Alexis, she seems preoccupied in thought, not caring about the match as much as she is caring about something else, with Zane even being surprised at her attitude towards it all. With the duel going back and forth a bit, it's fun to see Dr. Crowler go from regretting his nomination of Bastion to then celebrating his choice of him for the duel. With plenty of mysteries left up in the air and Jaden put into a rough situation, we leave the two of them on a cliffhanger to see who is going to win this match. Jaden was all set for a big fusion to get his elemental hero Tempest out on the field, but Bastion stopped him by using Curse Seal of the Forbidden Spell, stopping polymerization from taking effect, leaving elemental hero Sparkman on the field against Bastion's Water Dragon. While the duel continues on, Gerard is able to further his investigation by gaining access to one of the school's computers and digging into the files to find a list of students who would presumably be missing, but instead are listed as studying abroad, making it seem that this whole thing could actually be a cover-up that the school is trying to hide. One of the names on the list is Atticus Rhodes, who is Alexis's older brother. So while some of that mystery unfolds, we return back to the duel, where Zane and Alexis talk about the situation these two are in regards to the duel, as Alexis cheers on Jaden to overcome these challenges, because
I find it fun that Kaiba make the lowest Slifer had the highest his monster not. Yeah, it was crazy. It actually was crazy.
Shirley has presented some tough ones in front of him. Gerard
That's how
ends
you
up
know
walking
he loved Obelisk,
just out of
the
curiosity,
Tormentor.
but for some reason on the way there, he keeps getting plagued with flashbacks about his time with the Slifer Red boys, and about dueling as a whole, as if something about being here and being around dueling again, along with seeing that skyscraper card, have really triggered some repressed emotions that he's never fully properly dealt with him holding back his true feelings of him loving dueling to even try and convince himself that he has no love for it now, after what happened that one night, he now finds himself very interested in the duel, finding it quite exciting and honestly just a fun time. It's almost as if that feeling of wonder is filling back up inside of him that he once lost and held himself away from ever finding again. As the duel rages on, Jaden ends up getting out elemental hero Blade Edge, and on top of that, activating Skyscraper to help boost it in battle. This does trigger Gerard a bit when seeing it played, but the battle gets even more heated with Jaden and Bastion going back and forth with different tactics to hold each other at bay. For Bastion's turn now, he ends up bringing out Litmus Doom Swordsman, who, much like that card Dark Guardian that the Paradox Brothers played earlier in the show, cannot be destroyed in battle. Plus, thanks to the card Last Magnet, it now has 3,000 attack and defense points. Bastion ends up being able to take down all of Jaden's defenses, destroying Blade Edge, Clayman, and even getting rid of Skyscraper, putting Jaden in a bad spot. But they both are having a good time and agree that this has been one heck of a fun match. Jaden now introduces us to another new elemental hero though, bringing out elemental hero Wildheart, adding on Cyclone Boomerang to bring the attack points of Wildheart to 2,000, which is still 1,000 points less than Bastion's monster, causing the other Slifer Red boys watching to be confused, with Chumley even saying, "What gives?" To which it seems Jaden heard that and replies to him by saying, "He'll show him what gives." Yeah, everyone can just hear each other and talk to each other in the middle of the battle. Doesn't matter if you're sitting on the benches far away and whispering, or all the way in the heat of the loud battle happening. I don't know what's going on, but Jaden's plan of attack here is to let the boomerang be deflected and come back to destroy itself and Wildheart. leaving Jaden to take some damage, but with its special effect of destroying spell and trap cards on the field, for every one of them, 500 points of damage are given to the opponent, resulting in Bastion being brought down to 0 life points, with Jaden winning the whole duel. The crowd seems pretty impressed, with Zane thinking that Jaden did a great job, and Alexis being stunned, but of course overall happy, and heck, even that Gerard fella is cheering for Jaden after being so excited to see such a phenomenal matchup, quietly thanking Jaden before trying to leave, with Alexis noticing Gerard leaving and heads after him. And it's honestly cool to see Gerard thank Jaden over finding the love for dueling again, and feeling something he hasn't felt in a long time. With Jaden winning, Dr. Crowler feels pretty silly once again, but the boys are all hyped after a great duel, with Bastion congratulating Jaden on winning, as he vows to make another deck that will be more ready and more calculated to take him on, to which Jaden is counting on it. And I love this friendly rivalry here so much because there is no hatred, there's no malice, just two bros who have love for the game and want to get their game on. Now that we know Jaden will be the one dueling on behalf of the school, what about Gerard's plans with his secret mission of exposing the school somehow? Well, Alexis catches up to him in the hallways, questioning what he's been up to, but Gerard decides to trauma dump a bit and give Alexis the rundown on who he is, claiming that he's a sneaky, sleazy reporter who makes a living digging up dirt and selling that information and findings, with this one being a little bit more personal, for why he'd even be interested in finding what secrets the school has. But thanks to Jaden and seeing the duel, he's had a change of heart, remembering the person he used to be and what dueling meant to him. He then holds up all of his findings, explaining that rather than selling this off to cause a major story and investigation to take place that could result in the school itself getting shut down, that he now wants to figure out what happened to the missing students,
Yeah.
and to hopefully find them, effectively joining on to the team of investigating this whole thing as he walks off. So maybe we'll see him again, maybe we won't, who knows. Briefly, before anything serious continues on, Dr. Crowler sets up this whole duel for Jaden to get into with a former student named Belowski, with the episode titled The Little Belowski, which is fun, I like the reference. The whole setup here is that he was a really great duelist at the academy before they noticed that in his duels after playing Moki Moki cards, that the other duelists lost their motivation to duel and would drop out of the school. So now they just have this poor chilled out kid alone in a special dorm and held within a virtual reality world, and maybe we need that reporter back because what the heck is going on with that? Anyway, the desired effect
Right,
Dr.
like,
Crowler wanted on Jaden from
what?
the duel didn't work because even in a tired-like state, Jaden's always thinking about or dreaming about dueling, so he can't really be affected here. So there was that, just a weird little episode in general. Now it's time to finally check back in with Chaz after he departed from the school many episodes back, but now finding himself alone on his yacht, which is now sinking, by the way, as he gets angry of hallucinations of Jaden friendly taunting him over dueling, causing Chaz to fall into the waters below and to be randomly saved by a mysterious person in a weird suit who knows all about Chaz's hatred of Jaden thanks to him talking in his sleep. He quote-unquote accidentally drops Chaz's cards into the water, but in return gives him something that he claims Chaz will beat Jaden with, handing him Ojama Yellow, which confuses Chaz more than anything. His anger turns him to state that he's rich and can afford to be the best there is when it comes to dueling, but this mysterious guy explains that no amount of money can buy you that title. You have to earn it, and that's what he intends to find out here. This guy then launches Chaz from his secret submarine that they were in, up and onto the ice above, leading Chaz to the front doors of North Academy, aka the school that Duel Academy is set to face in an upcoming school duel. And
Oh,
you
wow.
can already see where this is going,
Yeah.
right? In order to get into this school, you need 40 cards, to which this guy sitting outside explains this all to Chaz, but when he explains he's been out there for a while and only has 39 cards, Chaz tries to buy them off him, but he gets very protective of the cards, saying he needs to go out into the winter tundra and I guess find and discover his own new 40 cards in total. Weird concept, but I am sure Chaz is about to go on a long, special journey here. That journey lasts about 1 minute long because we get a montage of him finding all the cards needed, meeting back up at the front door with the other guy who was impressed and excited for Chaz to get into the academy. But Chaz surprises the guy by saying that he ended up finding 41 cards so that he can finally be let in as well, which in general is a really cool thing for Chaz to do despite still coming off snooty in how he's speaking to him. He tries to give him the Ojama Yellow card, but for some reason he physically can't, leading to the surprise that Ojama Yellow becomes a spirit much like Jaden's Wing Karibo, as it then begins speaking to Chaz. The other guy can't see this, and Chaz just tries to push off Ojama Yellow because he's being super annoying, and now he offers another card to this guy instead. And with that, they each have 40 cards, and they should be let into the academy, is what Chaz would then want you to believe, because while he said he wanted to wait to then have his own entrance, it's revealed that he actually only found 40 cards, and is now short 1 card and can't enter on in, prompting a hallucination of Jaden to claim he he always knew that Chaz was a good and nice dude, and that when you're like this, good things happen, with Karma coming right around to offer Chaz a surprise 40th card to now let him in. Inside, however, he finds the same man he helped now getting defeated in a duel as Chaz meets all of the other duelists there, with their top duelist named Czar explaining that as a bit of a hazing ritual, that in order to determine ranks between 50 and 1, anyone new will have to face 50 duels in that order, and wherever you lose at determines your rank.
Wow.
The guy ended up losing right away in his first duel, but Chaz makes it seem like 50 duels in a row is nothing, and will take all of them on. During these duels, Chaz starts explaining that through his journey of finding all of these cards around the area, that life deals you all kinds of cards, and sometimes you've got to make the best out of what you got. Hey, which is great character development, you know? But I
Yeah.
don't think it clicked with him like that saying is supposed to mean, as it plays to a literal meaning of having to play with the cards that he was dealt, that he just had to find, scattered out in this winter time.
Right.
You get it. It's more literal than metaphorical. Ojama Yellow still tries befriending Chaz, causing Chaz to crash out on him as the others are just kind of confused as to who he's talking to or about. Eventually, it's Chaz versus Czar, where Chaz ended up having to use his Ojama Yellow, putting him up against Czar's team of Zoa and Metal Zoa, but Chaz now has Jaden still talking to him in his head as if they were on the same team. I think Chaz just needs some help, like, you know, someone to talk to. There's a lot going on in his head at the moment. Luckily,
yeah.
Still Chaz Princeton, proving his skill isn't just something that he's purchased, resulting in the defeat of Czar. So yay, good for Chaz. He's number one here, clearly. But then we get the big reveal of the guy from the submarine showing up and taking off his mask to show that he's the guy from the front door that Chaz helped out. And on top of that is the head chancellor of this school and wanted to set everything up here to truly test Chaz. So he was dressed up in the submarine, quickly got undressed and hid at the front doors to meet Chaz, got defeated in front of Chaz, ran away to put the clothing back on, then just to reveal that he was that character by taking that clothing off. Alright then. As it's
Yeah, like, how fast did you run, bro? How fast did you run? How fast did you run and change clothes like that? Like, that's crazy.
explained to Chaz now, he's the top student here, and will be the one representing the school in a battle against Duel Academy, giving him a chance at revenge against Jaden to defeat him. Rather than learning further lessons like it seemed we were when it came to him having to make do with the cards he was dealt, the Chancellor here makes it about Chaz seeking his revenge on Jaden, to which Chaz is jazzed about. So yeah, lots of stuff going on here with Chaz. His consciousness is all over the place, going back and forth about doing the right things and doing the right actions, but also in the end was still having the wrong mindset about it.
Yugioh GX will continue in a moment.
I think this was the arc. Hold on. I think this was the arc that made me like Chaz, where he defeats this entire town. Yeah. I mean, that one, like, this episode right here just proved that Chaz really wasn't just like a snobby rich kid. He actually was pretty good with dueling. It's just that like having Ojama Yellow be your spirit is actually hilarious. And then, if I'm not mistaken, he like the other Ojamas like came to him and annoyed the fuck out of him as well.
Now it's time for the big school versus school duel between Duel Academy and North Academy. North Academy seems nearly cult-like from the structure of the buildings, to the location, to how they treat their top students that they have, and Chaz now dons a sleek new, all-black jacket instead of his obvious blue one, with the Chancellor giving him some powerful new cards to add to his deck, while the other students chant, "Chaz it up." Yeah, things ain't right here. They then arrive at Duel Academy, where Jaden is eager to meet his opponent, as it is revealed that it is Chaz. And Jaden doesn't understand this for a second, not realizing that he's their top student to go up against him. Once this is all cleared up, you can see how ready Chaz is for this match. But this is interrupted by some helicopters coming over them, as it ends up being Chaz's older brothers, who are expecting him to win and want to use this duel for good publicity for their family business, making sure that the duel itself is broadcasted all around the world for everyone to see. Both brothers privately confront Chaz and talk about him making a big show of how he will be the king of duel monsters, because this is what is expected of him, mentioning him as a slacker, and now we see where he takes those harsh words thrown at him to then toss at others like Jaden. They hand him a briefcase full of expensive, powerful cards that they have purchased for him, telling him that he'd better go out there and win and show everyone why the Princeton name is so prestigious. Chaz is kind of in some form of silent shock from this, not being able to fully speak back against his older brothers and the family plan in general. But shortly after, in the restroom now, Chaz ends up having a bit of a breakdown, telling himself in the mirror in a voice that sounds like he's holding back tears that he needs to man up and go out there and win, and show his brothers that he isn't a slacker, showing us how much pressure he is under, and a bit of the real Chaz who is struggling behind the curtains. Jaden, however, catches all of this when walking by, seeing what Chaz is going through, but doesn't make himself known. Before the big duel starts, Jaden speaks to his friends about understanding more of what Chaz is going through and knowing how hard it must be to be under such intense pressure, and that no matter what, one of them is going to lose here. Chaz makes his own entrance onto the field, though, telling everyone at Duel Academy that he is not the same Chaz they once knew, despite that being, only like a little over 10 episodes ago. Something since he left, but he has everyone who came from North Academy chanting Chaz it up to make a show of force for who he is and that his name carries weight in the world of dueling. As the duel gets going, Chaz eventually summons Armed Dragon level 3, making Chancellor Shepard realize that the Chancellor from North Academy gave him that card, instantly worrying him. There is a bit of a bet on the line between both schools, one that we will get to later, that does involve both of the Chancellors here. You can see that Chancellor Foster from North Academy isn't playing around and doesn't want to lose like last year, no matter what the cost may be now. Jaden's excited as usual to see what Chaz is setting up, with the crowd getting worried as Armed Dragon now becomes level 5, and Chaz seems to be pretty stacked and prepared with cards to break through Jaden's life points, nearly devastating his life points in one go. Jaden doesn't give up though, as he's having a great time here, only enjoying it more and more the tougher the battle gets. Chaz keeps Jaden on the ropes, forcing him to defuse his elemental hero Tempest, as then Chaz has his Armed Dragon go up to level 7 now, with Chaz's brothers realizing that this card wasn't in that briefcase they gave to him, which confuses them. Chaz has entered into an ultra-serious attitude, but Jaden ends up just bouncing around and shaking with excitement over such a fun battle and such a cool card that he wants to trade something for, which only makes Chaz more angry, causing him to exclaim that nothing will stop him from being the best, and to do so it takes discipline, telling Jaden that his stupid jokes and carefree attitude are his own downfall, and that he'll never be the greatest because of it. Jaden keeps playing it cool, not taking any of it to heart or being all that serious, continuing on in the duel with all the faith in himself one can have, just telling Chaz to chill. Thanks to Armed Dragon's special ability here, Chaz is able to wipe any of his opponent's monsters off of the field if they have equal or less attack points, leaving Jaden completely open to Armed Dragon's massive amount of attack points. Thanks to Jaden's Rottweiler's ability, he gets to add Polymerization and Elemental Hero Percinatrix to his hand from the graveyard, with Chaz coming at him with the full power of Armed Dragon level 7. Jaden ends up protecting himself thanks to his face down card, Hero Spirit, sparing his life points from being attacked for now. Jaden then draws his Winged Karibo, hoping this can help him out in the bind, but once summoned, Yellow Ojama comes out to speak with Chaz, to which Winged Karibo points out to Jaden that Chaz has his own dual spirit much like he does, because now this is just a normal thing that some people can have, and the only ones who have it can see it and see the others who do as well. Welcome to the Yu-Gi-Oh anime. Who knows what can happen or make sense sometimes.
Man, I'm telling you.
Fun, then that's all that matters for the most part. Either way, the match.
See, this made me just want to get the Wing Karibo Funko Pop.
With Jaden being able to use Pot of Greed, that's a new card. Never heard of that one before. No way can do. But he then uses Special Hurricane to destroy any special summoned monsters, taking care of the Armed Dragon, with Jaden bringing out Elemental Hero Wildheart to attack Chaz directly to keep the battle heated up here. Chaz uses the graveyard in the 4th dimension to get some of his Armed Dragons back into his deck to be shuffled in, while he then plays another Armed Dragon level 3 to the field. He's feeling all the pressure to show his brothers that he's the best and will live up to their family name, so as to not let them down and ruin their plans. Jaden ends up realizing Chaz isn't doing so well in the head at the moment, thinking of how he can help Chaz realize that this pressure shouldn't be there, and that this duel is all for fun at the end of the day. He snaps into Get Your Game On mode, which is just like when Ash would spin his hat backwards in the Pokemon anime, knowing that he has to show Chaz what dueling is all about. After Jaden defeats Chaz's Armed Dragon level 3, he activates the Graveyard of Unkindling, allowing each of them to special summon a monster from their graveyards to the field in defense mode. While Chaz brings his Armed Dragon level 5 back out to the field, Jaden brings back Hero Kid, card that he secretly discarded in order to use Special Hurricane earlier, that has the effect to bring out the other Hero Kids in his deck, having a total of 3 on the field now in defense mode. Chaz isn't too worried about Jaden's defenses here, playing level up to turn Armed Dragon level 5 into level 7.
Not the Funko Pop. Yes, the Funko Pop.
Then playing Armed Charger.
What are my thoughts on the dual spirits? I want one. I want a dual spirit. I want a dual spirit. Hey, if, I may not get a Wing Karibo though. I might get another like little card, like a little dual spirit card. Like I might, you know what I'm saying? Well, what kind of really cool little like dual monster would be good for me? I would have to literally like look that up. Like what would really fit me? Cause I'm into elemental heroes. I don't know. I gotta give that some thought. Gotta give that some thought.
And attaching it to Armed Dragon level 7, he attacks Wildheart, destroying him and leaving Jaden with only 300 life points. By doing this, the effect is activated where Chaz can now bring a monster back from the grave to his hand just so long as it is under the amount of attack points than the monster just destroyed, bringing back his Masked Dragon that he immediately sacrifices to the graveyard to use Armed Dragon level 7's ability, allowing him to wipe out all 3 hero kids on the field, leaving Jaden wide open to Armed Dragon's attacks, literally looping us all the way back around to the same situation from earlier. Jaden isn't feeling anything but a nice time, enjoying the match and telling Chaz that despite the pressure his brothers are putting on him, that he should just be having fun. Winning or losing, it's about enjoying the game itself, which is why Jaden is able to be so calm and is having a great time despite being in such a dire situation. He also fills Chaz in on knowing that it's the pressure from his brothers that is causing him to have a reason to duel rather than doing so for the fun of it. Chaz doesn't bite on what he assumes is bait, saying he duels to win, as Jaden is basically like, well, I tried. Let's see how this turns out for you then in the end. Jaden then brings out elemental hero Flame Wingman, as well as plays Miracle Kid, which causes Armed Dragon to lose 400 attack points for every hero kid in the graveyard, taking Armed Dragon level 7 down to 1600 attack points, leaving Flame Wingman open to attack and win the duel. But the camera crew noticed this as well, cutting the camera feed worldwide so that no one outside of those in the arena know the outcome. With Chaz losing, his brothers go up to him and berate him for doing so, telling him he is no brother of theirs and how much money they have wasted on setting up the whole camera crew and getting press for this, all for him to lose, as Chaz begs on the ground for another chance. Jaden, along with all the other main characters, confront the brothers, as Jaden speaks up to defend Chaz, putting the blame on the brothers as they threaten Jaden that they can crush him and silence him because of their power and influence. They also explain that Chaz is nothing to them now, as the world mostly saw how bad he was schooled and how could anyone come back from that. They are mad that Chaz used his own cards and not the cards that they bought for him, leading to Jaden saying that he did win the battle of going against these two, deciding to use what he believed in rather than what they bought. But also in the same breath, technically he was given some of those cards from North Academy, and all of his original cards were basically, waterlogged, semantics. Jaden's words hit so hard that even Dr. Crowler was crying in the club over it, feeling that he was right in taking his side. Jaden continues on to say that, despite it sounding cheesy that they both won here, it was a great match and Chaz is growing in all the ways that he believes it. But he tells Jaden that no one else believes that. It can't be true and he's just being nice to him. But in the most heartwarming way, all of the students from both schools start chanting Chaz it up, exclaiming how much they do care about Chaz and have faith in him and his dueling, and that he does have a place here. He may not have won the duel, but he has won the hearts of everyone here who support him as a person. His brothers end up leaving there, with Chaz mentioning to himself that there is still one more score to settle. At the end of the day now, Duel Academy is saying their goodbyes to North Academy, with Jaden telling Chaz to keep in contact and to write to them. Chaz, however, surprises everyone by saying that he isn't going anywhere, asking to come back to Duel Academy as the Chancellor says of course he can. He's one of the school's best duelists. While North Academy is sad over this, Chaz knows that he belongs here and wants to be in the presence of those who truly have had his back. But will his attitude fully change?
Probably not.
We also get to find out about the side bet that both chancellors had, and that was getting a kiss on the cheek from the most beautiful woman on the island, Miss Duel Academy, who turns out to be Miss Dorothy, aka the card shop owner. I just love that before they show off who it is, Jaden and Cyrus run up to the stage as Jaden says, "Sounds hot," while Cyrus asks Jaden to be his wingman. Okay, Cyrus, we see you. Anyway, the teacher also tells Chaz that since he's technically new to the school again, he will now be a Slifer Red, freaking him out and demanding that he have his own room, as everyone gives him a big welcome to Slifer Red, spelling out Slifer, as even though he's complaining about it all, he ends up posing with them, which is odd, but funny. I'll blame it on translations. Heading back into the shadow game side of things, Cyrus wakes up in the middle of the night to accidentally find that Professor Banner is on the computer speaking with someone who tells him Jaden must be tested, and that there are plans to bury students alive, which is weird. The teacher doesn't notice Cyrus, but we do see that his cat Pharaoh takes notice of him. Is that important for something in the future? Maybe, maybe not. Conveniently, though, the next day in class, Professor Banner tells his students about a special field trip to another part of the island that has some old ruins on it, with the trip ending up only consisting of Jaden, Cyrus, Chumley, and Alexis, who are going with the teacher. While Alexis is there because the ruins have ties into the Shadow Games, apparently, and wants to find out more information regarding her brother, Cyrus is worried that something bad is being planned for them, and specifically Jaden, trying to warn him, but Jaden doesn't really give it any attention. And after a long journey across the island with lots of complaints from Chumlee, Pharaoh ends up stepping on some special rune hidden in the ground that activates weird glowing beams out of the ground as the sky begins to start distorting around them. Everyone tries to take shelter from what is going on, while Jaden tries to lead this weird anomaly away from the area, as if it were somehow established that this colorful storm was sentient and would follow him, but okay. After this, we find Jaden passed out, only waking up to find the ruins how they once were. Not so much ruins, back intact, with Wing Karibo out and hanging out with him. Jaden just thinks he's dreaming, especially since he can actually feel Karibo here, showing that he's not just a spirit. This is all interrupted by a mysterious woman who tells Jaden that he can't be here, that this is sacred ground, and that he is in danger, as some guards walk by. The lady tries to hide Jaden, explaining that the others like him were already captured by the Gravekeeper, with Jaden demanding to be taken to who is in charge so he can get to them to let his friends and teacher go free. She's very much trying to help while at the same time warn him from what's going on, and his attitude here just made me laugh out loud, especially when she's all like, "You'll wait right here," and then he's all like, "No, I won't," as an immediate response. You gotta love Jaden sometimes. Pushback, no matter what is said, is great. We do see in a wide shot that the ruins, no longer being ruins, are on top of a floating piece of land, and our main characters aren't in Kansas anymore. I mean, Duel Academy anymore. Jaden already made the Wizard of Oz.
What even is this? What even is GX?
While he ends up hearing his friends as he looks out of the room window to see them all struggling to get free, as they are all wrapped up and being trapped inside of coffins. While seeing this, Jaden is then cornered by a group of guards with spears, along with the Gravekeeper's chief, who offers Jaden a challenge, which of course is a duel, where if Jaden wins, he and his friends will be let free, and if he loses, they will all be buried alive. How fun. As the battle goes heavily in the favor of the chief, Jaden realizes that this is a serious duel with his and his friends' lives on the line. It's not just a regular duel, causing him to take it a bit more serious as he fights back pretty well, with the duel getting more deadly, with every life point ticking down how long his friends have until being completely sealed in their coffins. If Jaden doesn't get his game on, he and his friends will all be long gone. Hey, his words, not mine. With the duel continuing on, Jaden ends up getting his Winged Karibo out into the game, using Transcendent Wings to have Winged Karibo level 10 enter on out, but the chief here ends up using Gravekeeper's Watcher to negate the effects of Transcendent Wings to keep Winged Karibo as he is, being able to then destroy him from the field. Jaden starts getting more heated with his strategies getting stopped at every turn, but the chief's strategies keep getting more and more powerful, lining him up with lots of cards in play as well as Jaden's life points heavily reduced, leaving him with only 500. Luckily, before any finishing blows take place, Jaden uses emergency provisions, letting him sacrifice some face-down cards to gain 2,000 life points to save him for a bit longer, as after being attacked, he immediately loses 1,000 of it. But he's not done yet, letting himself get attacked more, only to use Draining Shield, stopping the attack and gaining the monster's attack points as life points, bringing him all the way back up to 3,900, which is then immediately cut back down to 1,900 after being attacked by the next creature, and then down to 600 after the one after that.
Jesus Christ!
A heavily defensive game at this point, using everything he can to stay in the game with fluctuating life points. With his friends near fully buried, Jaden ends up just laughing from having a great time in the duel, confusing his opponent here like he usually does when laughing at the face of seemingly losing, but it's because he's confident that he's only about a turn away from winning. While the chief warns him of what he has coming next as well, Jaden really doesn't break a sweat. The chief then uses Royal Tribute, forcing both of them to get rid of all their monsters in their hands and put them in the graveyard, leaving Jaden with nothing he can do at the moment. Of course, he needs to draw the perfect card, putting Elemental Hero Blade Edge into his hand, and in order to summon it, he uses the power of a new Elemental Hero, Elemental Hero Necroshade, who was just sent to the grave, which allows him to summon Blade Edge with no sacrifices, and then uses him to win the game. As the chief falls to the ground, Jaden runs over to check and see if he's alright before being stopped by the guards. But the chief recognizes just how tough of a duelist Jaden is, as Jaden even admits to wanting to duel again sometime, which surprises no one, aside from the chief, as no one would ever have enjoyed playing such a shadow game like this. But Jaden's a weird little fella who really, and I mean really, loves to duel. The chief admits that aside from Jaden, only one other has ever passed this trial, as he reaches for a special medallion around his neck to give to Jaden as a reward. The medallion, however, is only half of the full item, with the other winner from this holding the other half that we get teased for Jaden to have to face one day in the future, and maybe not far into the future. With the chief recognizing Jaden's abilities here, and the girl from earlier clearly being this masked girl next to him now, Jaden's friends and teacher are released safely. Once freed, Professor Banner makes himself look suspicious by mentioning what Jaden went through as a test, as he awkwardly tries to play it off. Don't worry, you're still weird, we're on to you. Disregarding this, though, the chief wants to send them all back to their proper dimension, explaining how to get back at the gates of where they originally entered, with the three suns in the sky needing to merge back into one to let them pass back home. Before this, though, a bunch of other guards end up defying the chief's ruling, trying to capture and punish Jaden and the others, but the woman from earlier reveals herself, as if we didn't know it was her, and defends them all, telling Jaden to find the person with the other half back in their dimension and to give them a message saying that Yasmin hasn't forgotten about him and that she's still in this world and believes they will see each other again, building up some more mystery as to who holds the other piece of this medallion. Who is Yasmin in relation to all of this, as well as Professor Banner's relation to all of
Right,
this?
like,
Now,
what
Jaden
is
Kruger
going
ends up
on?
bringing everyone to the gate as the suns begin to merge, sending them back to their dimension, waking back up where they were when this all started. As we continue things forward into the next episode of the series, the biggest difference here is that we get a subtitle for the series, signifying a new arc or just a way to sell the show further as the story progresses. Now dubbed Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Rise of the Sacred Beasts. We enter in on some new plot points being plotted.
Okay, now we're getting to the part where, like, I completely forgot as to what is about to happen, because I don't remember much about Rise of the Sacred Beasts. All I remember is that, like, they were like they look like offshoot clones of the Egyptian god cards, but the freaking chancellor of Duel Academy was afraid of these things. So
Somewhere in a dark cave, we see the silhouettes of a bunch of masked figures with glowing red eyes, with added voiceover from some leader of the group saying that their enemies have been tested and that their allies are in place, with a special hour that they've been waiting for creeping up, allowing them to begin making their moves of covering the world in shadow, leading to.
oh, I remember. I think one of them is what's her name's brother.
As he states the Academy Island's prize will be theirs. Oh, and to make things more interesting about this character, you can immediately notice that around his neck seems to be the other half of the
pendant,
medallion.
yeah.
So that can only mean good things, right? As a massive storm is over the island, Chancellor Shepard looks out of his window, noticing Nightshroud hand gliding into the area into a fiery display to signify the beginning of something, with Shepard immediately knowing what's happening, claiming he's been anticipating this upcoming battle, or war, or fight, or whatever the heck is about to happen. We see that Nightshroud's medallion begins to glow, as well as Jaden's while he sleeps. However, things seem normal as the next day starts. Everyone's in class, Jaden has another ridiculous way to try and hide himself sleeping while looking awake, but not too long into the day, Jaden, Chaz, Bastion, Alexis, Zane, Professor Banner, and Dr. Crowler all get called into the Chancellor's office, confusing them all for why they were asked to come and see him. Dr. Crowler makes a joke at Jaden's expense regarding all the school's best duelists being here, with one thing not being like the other, but Jaden deflects this by saying Chaz was invited here as well, with Chaz getting mad and saying that he was talking about Jaden, not him, and I just love this bit of banter happening between them all. You can never really tell if Jaden's just being stupid to be stupid, or if he's actually stupid. But, stupid in like a nice way, like silly. Turns out, aside from the whole abandoned dorm with missing students and all this shadow game other dimension set stuff, that reporter guy Gerard may have been onto a lot here, as there is more hidden within the school, more cover-ups, literally, as the Chancellor explains to this selected group that there are such things as the Sacred Beast cards, which are these three beasts that all resemble similarities to the Egyptian god cards,
Right.
that stem from designs and lore based on Judeo-Christianity. One thing I love about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is all of the lore just behind the cards themselves. Their
Wow,
influences,
really?
what they represent, and so much more. And these
Judeo-Christianity?
are no different. Maybe that's something down the line to deep dive on my other channel. But if you're looking for Pokemon lore, check out my second channel, as I'm working on some fun Pokemon lore related videos over there. But let me know if you want to see some Yu-Gi-Oh! Lore too. Anyway, the Chancellor explains that these cards are important, and they are locked away underneath the grounds of the school itself. See, a literal cover-up. Man, what is this school?
What
One
the
of reason
hell?
The school was built in the first place was to protect and hide these cards away, which is crazy in general, by the way. Chancellor
What?
Scroller over here explains that there is said to be nothing but a terrible fate if these two powerful for humanity cards were to see the light of day, explaining that the world will turn to chaos and it will be the end of every living thing as we know it. Man, then why are these chunk of episodes titled Rise of the Sacred Beasts? It should be titled The Continued Hiding of the Sacred Beasts or something. Rise. But I digress. Jaden doesn't really understand how severe this all is, wanting to take the cards out for a spin himself, but ignoring his card-loving antics. Chancellor Shepard explains that it's up to the 7 people he invited here to be the protectors of the cards from the Wicked Ones coming after them. The Wicked Ones, as explained further in the exposition dump here, are 7 elite duelists known as the Shadow Riders. So, like, which is it? Are they the Wicked Ones or are they the Shadow Riders? You can't have two names for your group. That's not fair, and it just complicates things. The Chancellor tells them that they each have to protect the 7 spirit gates that protect the Sacred Beast cards, with them only being able to be opened with 7 special spirit keys.
Hold on, let me get my.
Joseph, you heard your goddamn soul one more time. I done heard you myself. God damn it. Sick of your ass. So. It will fall off.
I hope your ear twitches. I hope the next time you.
Oh. No, you apply slavery, you white bastard.
What a whisper is, you dumb idiot.
Whisperer? You are, huh? Get out. No. You stand there and you sit here. You know what you do? Don't move.
Go to hell.
You go to hell. Bastard. Don't run. Don't run.
He disperses out to each of them to protect and not let the Shadow Riders get their hands on. But they can't simply be stolen, they need to be won through a duel. So that's why the best duelists have all been asked to be here. All of them are shocked, heck, even the Cat Pharaoh is shocked, and I love that he's so included in on things. But the Shadow Riders will be seeking out those who hold the keys. So it's not about trying to hide and hopefully not be caught by a Shadow Rider. It's about being prepared to face them when they come around looking for the keys. He tells all of them that they are not obligated to do this, and they can back out no...
Really? I'm not though.
problem, but if they're in, he asks who's ready to help save the world, relying on 5 kids and 2 teachers to be the one to stop a shadow organization from getting their hands on cards that can destroy the world. Yep, this sure is a Yu-Gi-Oh plot, alright.
Yeah, it is.
Wait, if we ever do cover further series from Yu-Gi-Oh, things get even more wild with storylines. Anyway, Jaden immediately accepts, followed by everyone else as they all are trying to figure out who will be the first person to duel. But Chancellor Shepard explains that this isn't a pre-planned thing. This is a war, and that at any moment, any of them can be confronted by a Shadow Rider and be forced into a duel. So like, I don't know, just always be ready, I guess. Jaden explains this to Cyrus and Chum-Li later on, and he's not too worried about it, but the others think Jaden is taking it pretty light for how serious the consequences would be for losing the keys. You know, the world-ending kind of consequences, and all of that silly business. In the middle of the night, however, Winged Karibo wakes Jaden up, showing him a glowing light coming from inside their dorm, with his medallion now glowing as well. The other 2 won't wake up, but Alexis, who is walking around at night, spots this, entering in the room as Jaden is just as confused as to what is going on. But that's what a voice says the first duel is happening, bringing them both into a shadow game above a volcano where Night Shroud introduces himself. He also notices the other half of the medallion, saying that the Gravekeeper must be playing sloppy for it to have been won by the likes of Jaden. On top of this, Night Shroud has captured Cyrus and Chum-Li, holding them captive and teasing their demise over the fate of the game. Plus, he holds up a blank shadowy card, saying that the loser of the match, let it be Jaden or himself, will have their soul trapped within the card here, which is pretty old school Yu-Gi-Oh, and you love to see that. The duel between Jaden and Night Shroud begins, and not long into the duel, Night Shroud brings out my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh monster, the goat of all goats, the Red Eyes Black Dragon.
Oh,
Sorry,
wow.
Jaden, I might have to be on Night Shroud's side for this one. He literally has the best card ever, and I'll be mad if you win.
Yeah, that card is dope. I love the Red Eyes Black Dragon.
Doomsday. At least that seems to be their plan based on Nightshroud's mentioning of needing that to start Doomsday. Luckily for Jaden, he ends up getting Elemental Hero Rampart Blaster out, putting her in defense mode to protect himself while using her effect to attack Nightshroud's life points a bit.
Okay.
Fortunately for Jaden, Nightshroud pulls Inferno Fire Blast, allowing his Red Eyes to attack Jaden directly at the cost of sacrificing its main attack phase this turn, which is a fair trade-off. It couldn't destroy Rampart Blaster anyway because of the defense it has. This brings Jaden all the way down to 700 life points left already. Not a good spot to be in, but we've seen Jaden in worse spots. Nightshroud then plays Attachment Dragon, forcing Rampart Blaster into attack position so it can no longer attack directly, and on top of that, be weak enough to be destroyed by Red Eyes on the next turn. With his friends' lives on the line, his own soul, and the ownership of his spirit key for the sake of the world, Jaden relies on his next draw to help him out of a pretty bad predicament.
Yu-Gi-Oh! GX will return in a moment.
Ah, Tsunami. Gotta love it.
Yu-Gi-Oh! GX now.
Gotta love it.
With the duel heating up, partly by an intense duel in general, partly by the volcano that they're on top of, Jaden is able to break through Attachment Dragon by using Diffusion, and is then able to combo a few cards together to end up bringing out Elemental Hero Sparkman, so that he can fuse him with Elemental Hero Clayman to have Elemental Hero Thunder Giant come out, having an equal attack power to Red Eyes, leaving them to destroy one another so that his Bracinatrix can attack directly. I mean, this is a good play. Nice job, Jaden, but why'd you have to do my boy Red Eyes?
I had a figure of the Red Eyes Black Dragon growing up. Sadly, I don't have it anymore. Oh, man. Oh, you gotta get that back, bro. You gotta get that back. Shoot, I was always thinking about getting like the Exodia, the Forbidden One figure, and putting it somewhere on my shelf. I was thinking about doing that.
The elemental heroes needed to bring out the Tri-Fusion creature Elemental Hero Tempest, putting him in a solid position, destroying Mirage Dragon and bringing Nightshroud down to 600 life points. He's not worried though, saying it's not about life points, it's about the cards you hold, summoning to the field Red Eyes Black Chick, using it as a proper support to sacrifice itself through its special effect to bring out another Red Eyes Black Dragon. Yes, we love to see it. Now even on top of this, Red Eyes Black Dragon isn't the big baddie on the team here for Nightshroud, showing off more supports created around Red Eyes. He sacrifices him as well to then bring out Red Eyes Darkness Dragon, who already has
Oh, that looks so sexy.
attack points, but for all of the previous dragons now in the
I know, right? Why don't you get it? Why? You are. You fat as hell. Fat as hell. Ain't that right, Master Zen? Master Zen? I'm saying, ain't that right?
Red Eyes Darkness Dragon gains 300 per, bringing its attack to 4,500. Jaden saves himself from losing here by having the gate attack stop Red Eyes Darkness Dragon, and now in his bot time, we take a moment to see all of the other Spirit Key holders having their keys have reactions to what is going on, with Chaz having to deal with Ochama Yellow getting his groove on to the vibrations of it, and just being an annoyance to Chaz. We also get to see Chancellor Shepard alone in his office contemplating his actions, thinking of if it was wrong to involve the students in such a dangerous situation, or if putting it all in their hands was the only right decision to make for the sake of the world. With the duel continuing, Jaden's Rottweiler is summoned, but quickly destroyed by Nightshroud's Spirit Dragon, causing both monsters' effects to happen. Jaden gets to get some cards from his graveyard like Elemental Hero Wildheart and Polymerization, while Jaden takes damage from Spear Dragon's ability, but then that monster is switched to defense mode where it has 0 defense. Nightshroud then eventually has a chance to destroy Elemental Hero Tempest with Red Eyes Darkness Dragon. The power of the Shadow Games is getting to Jaden, sending him cooked straight to the floor with Alexis and his friends worried over him. But Alexis has seen enough and wants the duel to be over for the sake of all their lives aside from hers. She tells Nightshroud that she has a key too, and will let it go to him as well as let her soul be captured if it means Jaden and the others are set free. Nightshroud is more taken aback by something else though, seemingly recognizing Alexis, but before we find out more, Jaden butts back in. He tells Alexis to stand down as he gets back up, and says he is going to win this. So was Alexis legit putting her soul and fate of the world out on the line to save Jaden? Okay,
yeah.
Others, but mostly Jaden here? Man,
mostly Jaden.
Really has it bad for him, huh? It's all good though. We move on. The fight continues, and Jaden brings out Elemental Hero Wildheart, as well as he plays Wild Half, which halves the original attack points of Red Eye's Darkness Dragon, still leaving it at a massive 3,300 attack points, and by doing this, it has created a token copy of the Red Eyes with 3,300 attack points as well, giving him 2 still really powerful cards on the field instead of 1 really, really powerful monster on the field. You better have a plan here, Jaden, because this still doesn't look too good for you, but you know what? I'll trust the process. Jaden then brings out a new Elemental Hero fusion, putting together Wildheart and Blade Edge to create Elemental Hero Wild Edge. Okay, that one's not a very creative name. It comes out with 2,600 attack points, which still isn't enough to take on the armada of Red Eye's Darkness Dragons here, but his effect lets him attack all of his opponent's monsters. Added on with the ability of Skyscraper now being played, Wild Edge gains 1,000 attack points, making him more powerful than all of Night Shroud's monsters, attacking them all and winning the duel as fire then engulfs Night Shroud. As Jaden is more worried about his friends being safe, but from the exhaustion from the duel, he collapses, with Alexis trying to go and help him, leading to both of them being engulfed in flames as well. Luckily, this just transports them all out of the volcano and into safety. Jaden appears to be okay, but just passed out from everything, with Cyrus still crying over Jaden as if he is dying, regardless of Alexis being like, hey man, just sleeping from exhaustion. He'll be fine. Night Shroud, however, has had his soul trapped into the card, or more so what looks like just the mask that he was wearing, with Alexis going over to his body, only for that person to wake up for a moment and utter her name.
His brother. Yeah, her brother.
With the other students coming over to see Jaden and learn about what happened, Zane goes over to Alexis to see her hugging the body of the Shadow Rider, with tears flowing from her eyes and claiming that this is him, this is her brother Atticus, with Zane having a shocked reaction to noticing him as well. Now that the darkness has been lifted off of him, it seems like her long-lost brother is back, and it seems like we get a little more understanding as to what has happened to the missing students, perhaps. While the ending here looks pretty happy on the surface, Jaden seems to be pretty roughed up, leading to them all understanding that if this is what it looks like to win one of these duels, then how much worse could it be to lose? With Jaden recovering from everything and Atticus in stable condition, but not awake yet, we instantly get into the next Shadow Rider coming to the island, with it being a female vampire that ends up becoming this rumor all around campus that there is a vampire on the loose. But our secret Spirit Key Society task force here is already getting debriefed about it and made to be on the ready for anything that happens and alert to anything that they notice. Her bats are scattered all around the school to spy on the key holders, where we see how each of them are preparing for any chance encounter, with Professor Banner being the most superstitious towards the thought of a vampire being real and having to deal with it. Once this vampire has gathered the intel she needs, while taking a bath, mind you, she decides that her target will be Zane, literally rolling out the red carpet for the duelists to come to her at the lake, with Dr. Crowler forced by the others to lead the charge here and take her on in a duel. She appears in front of them, telling Dr. Crowler that he isn't worthy of her time and she wants to go against Zane. But after taking offense to this, he pushes back and ends up being the one that she will duel for now, setting up the
Let me
stakes
guess, Dr. Crowler. Let me guess. He loses this duel, doesn't he? He completely loses this duel.
By putting Dr. Crowler's soul on the line to be put into a little voodoo doll if he loses.
Not a voodoo doll!
And she thinks that this will be an easy duel.
That is a dope-ass duel disc. Holy shit, look at that duel disc!
Dr. Crowler even gets into the groove a bit and is having fun, seemingly taking...
That's a really cool duel disc.
Last long, with Candela's creatures hurting Dr. Crowler as he then realizes that this is in fact a shadow game. But thanks to his pride as a teacher, he stands up as a protector of his students, which is pretty cool to see for such a guy that you're made to hate for basically the whole show up into this point. While he may not be a duelist the students full-on think can handle this, he does have a few tricks up his sleeve that are impressive strategies. I mean, he is a teacher after all, but he may only serve as a buffer to protect the others from having to duel temporarily. The other students really want to step in and figure something out, but Dr. Crowler won't let them, refusing to let anyone step in. He ends up getting inspiration from the one person he probably wouldn't want it from, as Jaden tells Camula that Dr. Crowler can beat her and that he is a great duelist, which is cool to see him propped up a bit and more fired up for the duel thanks to Jaden. Then Camula starts speaking somehow while just having her tongue swinging around, but regardless, her bats are up to something, with her admitting that her bats have been spying on everyone, giving her the advantage. When the duel is not looking good for Dr. Crowler, he turns to everyone and says no matter what happens to him, remember this. It's true that he may have been hard on them all at times, but it's simply because he believes in them. Therefore, if he falls here, there is still hope.
Well, I mean,
they all will rise.
well, wait a minute. What about Jaden? So that means you believe in Jaden? Is that what that means, Crowley? Is that what that means? Is that what that means, Dr. Crowler? Is that what that means?
Zane tells him not to talk like that, but Camula seems ready to end things off, bringing him all the way down to 100 life points as he taunts her about the Shadow Riders supposedly being so tough, indicating that she's not. She then sends in her final attack with Dr. Crawler turning to Jaden and saying, "Avenge me, my boy." And Jaden's like, "I will, but you're not my dad." With the final attack on Dr. Crowler, everyone is stunned at the result, leaving them no choice because of the rules of the duel that she gets to take the key from him fair and square. Plus, as a bonus, Dr. Crowler's soul is then trapped within the little voodoo doll. Jaden nearly steps in to face her with Zane holding him back, not saying a word as she then leaves the area, waiting for them to come and find her again for the next duel. With Jaden refusing to properly rest up from his duel as the others are trying to plan on what to do, deciding their course of action, it seems Zane has a plan of his own, as he begins to head off alone as Cyrus notices this and confronts him on where he's going, telling Cyrus that with all that's on the line, he should already know where he's going, which is to go find Camula to duel against her. In the meantime, Ojama Yellow and Chaz realize that Dr. Crowler is sentient within the voodoo doll, so that's funny, but the bats are coming out to play, alerting all of them that it is time to deal with her again. And Zane didn't fully go alone, though. He was just kind of waiting for all of them to catch up and follow him at their own pace when they were ready, I guess. Whatever that case may be. They all enter into the world of Castlevania to deal with Camula, meeting with her in the middle of the castle for the same stakes as last time, as Zane wastes no time getting into it, getting his most powerful monster, Cyber End Dragon, out on his first turn, which is like, what the heck, that's insane. Some even may say insane. I, of course, would never say that. Only Jordan Cringe would, and that's disgusting to think about. However, he did use Power Bond, so his card has 8,000 attack points. But if the duel isn't won, right here and now, Zane will instantly lose thanks to how that card can backfire on you. She, however, uses Red Ghost Moon, taking that 8,000 attack power and adding it to her life points, bringing her to a massive 12,000 life points. But thanks to Zane having a backup plan, he uses Diffusion, turning his Cyber End Dragon back into 3 Cyber Dragons, negating Camula's card and bringing her life points back down, and negating Power Bond, saving Zane from instantly losing the battle. There seemed to be a plan either way things went, and that's why he's Zane, aka the best duelist in the school. As the duel goes on and we see Camula use her best cards like Vampire Genesis and Zane use more and more Cyber Dragon support cards like Cyber Barrier Dragon and Cyber Laser Dragon, Zane seemingly takes a lead until Camula really starts putting up one heck of a fight, putting Zane to the test more than he expected. As she takes it up, she ends up playing Illusion Gate, destroying all monsters on the field as she splits into 2 versions of herself, explaining further that the rules are getting a bit darker now, requiring the sacrifice of the soul to the sacred beasts in order for her to summon any monster that had been used in the duel up to this point. She then targets Zane where it might hurt the most, right in the family feelings, as she grabs Cyrus to use his soul as sacrifice to bring out Cyber End Dragon to her side of the field.
What?
She also tells him that whatever he does to the Cyber End Dragon, he's effectively doing the same to Cyrus's soul.
Oh, that's dirty.
Insane. Put in this conundrum, he does have a winning strategy planned out, having Call of the Haunted played face down, and knowing that he can get Cyber Barrier Dragon
That is actually dirty.
at the cost of losing his brother's soul, which would in turn make it so that they don't lose any more spirit keys, and the world is kept a bit safer for the time being. He makes note to himself that the choice is clear, knowing what he must do. Cyrus then pleads to Zane that he must sacrifice him, that it wouldn't be worth it to save him, and he can then be remembered for something other than being Zane Truesdale's younger brother, and technically go out as a hero that helped play a part in saving the world, with teardrops falling from his eyes as he is accepting his own fate. The two of them have a moment together again, just like when Cyrus was in the duel against the Paradox Brothers, where Zane admitted to Cyrus that while he once said he didn't belong here, that he has been proven wrong and believes he does belong here. Also telling Cyrus that he loves him, and saying to never forget that, as he says, "See you later." Now back in the match, Zane officially stands down, shocking everyone with his decision as Camula uses Cyber End Dragon to finish Zane off. Turned into a voodoo doll as well, she keeps this one, unlike the Dr. Crowler one, as she then vanishes along with having 2 keys on her now. Aside from the heartbreak that Cyrus and the others are feeling, what are they to do if their best duelist in the school couldn't beat her? Well, he could have, he just couldn't sacrifice his own brother.
Yeah, his own little brother, that's all, yeah.
Not being fully healed yet, screams out into the night.
What just happened?
No matter what, he is going to take her down. And
I was gonna say the video just paused out of nowhere.
First 3-part episode saga in the series, with part 1 and 2 ending in pretty devastating ways. 2 main characters turned into voodoo dolls, 2 spirit keys acquired, and a 3rd match for Camula to face in the way. With 2 of the 7 gates holding back the sacred beast now unlocked, the Chancellor receives a call from a mysterious figure that seems to be in a special liquid tank similar to a Bacta tank from Star Wars or the special pod Mewtwo was born in. He tells Chancellor Shepard to just give up, but but he won't. He has faith in his students and teachers to stand up against the vampire and the rest of the Shadow Riders coming after that, and whoever this mysterious guy is. Atticus also finally starts waking up, but in the meantime, the others are trying to figure out what to do, as Jaden does still need his rest and isn't in the best shape to go and handle Cannula. They plead with Professor Banner to do this duel, but he's having a hard time finding the confidence to handle this situation, as he's pretty scared and superstitious when it comes to vampires. It's all good though, as Alexis arrives with Jaden, who is looking a lot better now, and is now wearing both halves of the medallion, as Alexis takes us back to what feels like a second ago to see what happened after Atticus woke up. Atticus explains to Alexis that Cannula has a shadow charm that allows her to steal souls, which made the last duel specifically impossible for Zane to go through with winning, but apparently she can be stopped from doing this with another charm, that being the medallion here, which will allow them to just be able to defeat her in a regular duel and not have to worry about any dirty soul-stealing tactics getting in their way again. Jaden leads the charge into the castle to face her, wasting no time getting Elemental Hero Tempest out instantly as she tries to use Illusion Gate again. But when she tries to sacrifice a soul for this to work, with her also threatening to just take everyone else's soul at once, Jaden's medallion pieces click together, sending out a shock force that stops Cannula from doing anything soul-related. She, however, still wants to use that card, offering her own soul in exchange for wiping out Elemental Hero Tempest from the field, as well as putting him on her side.
What the
With her soul
hell?
on the line, however, she won't be holding back.
How you
anything,
use your own
attacking
soul?
with everything she's got. But despite being pretty hurt from all that, Jaden plays his trap card Crossheart, bringing back Tempest to his side of the field, making her Illusion Gate strategy with her soul on the line a bit of a waste. Luckily, she has Pot of Greed. Nice. Not so nice, however, is that she ends up getting her Vampire Genesis out. As they all know how prepared she has been to deal with their decks and playstyle, she explains again that her bats are her spies and have...
Hold on, let me get my trolleys.
Zenny boy. Zenny boy. That's what they're called. How you open it? Oh, there you go. I opened it. I didn't. I just gotta get scissors.
Shut up! Whatever you said. There we go. Oh my god, why is the scissors not going back in the cup? Jesus Christ.
All the information she's needed. With Jaden not doing so well, and the morale from the others, especially Chaz, being pretty low, Pamela ends up telling us a bit of a backstory about vampires in general, talking about how they once lived in harmony with regular people, but once war broke out, with either side not knowing who really started it, many of innocents were slaughtered. And as for the vampires themselves as a race, she found herself as the sole survivor, locking herself away in a coffin until she was found one day by a shadowy figure, one who offered her...
Hold on, how the hell are vampires and humans coincide with each other? What? What? Huh? In the Yu-Gi-Oh world, vampires and humans were working together? Not working together, but living together in peace? What?
The shadow charm that she has around her neck in exchange for helping this person acquire the Sacred Beast cards. Or if she were to decline this, just live the rest of her life in the coffin, alone, forgotten, and hidden from the rest of the world. And with her wants, with the power of the shadow charm, it would allow her to gain souls so that she could then use them to resurrect her army of vampires to then take revenge against humanity for slaughtering them a long time ago. Jaden doesn't really care about the backstory, just what's at stake, playing Fusion Gate to not only get his Elemental Hero Flame Wingman out on the field, but to then fuse him with Elemental Hero Sparkman to give us another new Elemental Hero fusion, and one that was really cool at the time to see, back when this all originally came out, and that's Elemental Hero Shining Flare Wingman. Camila wasn't expecting based on her spying tactics. For each Elemental Hero in the graveyard, Shining Flare Wingman gains 300 attack points, bringing him to 3,100 attack points. skills, being able to destroy Vampire Genesis. On top of this, thanks to Shining Flare Wingman's ability, she gets hit with the amount of attack points of the monster just destroyed, bringing her life points down to 0, with her soul then being taken as a sacrifice from the Illusion Gate. Zane and Dr. Crowler end up returning to human form and are alright in the end. The whole castle itself was a part of the Shadow game, with everyone needing to escape from it in order to be safe, and luckily they do, as the bright sunny days return to the island, stalling the end of the world some more as our heroes have defeated their toughest opponent yet from the Shadow Riders, as well as giving us some more lore about this mysterious figure pulling the strings behind the scenes.
It's Yugioh GX.
Yugioh GX.
Yugioh GX.
After all of that and dealing with some nightmares, Jaden ends up having to deal with dueling a spirit monster, one based on Kaiba called Kaiba Man, the most vain card one could have had made of themselves, as it then uses Kaiba's cards to duel Jaden. Despite losing to Kaiba Man's Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon Defusion strategy, the duel wasn't that serious, and Kaiba Man teaches Jaden a lesson to help him with his nightmares, saying that defeat is nothing to be scared of. What matters is if you can get up after. Okay, we know this isn't modeled after Kaiba, this is making him look like the nicest dude out there. Well, with the spirits helping him, Jaden is more confident than ever to deal with future run-ins with the Shadow Riders. Also, everyone's just cool with spirits of cards just being a thing, whatever. Also, in the meantime of not dealing with the Shadow Riders, as the school's in jeopardy of being bought out now by Chaz's older brothers in order to shut it down in their conquest of ruling different important parts of what makes the world go round. You remember.
What? What? Wow.
Business, politics, duel monsters. Anyway, thanks to a cameo from Seto Kaiba saying that it's about the dueling, not the money, the school has a chance to duel for the sake of it being bought out, with Chaz being forced to duel one of his brothers with some steep stipulations.
Oh, yeah. Oh, whoop they ass, Chaz. Whoop they ass, Chaz. Chaz it up.
Expensive rare cards they originally bought for Chaz. This is a very cathartic episode for Chaz, having to overcome how he is allowed to battle, forced to learn to have a real connection with his spirit monster Ojama Yellow, as well as putting a stop to his brothers and standing up to them in a very personal way that makes it feel like he's having to go against his own family. Through this episode, Jaden helps Chaz figure things out and is there for him. Heck, he even sings the GX theme song to pass the time at one point. We even see how Chaz has to build a deck around the rest of the Ojama.
I knew it. I was going to say the other Ojamas are there.
To taking in all of these abandoned cards, perhaps seeing them the same way he feels when it comes to being cast aside from his brother.
Okay, now among all of these other casted out monsters, like little dual spirits, I would choose one of them. I know I would. I would choose at least one of them, but I can't decide which one. Like, if anything, I wouldn't mind having a weak monster in my deck because I know I can use it. But which monster though?
When feeling like he didn't belong at Duel Academy, Chaz may have this harder exterior, but we are starting to see more and more of the softy he truly is when we get these
Live from New York City.
What the fuck was that? What the actual fuck was that? Oh no! Bring y'all bring y'all ass back here. Especially you. Are you kidding me? Sir. We are live, sir. We hold on. We are live. And you just busted your ass yet again. Busted your mother trucking ass. And now Master Zen has to go pee. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the story of Master Sakurai and his channel. This is a part of the trilogy. This is a part of the story. And of course, Urban Ninja is still on the floor.
All right.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
You sure?
That shit hurt.
I bet it did.
I'm okay. All right. Shoot on.
You need better shoot. What?
Shit. Lost.
This is the reason why I got you them Mega Man slippers, man.
Okay.
This is the reason.
The whole reason we did that was just.
I know, but it was just random as hell.
It wasn't random as hell because I did it out there to Brian and it scared the hell out of him saying live from New York City. I scared the hell out of him from doing that. So we decided to do it to you while you were still alive.
Wow.
And I'm pretty sure that woke some people up.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. And if not, it's definitely gonna be a highlight among this live stream. It's definitely gonna be a highlight. Lord have mercy.
Tough duel for him to face, Chaz ends up out-dueling his brother.
Oh
using
my
the OG
God.
cards and saying that they ended up teaching him something. And
What? What? What was you about to say?
I was about to say something to him. But then all of a sudden I see him put on a Mega Man shoes. I'm like, what the fuck?
Why did you fairy run in here like? Yeah, I gotta pee.
Now you got pee?
Yo, John came running in like he just stopped like, oh shit. Damn, y'all gotta stop this shit, yo. Comfortable as a bitch, though, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, they actually do make noise.
Yeah.
You
I don't
okay
know
though?
how. Anyway.
God damn it. What? How did you do that? That was on camera. That was literally on camera. Arrow saying y'all need help. He fell again. He fell again.
I didn't fall again. I laid down.
Bullshit.
Hold on. I apologize for this, yo. This shit is insane.
I'm sorry.
This is actually
Having
insane.
a good old moment.
I'm alright.
How, why? What is going on with your feet, man?
That's a good question, Batman.
Was there anything in the door?
Actually,
You know, I tripped over my shoe. I went to catch myself and I rolled and landed on my elbow. Don't ask. Anyway.
I'm doing everything I can to get through this 3-hour video. And these jokesters. These jokesters.
making the live.
Making it live. I almost fell again.
Let me get out of here. Let me go back to my Metroid. I'm sorry, everybody.
No, it's fine.
No, I'm gonna go out pee anyway.
You didn't even go pee yet?
I've been laughing all damn time.
Jesus Christ. Lord have mercy.
That's good brothers support each other, inferring that his brothers don't treat him like a real brother. Coming up with a solid strategy of Chaos Necromancer who has 0 attack, then using the power of every so-called weak or forgettable and unwanted card that is now in the grave so it can boost its attack all the way up to 3,300. Enough to finish off his brother with a direct hit, winning Chaz the duel and saving the school from their collections. Everyone yells Chaz it up, and it's good to see Chaz get a self-redemption arc that lets him face his brothers head-on. Along with this, we cut back to Kaiba again, who says that he knew these two would lose no matter what, noting he would never have trusted them with his school, and that they have a lot to learn about world domination. Okay, so that's 2 episodes in a row where they want to make Kaiba look pretty good? What's going on here? Is this propaganda? It might be. Good for Chaz, though, in general, and at least his dorm is now filled with lots of new spirit friends, regardless if they still do annoy him a bit. After that, though, we must return back to the main Shadow Rider storyline going on, with Bastion preparing himself for anything that can happen. But he notices something odd in one of his decks, a card he believes he didn't put there, which confuses him a bit, but in trying to ignore that, as it would only be a distraction, he really wants to have everyone ready and in tip-top dueling shape for whatever happens next, forcing these Slifer-Ed boys to get up early to do different dueling exercises. No, like literal exercises. Pulling
Wow.
cards in and out of their dual disc decks continuously as the boys then start getting distracted, talking about the card crushes that they have, which is so real for anyone who has ever played the game or collected the cards. Look, denying it only makes you look weird because we all know you're lying. Just don't be like Bastion, who denies having one, but then thinks of the card he found in his deck and, you know, definitely wouldn't be one to crush over. Just saying.
Sir. First of all, I'm gonna need you to retract that thought, sir. 1, you don't even know what the card is. 2, it's clearly a little girl. 3, just don't take. Stop blushing. Just no. Stop.
Anyway, our main cast of characters eventually get brought out into the woods where they discover a coliseum being constructed, with a big buff woman named Tanya having a bunch of students and Dr. Crowler build it for her in exchange for some rare cards, with her revealing to the spirit key holders that she is a Shadow Rider and was just getting the stage set for her duel with them. She ends up picking Bastion to be her opponent for the duel as he reveals his 6 decks and isn't sure which one to choose, as she offers something similar, having 2 decks, one of knowledge and one of courage, allowing Bastion to choose as he ends up picking her knowledge deck, while he then selects his earth deck for the match. The surprise stipulation here for the match is that this isn't a shadow game like the other duels, but rather what's at stake is Bastion's hand in marriage. As an Amazonian coming from an all-women tribe, she is shopping around outside of that to find herself a husband, wanting that to be Bastion. Most men would probably fold and lose this duel on purpose, but not our Bastion. He may not have a significant other, but he does have his winning formulas, so let's see if that can be enough for him not to lose focus of the plot here. Bastion knows what she's trying to do and lets her know that it won't work. He's got his head in the game and is only focused on winning the duel, as she won't stop going between flirting with him and outsmarting him with her knowledge deck. He does start overthinking everything, allowing her to get in his head a little bit, but he keeps being able to slip out of it and play his best. That doesn't mean she's giving up either, playing into the love-stricken woman she's trying to come off as, and playing her best. The more she offers these lovey-dovey feelings, we see it working more and more on Bastion, as he is trying to do his best to not get stuck in those comments. With him planning out his strategy in his head, finding a clear path to victory, the little bit of fogginess in his head had him overlook something, as he didn't calculate her face-down card, ruining his plan and leaving him open to be attacked and lose the rest of his life points, passing out from the duel and losing the spirit key. Tanya then chases the others out, saying that she and Bastion are officially on their honeymoon and that they need to leave. Jaden screams back from the gates holding them outside of the Coliseum that this isn't over, as the others have to prepare for what to do now, especially having 3 keys gone and now Bastion held captive. Now we cut to everyone else camping out overnight, with them mentioning hearing Bastion making noises all night long, assuming that they have been dueling in there, and you know, I don't think that's quite it.
Oh my.
Anyway, Bastion ends up being let outside, saying that she dumped him because he's not a worthy enough opponent to keep up with her, cutting to some flashbacks of them dueling all night. You know, okay, I stand corrected. They were just dueling. Whatever spell of love that infested Bastion sets up a bit of a problem for him, as he feels heartbroken and is completely not the Bastion we all know him to be. Especially when it comes to dueling, he would never be such an easy opponent for anyone. Something must be up here, right? He feels like a shell of a man, now having lost the plot of why dueling matters if he can't do so with Tanya. While he is willing to give up trying to help save the world over this, Jaden tells him simply to just pursue her for a rematch and prove that he is this duelist that he believes he needs to be for her. As Jaden is up in the middle of the night planning out his strategies to help Bastion, he ends up showing up to get him to go after her now, taking Jaden out into the middle of the night to find and face her, along with the rest of, well, the entire main cast who are just up and ready to go for some reason. After finding her, she declines having a rematch with Bastion, claiming she only wants to duel Jaden, or there is no more dueling between them, to which of course he agrees and says he's doing this for Bastion. The same things are at stake. Jaden could be trapped as her husband if he loses. Jaden might be the perfect person to duel her because he loves dueling so much, how could he ever be persuaded by her flirtatious ways and fall under her spell? This battle's pretty weird in its own right though. Their spirits end up punching each other, and she's impressed by his punches. In fact, she really starts enjoying how good of a duelist Jaden is, not holding back on hitting her with some powerful shots. Bastion doesn't see that Tanya is truly over him, and isn't seeing it as her being into Jaden a bit from his skills in battle. You know, love-stricken delusions, all that stuff. After dealing blows back and forth for a bit, Jaden ends up having his Clayman take out her Amazoness Tiger, thanks to his face-down Clay charge card, leaving her with 100 life points as he only has 200 himself. Chaz is making jokes about this girl being Jaden's type, but Alexis speaks up and is all like, as if this girl would never be his type. Dumb Chaz, stupid idiot Chaz, you don't know anything, you big dummy Chaz. I added a bit of that. But it's basically what she meant. The duel comes down to the final blow, as they each hit each
And Harley used to say, and date the woman? Shit, I would. I definitely would. She may not be his type. She's my type, though.
other directly in the face, resulting in her life points hitting 0 while Jaden still has 100 remaining. Dr. Crowler was so impressed by the duel, he says he's never seen 2 people duel with more passion and heart than Tanya and Jaden just did. Wow, who would have thought Dr. Crowler would actually be a bit of a Jaden Yuki supporter, especially this early on in the series? You love to see it. Then she turns into a tiger herself, shocking everyone as she says goodbye to Bastion before leaving. She also leaves behind a special shadow claw that was used to keep her in human form. So yeah, I guess Bastion
Wow.
is just really in love with a tiger.
A tiger.
At the end of the day. And from this point on, he'll just snap out of this love trance that he was in. Sure, okay, whatever, it is what it is. The day is saved or something. I guess there was no magic or spell. He was just really in love with her. Maybe he just needs to get out more and stop working with formulas all day. But to each their own. Continuing on, we end up hearing about this other secret bad guy group called the Dark Scorpions, and they are up to something. Well, then we also see this mysterious new character with a shadow item over his right eye heading to do.
Oh my god, are you serious?
We see that Alexis is checking in on her brother, reporting to the others that his recovery is going as well as it can, but his memories aren't coming back fully, so they can't really understand what happened to him. But then we get introduced to that guy we saw on the boat. He's Detective Zalub. He's apparently here to help somehow in being.
What kind of Millennium item is that?
The remaining spirit keys aren't taken, and the whole end of the world thing doesn't start. And also, more distracting than anything is that he talks like Christopher Walken.
You might think that's where it's safest, but it's not.
Again, the voices, you love them. He
Wow.
suggests that the keys aren't safe around their necks, but rather hidden away so the Shadow Riders can't find who has them, which kind of goes against what felt like the whole reason for handing them out to different people to be ready with in the first place, having them on so there would have to be a duel in order to have them be taken or not. But okay, we'll go along with it. They start hiding their keys in their rooms as the detective makes it seem that others are watching and are suspicious. Even the Slifer Red boy's neighbor, who always mistakes their room as his, where Chum-Li then says that kid is a bit slow, but that's why he loves dueling him. So yeah, there's that. However, after all of this is done, in the middle of the night, all of the keys end up getting stolen, and everyone gets put on high alert. The detective then brings in all of these so-called shady people from earlier as suspects. Chaz, however, thinks that something more than this is up, and starts taking things into his own hands, weeding out everyone in the room, as they are everyone who would have known about the keys and where they would have been hidden. He doesn't want to play games. The fate of the world is at stake here. Man, you woke him up out of his sleep. Everyone has their own experiences noticing and finding some bits of evidence to point to who could have done this, but nothing to tangibly prove in that moment. But Chaz kind of figured things out already, as if all of these people weren't obvious enough about it, pointing at all of the suspects brought in and directly accusing them as the ones who did it. Shocking, I know. But what no one else knew is that he set his Ojama cards to be with the keys as a bit of a trap so that they can report back to him once he goes and collects them to hear what their spirit forms saw. While the suspects can't see or hear them, Chaz sure can, as he says that it was all of them who were responsible for the keys being stolen. The detective dude then corrects Chaz by saying that it was him too, revealing to everyone that all of them are secretly the Dark Scorpions. Who could have guessed? They have been deep undercover at the school, waiting and watching until they could finally have any leads on these keys after so many years or whatever, kind of making you second guess who any random person at the school could be. But maybe it's not that deep. It's just these guys we had to worry about. Chaz then stands up as the one to challenge them to a duel, as the main detective here is technically also a Shadow Rider. I know, being in two criminal syndicates is pretty ridiculous. Just pick one. They go on to mention that the keys didn't work and the world didn't end because they didn't win them in a duel in the first place. So a lot of this was pointless on their behalf, but Chaz is ready to take them all down here and get those physical keys back for everyone. In the duel, however, the main guy here ends up playing himself and all of the other Dark Scorpions, as they are the characters on the cards here. So, sure, it's Yu-Gi-Oh, I guess. Why the heck not? Cards being alive or spirits.
No. No, 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 no. That is just weird. Why do you have cards of yourselves? And how is this legal? How is it legal?
This is just a thing here. It happens all the time. They seem to have a bunch of support cards and special abilities to really hurt Chaz's chances of winning here, but in the end, after all of the ridiculous, weird meta dueling, sacrificial moments, and shootouts, Chaz brings out Ojama King by fusing all the Ojamas together, and thus ends up winning the duel. This episode is ridiculous, and I can't stress that enough. It is a goofy time with a silly battle, despite it still being a duel involving a Shadow Rider and the fate of the world being left partially in the hands of it. It's the most Yu-Gi-Oh thing Yu-Gi-Oh can do sometimes, and I appreciate it not taking itself so seriously when we've had and will have so many more serious moments in the series. After they lose, all of the Dark Scorpions end up disappearing, with all that's left being the special Shadow Eye Patch. So yay, Chaz won, this Shadow Rider lost, and things are looking okay right now. You can't be mad at that. Plus, Chaz now has the Dark Scorpions all as spirit monsters in his room along with all of the others, making his lonely life a lot more full.
Wow.
Bringing it back to more of an Egyptian theme, we open up on meeting the next Shadow Rider, who is woken up out of a sarcophagus and brought back into this world thanks to another Shadow Charm, being told that it is time for him to fulfill his duties to the Shadows. At Duel Academy, however, the class is being taught about the legendary status of figures like Yugimoto and Seto Kaiba, and then you can hear someone in the class mentions that they prefer My Valentine, and we all understand that. But the main crutch of the lesson also talks about the game of duel monsters being played all the way back in ancient Egypt. Going further in the lesson, we hear the name Abydos III, who was a pharaoh that never lost a duel, so of course Jaden wishes he could have a chance to face him.
Oh,
The
wow.
foreshadowing. Anyway, Jaden, Chaz, and Cyrus all get in a bit of trouble for talking and arguing a bit in class, ending up with detention. Alexis later on ends up meeting with Zane. Funny enough, in Zane's secret spot that we found him in way earlier when looking for him, which is on the support beam of a bridge close to the water. She's expressing her feelings regarding her brother not fully having his memories back, and it's nice to see Zane try and comfort her, telling her that right now, in this moment, she is safe. But then she's not, as out of nowhere a bunch of mummies burst out of the ground through the support beam, and as Jaden, Chaz, and Cyrus are all leaving detention, they end up hearing this when walking back to their dorm, but then they are also quickly surrounded by mummies too, as a mysterious voice demands the spirit key from Jaden. Then, nearly as gold and as bright as Ra, a ship comes down from the clouds, leading to everyone...
Oh, jeez, that is as bright as Ra.
The same person they were just learning about in class today. Abydos III. That's convenient. Professor Banner even passes out overseeing this. Jaden, on the other hand, is already bursting at the seams to get into a duel with this pharaoh, allowing his cocky attitude and nature to throw off the pharaoh and his guards because who would ever talk back to him? An apparent literal pharaoh from a long distant time. Either way, the duel is on, and Jaden claims that he will be the first to get a win against Abydos. The duel is a match between a sarcastic, cocky kid and a young pharaoh who believes himself to be untouchable. So things start off pretty back and forth with the smack talk and all that, but once Jaden lands some good attacks and Abydos takes it really weird, it's revealed that he won all of the duels back in the day thanks to his servants letting him win.
Wow.
The chance to actually play the game and get truly good at it. As he is feeling pretty devastated at this revelation, Jaden tells him that this is his real first lesson then, and through this match, Jaden is going to help him. Is Abydos still technically a bad guy because of being a Shadow Rider with the purpose of helping start the end of the world? Yes. Is Jaden going to be Jaden because he is in fact Jaden? Also, yes. Abydos appreciates Jaden for being real with him and willing to give him a proper, authentic Duel Monsters match, cranking up the heat and determination in the duel. Jaden gets to show off his combination of spelling out Hero with 4 spell cards so that he can eventually use Hero Flash, now having 4 of his elemental hero monsters out on the field, Avion, Clayman, Sparkman, and Vercinatrix, as they all go in with Hero Flash to destroy the remaining life points Abydos has, winning Jaden the match, thus defeating the latest Shadow Rider that has come their way. Abydos then makes an offer to Jaden about coming back to his kingdom in the past to live like royalty, and to help fight against him to train him further to be the best he can. But of course, Jaden doesn't take it, but it seems that they have become friends, and will somehow continue this long distance and long time travel relationship by writing each other or calling sometime. I don't know how it's going to work. Abydos even gives Jaden the shadow charm that he has, as Chaz is just mad and salty that he isn't getting as much free stuff here as Jaden from these matches. And also, ends with Professor...
I mean, other than the fact that you literally got a bunch of dual spirits surrounding you, this man literally had gotten a freaking millennium charm from a pharaoh from the past. GX is just nuts.
Banner saying that Jaden will soon face his true test, alluding to a bit of the weird mysteries going on with him that we've been noticing and getting teases of. With only 2 Shadow Riders left to defeat, Alexis is struggling to find any sort of joy thanks to Atticus not being fully back to proper health and who he used to be. With Alexis having flashbacks to when they were younger and how he told her that dueling wasn't about just having strong cards, it's about dueling with a purpose, showing he had faith in her to become a great duelist one day. In this moment, while in her own head, a shadow portal opens up, bringing back the character of Titan. However, something seems a bit different about him now, something more menacing. He is able to convince her to come with him back to the abandoned dorm and face him in a duel, and if she wins, he will somehow give Atticus back all of his memories and return him to normal. As she is going, Atticus wakes up, but fails to get Alexis's attention to stop her from going.
Oh my
all of the
gosh.
key holders meet up because there was a disturbance in the air, leading them all to find Atticus, who mentions the name Titan, which which of course freaked out Dr. Crowler because of never paying him to try and scare Jaden earlier in the season. But it's okay, man. Titan's really different now. For Alexis, though, she is getting locked into a duel with Titan, who fills us in on how he used to be a phony, who has now been adopted and molded more by the shadows to be a Shadow Rider as he seeks out the spirit keys, wanting to defeat Alexis and, of course, get hers. All of the others end up getting to the abandoned dorms on time for the match to start, that's convenient. But this will be a good chance for us to see Alexis duel again after so long, as well as giving her an extra level of purpose over the hope and belief of getting her brother back to normal. As the duel is getting more intense, Titan plays Dark Arena, shrouding the area in darkness, not allowing Alexis to see the opponent's monsters, making her attacks blind. She ends up getting her fusion monster Cyberblader out, gaining a bonus thanks to its effect to raise its attack points to 4,200, giving herself a pretty strong monster to help if she does have to blindly swing for the fences now. It ends up attacking Matador Fiend, which can't be destroyed in battle and destroys the attacking monster, taking out her strongest card and leaving her in a pretty bad position. Anyway, Titan then wants to tell his backstory now, explaining that he was saved by some mysterious figure and offered a chance to become a Shadow Rider and given the Shadow Charm mask that he's wearing. Wow, so interesting, dude. We fought a little Pharaoh last episode. Who cares? As the fight goes on, Alexis seems nearly defeated, but thanks
you're not
to the
special,
faith
dude.
from her brother, she stands back up and gives it her all, getting Cyberblader back onto the field and is able to get rid of Dark Arena and Matador Fiend's invincibility, winning her the duel and leaving Titan to befall the same fate and be consumed by the shadows again, leaving only the Shadow Charm mask behind. Alexis now gets to speak with Atticus, who is back to himself, along with all of his memories. He explains to Alexis what happened to him and to the other students, saying that they were called to the dorm for a test of sorts, only to be met
Does
with
it screw up the
same
future?
fiends that just
Not really.
and brought them to the Shadow Realm, where he explains further that in there he was brainwashed for a long period of time, losing who he was as he was molded into Night Shroud. Then he drops the bombshell, saying that the person who invited the students there for this test in the first place was in fact Professor Banner, shocking everyone to this news, except for maybe you and me. I feel the show has kept the audience a step or two ahead on something weird going on with this man. But what part does he truly play in all of this? Maybe it's time we start getting some real answers to all of these mysteries. Also, wasn't Jaden supposed to tell Atticus about Yasmin being in this other dimension and not forgetting him or something? Now maybe isn't the right time to do so. And I am sure that, we'll get to that eventually too. There's no way he'll just never tell him about it,
Oh, wow.
Now, Yugioh GX. Before we start getting to some of those answers, though, how about a weird filler episode where we have Chaz at cosplay, a dark magician girl dueling Jaden, and then Cyrus getting his first kiss from said dark magician girl?
What?
So there's that, that's cool. Moving on. In the downtime between not hearing about or finding Professor Banner, we get some time to see Jaden and Alexis together, as she clearly is showing how much she cares about him. Then, some weird gambling 007-like suave and snooty guy named Pierre comes around and has a history with Alexis. He apparently has a scarf of hers that she claims he stole, and he apparently likes her, but he's a James Bond type, so I feel he probably likes any girl, saying whatever he can to just get close to them. They end up dueling with Alexis not only beating him, but also rejecting his feelings towards her, then getting her scarf back as he is sent off the island. Apparently, a bit of the storyline was changed from the Japanese version. Pierre was there to be hired as a spirit keyholder himself, needing to face off against one of the keyholders and defeat them in order to take that position. But here they just made it tie in more to Alexis only and got rid of that secondary focus, for better or for worse. But
Why? That would have been... No, I wouldn't have cared. What? Why? Why change it? See, this is why I'm gonna watch the sub. This is exactly why.
Getting back to serious matters, we get to the episode The Seventh Shadow Rider. The final big baddie that the spirit keyholders need to stop to save the world. With the information that Professor Banner was behind why the students technically went missing, and the fact that he himself is missing now has everyone on high alert, kind of. The answers aren't fully clear, but it's time for all of this to start coming to a head. Well, we first start off with the Slifer Red boys dealing with breakfast-related issues, wanting to tell on Chaz for eating their food before they got there, but Professor Banner isn't around. And it's as if they haven't put together the information that Atticus told them, and the fact that the dude is gone as some sort of red flag or a problem. It's not something to worry about more so than just continuing on your days and worrying about breakfast, but hey, that's just me. Like, they all just sit in class with no teacher until Dr. Crowler comes in there to be their substitute, as he's just mad that he's had to come in on his day off and do all this, and isn't sure what to teach the students based on the notes left for him and what they have been learning. So things are a bit silly, but with the serious nature of things about to happen, it's fine to be a little bit silly here. Dr. Crowler then tells Jaden and the rest of the main Spirit Keyholder gang that they should all report to Chancellor Shepard, which is funny because it makes it seem like it's only the important people in the room that matter here. The rest are just filler background characters.
I mean, they are. They literally are just background characters.
Get what I'm trying to say. It's just funny how Dr. Crowler addresses the class only by the important characters as the rest of the gang. While it's not meant to be as blatantly meta as some of the other bits of dialogue in the show, I just find it funny and it's worth pointing out. The Chancellor explains to them all that Professor Banner hasn't turned up anywhere, with some worried here that maybe he's been taken by the shadows, or worse, beaten in a duel against a Shadow Rider. But the Chancellor doesn't really believe that happened, as no more gates holding back the sacred beasts have been unlocked. Overall, things are just odd, and no one knows what to do. I mean, I'd talk to Atticus if anything. He seems to know more about Professor Banner and could help lead you to all the answers that you want, more so than any other clue that you have, because, well, you have none. The Slifer Red Boys all start looking around for answers together, with Chaz leading the way a bit, searching through all of the Professor's stuff, with them ending up finding a note that they believe is code for Professor Banner having gone off to face the 7th Shadow Rider. Along with that, uncovering the identity of the character, who Chaz believes, thanks to it saying tree, means the answer to who it is must be who it rhymes closest to which he says Dorothy, the card shop owner, who also works the school cafeteria. Oh, and don't forget, is Miss Duel Academy. Okay, maybe she is suspicious for having all these titles, but come on.
What
Even
the
then,
fuck?
All of these titles could just be normal for one person to have. 2 part-time jobs and a winner of a competition. It's believable, and probably just what she has to do to get by, as school staff wages and a whole lot, and I'm sure running a little card shop for students isn't really all profitable, and what am I doing? It's not Miss Dorothy. I'm not humoring this in a long-winded bit for the video, even though I already am for way too long, and I surely will get hate comments for it, and I'm just sorry, okay? As they continue to search for clues or leads, with Chaz so gung-ho on solving things and being like a bit of a lead detective here, just like he was doing in that earlier episode when he had to face the Dark Scorpion Shadow Rider, he does end up noticing a symbol on a map that Cyrus finds, saying it's the mark of Amnail, which is something that they were learning about in class. Knowing that Professor Banner is into alchemy, they believe that this marking on the map is where he must be as they head out and search for him. They plan on trying to find his cat Pharaoh as a way to hopefully find the professor once they are in the area, but little do they know that they are being followed by a mysterious person, as who knows who this could be. At the same time, Alexis ends up going to check on her brother, only to find the room that he was in now completely destroyed and him nowhere to be found, aside from a glowing symbol resembling the mark of Amnail that then quickly disappears. She notices a shadowy figure running away outside and follows them, believing them to be the 7th Shadow Rider and immediately getting into a duel with them. She's not playing around and refuses to let Atticus be hurt or taken again. But something is off about this person, though. They aren't speaking, and they quickly destroy Alexis in battle, taking her spirit key as her cards get scattered around the ground near her like it was a bloody murder scene. This mysterious character ends up pulling out a special book with Egyptian symbols on it, like we've seen before with the Millennium Items in the past, and the Shadow Charms here for the Shadow Riders.
Jesus
and it then
Christ.
goes and sucks Alexis in, raising the stakes for what is going on in general now. As the night comes and the Slifer Red Boys are out in the woods, they discuss Professor Banner, with them not sure how there is a chance of him being a bad guy if that were the case here, based on how nice and kind he's always been to them. They do end up hearing Pharaoh in the woods somewhere, and as they are looking, Ojama Yellow comes out to warn Chaz that something doesn't feel quite right, but he doesn't care naturally, brushing Ojama Yellow aside, as he then finds the cat. We do see that in front of Pharaoh was another mark of Amnail. Along with that is the professor's belongings as they one by one appear, each with the same mark in front of them. This then leads Chaz to be by himself and in the presence of that mysterious duelist, being forced into a battle right now, then and there. Chaz believes that this guy took Professor Banner and will fight to get him back. Jaden and the others end up running into Pharaoh as well, where after asking where he is, Jaden's medallion starts glowing. Will that be important? Who knows? For Chaz's duel, however, he ends up befalling the same fate as Alexis, with the mark of Amnail sealing his fate, leaving only his cards and crying Ojama buddies behind. And man, are his cards going to be waterlogged again? You just can't catch a break.
Jesus
you know what?
Christ.
That might just be karma. You should have never done that to Bastion. Now, underneath the school, we see this mysterious Shadow Rider
man.
inserting the keys that he's won. Also adding
And
in
now
a
it's
clue
just
to
one
make
final
you
key
assume
left.
One of two things. Either he did defeat Professor Banner as well, or that, maybe he is Professor Banner. But we will see. With only one key left needed to fully unlock the sacred beasts, the pressure and power can barely be contained, causing beams of rainbow light to shoot up out of the waters around the island and into the sky, shaking everything as if it was an earthquake happening. Having Jaden look up to see everything that is happening, knowing this isn't good. What gave that away, Jaden? The ground shaking, the beams in the sky,
Right.
the missing, etc., any of the above? But regardless, we are in the end game now. Specifically, Amnail's endgame. That's what the next couple of episodes are called. Maybe that's the final Shadow Rider's name or something. Who knows? We start off with Chaz waking up in a weird bubble prison as he notices both Alexis and Atticus in their own as well. And what's even worse is that they are somehow all in space. Well, that's freaky, but a cool experience to bring about if they survive all of this and get to come back to Earth. Jaden now remains as the...
How are they all in space? What?
His friends' lives and the fate of the world are on the line, and he wants to find the Shadow Rider. At the abandoned dorm, we see the last Shadow Rider setting up a duel, claiming that Jaden will be put into a duel trial unlike he's ever seen or faced before, as an arena is being set up and coded over with the Mark of Amnail. The Mark then shows up in front of Jaden and the others as it starts leading them to the abandoned dorm, where Pharaoh sprints in after something, causing them all to follow in and find a new room deep in the place that is set up for a duel. Along with that, there are giant stone tablets with the sacred beasts on them on the wall, as well as a coffin, where inside they find the body of Professor Banner, who looks like a mummy who had been placed there inside a long time ago, with there being no way that this could have happened in the time that he went missing just the other day. Also, if this were a dead body, they sure are all taking it well and not completely freaking out over finding their missing teacher like this. You know, I understand being in shock. Heck, you may even awkwardly laugh. But just as long as you don't film it and then put it on YouTube, then you're alright to take it in however you need. The seventh Shadow Rider comes out to confirm that the body is that of their teachers and that he himself is Amnail. See, I knew it. To which Jaden then asks the real questions like Amnail, Amnail, from the Mark of Amnail, as if there was another Amnail reference you could mistake his name for. Regardless of that, he tells Jaden that he has to win this duel in order to get his friends back, as they are all currently sealed away thanks to the book he has. When Jaden asks about his teacher, Amnail explains that it's best he forgets about Professor Banner. He is no more, and there is no return for him, and if he wants any further answers and for all to be revealed, he must defeat him in a duel. Amnail asks if he will face him and take on this challenge, to which Chumley says he won't, as if anyone was talking to him. But Jaden, of course, is ready to face his toughest duel yet. With the duel starting up, the mystery of who Amnail is kind of seems more obvious than ever. He has the same hairstyle, he uses alchemy cards. I mean, come on. Does Chaz need to come back and start spelling things out here? I digress. But the battle doesn't start well, with Amnail coming out with 3 strong monsters on his first turn, blocking Jaden's attacks on his turn, and sending back a barrage of attacks right away. Amnail plays his cards just like alchemy, cycling in and out cards from the field and from play, saying that is the way of the alchemist, destruction and rebirth. This is probably alluding to the use of the sacred beasts, as well as in a way to destroy the world, but then rebuild it with new life, or in a new way. No matter what Jaden does, all of his cards and strategies...
I'm gonna have to leave now. Hopefully you can do live streams on Wrestling and Batman and other stuff. Sure, in the near future or RC, I probably will. Thank you for being a part of the stream. I appreciate you.
Blocked by Amnail, as he has a counter for everything Jaden is trying to do. With this duel, he is put to the toughest of trials yet, with Amnail really wanting Jaden to either prove himself by somehow winning or, to fail and feel the consequences of it all. Eventually, Amnail brings out Golden Homunculus, who, for every card removed from play, gains 300 attack points, meaning that thanks to the 13 cards he's done that to so far, Golden Homunculus now has 3,900 attack points.
Holy
then
crap.
Legends expecting so much more from Jaden before going in to finish him off. But Jaden does his laughing in the face of real danger thing and saved himself from the attack thanks to sending the card Mudmax to the graveyard, negating the incoming attack. He also can special summon a monster, bringing out Elemental Hero Avion, as well as regular summoning Elemental Hero Bracinatrix, as Amnail uses his Elemental Absorber to cancel out an attack by removing a card from play with the same elemental typing, which in turn powers up his Golden Homunculus even more. Jaden then uses some support for Bracinatrix, having Burst Return bring back all his other elemental heroes to his hand besides her, as he then plays Burst Impact, which will destroy all other monsters on the field besides her, and inflict 300 points of damage for each. This plan ends up working, wiping out all of Amnail's side of the field and bringing him down to 2,800 life points. From this, his mask starts to crack a bit, but what's deeper is the wounds on Cyrus's face after Pharaoh comes over and starts clawing him out of nowhere before running over to Amnail. This confuses everyone, as why would Pharaoh run over to this dangerous stranger unless he wasn't one? Then, for the big reveal, one that no one could have guessed, no one saw it coming, Amnail takes off his mask and shows us all that he is in fact Professor
Banner.
Not only that, he says that the body in the coffin is also him, mentioning that there is more going on here than you could possibly imagine. But the
Say
truth
what?
will be revealed soon enough. Jaden is surprised that Professor.
Don't tell
Banner
me
is
that you
behind
was.
all of this, to which
I
Amnel
mean, of
says
course
that
you
we're all
probably
thinking,
was doing
"Oh,
alchemy.
Of course I was, Jaden. But before the battle continues, Amnel, or Professor Banner, you know what? I'm just calling him Banner from now on, that'll do, wants to catch them up to speed to understand how this can be and what's really been going on. Banner goes into his backstory of being a great duelist who then searched all over the world for the rarest and most powerful cards.
Okay.
Mirroring stories similar to Pegasus's, and this kind of counts as a cameo, to where he found
Great.
a lost tomb in the desert, and within it were the first duel monster cards. But the tomb ended up being cursed, causing him to come down with this incurable illness that began to make his body deteriorate, and his only choice from here was to rely on alchemy to create his own real-life homunculus, an artificial...
How the hell do you do that? And why? And why is it that you? How do you get this rare disease from coming across the first dual monster card? What even is this world? What even is this universe? Everything is happening. Anything can happen in this universe. This is so crazy.
life form to which he can place his soul inside of to continue living. But
What
new
the
body
fuck?
doesn't have a lot of time left before it's gone too, showing his face already crumbling at the touch of it. Also, all those thick veins going on, that can't be good either. The only way for him to continue living is by having the power of the sacred beasts. So the whole thing about the end of the world doesn't really matter to him at the cost of just trying to, live. So rather than it being about the destruction and rebirth of the world, it's really about the destruction of the world and the rebirth of himself? But what's the point? Nothing will be left. Dueling won't even matter, and that was his main purpose in finding some of the rarest and most powerful cards out there.
Right.
Well, at least in the English dub of the series. In the Japanese version, Banner was after a special legendary stone that alchemists believed to have the power to grant eternal youth. And he was funded to find it and do research on it by someone above him, and wants the power that will let these powerful sacred beast spirits be controlled to be given to the person who was behind the scenes of his research, thinking that the beasts have the power alone to create that same legendary stone.
So he wanted eternal life. He basically just wanted to live forever. Basically, that's basically what it is. He just wanted to live forever. Wow.
Basically, all of that is scrapped in exchange for him just wanting to extend his life at the cost of the world coming to an end because of the power from the sacred beasts. And maybe somehow this stone just still comes into play later on. So yeah, pretty big difference there. I do find the Japanese storyline that we aren't getting interwoven into the dub a pretty big missed opportunity for something really cool here. It would have at least made Banner's reasonings for things a bit more meaningful for his own sake, rather than just wanting to live more. Jaden, for the sake of his friends, is forced to keep dueling, as when trying to stop the duel from continuing for the sake of the world and not letting Banner get the final key, he reminds him that his friends will be trapped and gone forever if he doesn't. With the duel continuing and Banner calling this Jaden's final exam, the pressure has never been heavier, but Jaden doesn't duel under pressure in a negative sense, keeping his spirit strong, even when the battle ends up bringing them into space where he sees his friends trapped in those bubble prisons. Banner tries to get into Jaden's head, claiming that he is a slifer slacker, and that every duel he's ever faced was set up and fixed for Jaden to win, to feel like this big shot duelist and look like it on paper too, allowing him to eventually be given one of the spirit keys to protect to get to this moment here. A lot of that just isn't believable. I think there are easier ways to have gotten to the spirit key than doing all of that, especially if the duel is going to be this tough. Why wouldn't he have wanted an opponent that he can beat in like 3 seconds like the others he took out? Anyway, Banner does the same play as earlier, this time having Helios Duel Magistus take in attack points for every card removed from play to now have 2,400 attack points. Jada then plays the trap card A Hero Emerges, where Banner has to pick a card from Jaden's hand, and if it's a monster, Jaden can summon it, to which all of Jaden's cards in his hand are monsters, with Banner unknowingly picking Elemental Hero Blade Edge, a more powerful card than his. Banner's monster is defeated, but due to its effect, it comes right back to the field, only now having 300 more attack points, making it stronger than Blade Edge, destroying it and leaving Jaden in a bad spot with little life points left. However, he ends up comboing his Elemental Hero Bubble Man with Elemental Hero Avion through fusion recovery and polymerization to give us another new Elemental Hero, with this being Elemental Hero Mariner. I just love that before he says the name, he goes, "Oh yeah," like he's so goofy, and I love it. While the card seems way weaker when it comes to attack points, Jaden continues on by playing some cards face down and using Mariner's special ability because of that to then attack directly, hurting Banner's life points a decent bit. He ends up impressed with Jaden's set of moves here, but tells him what he's heard before, that he lacks discipline and is always cracking jokes, and that is why he will never be this great duelist. But the last time he was told that, he ended up winning. Unless you fixed that
Right.
too, Banner, he is also letting his power get to his head, saying it's cosmic and that there is no way Jaden can even come close to defeating him, offering Jaden a chance to join him as a servant. But when you start telling Jaden that there is no way for him to win, he kind of finds
a way to win.
Let's see how that plays out for you. Jaden also denies joining him and has enough friends as Banner responds that Jaden will be joining them in Oblivion. What an idiot. Oblivion's not even a multiplayer game. So stupid. Now, when Banner goes in for an attack, Jaden activates Mirror Gate, forcing the monsters to flip to the opposite sides of the field. But Banner then plays Grand Convergence, wiping the field of monsters and dealing 300 points of damage to Jaden, leaving him with only 300 left. Banner's monster comes back to the field thanks to its effect, now even stronger than last time, and tries to attack. But Jaden says, I don't think so, using the spell card Flute of Summoning Karibo, bringing Winged Karibo out to then intercept the attack so that its effect can be used, buying him more time while he figures out how to get past Banner's seemingly unbeatable strategy. Banner, however, keeps taking it up a notch, now bringing out Helios Trice Majestus, who has the attack power raised up based on cards removed from play, making it have 3,900 attack points, sending in an attack as Jaden lets his elemental hero Clayman be defeated so he can play Hero Signal to bring out another elemental hero. He brings out Sparkman, but Banner attacks again thanks to his monster's continued ability, surprising Jaden as his Sparkman is destroyed and he is left open with no monsters, spells, or traps to pull from. In this moment, he begins to let the words of Banner ring in his head about everything he's done being fixed, and that he is not this great duelist like it is seen that he has proved that he is. But after replaying his greatest hits, he knows that it doesn't matter. Right now, the fate of the world and his friends matter, and he has to figure out a way to win the duel, despite if what Banner said was true or not. He believes in himself. You know who also believes in Jaden, though? Professor Banner, who we can hear an internal monologue from him saying that Jaden can do this. All of his training, everything he has done has led to this, wanting Jaden to make his move and make him proud. Which is interesting.
That is very interesting.
He looks over, seeing all of his friends, and now feels he has the confidence to do his best here. He ends up playing Miracle Fusion, taking all of his elemental heroes in the graveyard, and turning them into a new elemental hero, that being Elemental Hero Electrum. And he has a powerful ability, returning all of Banner's cards removed from play back to his deck, conveniently undoing what kept his monster so powerful, leaving Jaden with an open shot at victory as Banner smiles at the sight of being defeated. With the battle over, Banner has dropped to his knees and his alchemy book ends up shattering a bit, symbolizing a shady presence lifting from it. All of the beams disappear and Jaden's friends are returned to where they were captured at, as Banner tells Jaden that he lied about what he said regarding every duel Jaden has ever done.
Well, no
only
shit.
Doing this to push Jaden as much as he could to overcome this challenge, so he could be ready for the real evil that is about to come his way. He admits that he became a Shadow Rider not to destroy the world, but to try and find a way to stop who is really trying to do that, asking Jaden to understand the bigger picture and forgive him for the lengths that he went through to test him and make sure that he's ready, handing him his book as he, along with his other body in the coffin, turned to dust, giving up his life to make sure Jaden was prepared. Also, he turned into a spirit orb as well, and his cat Pharaoh ate him. Well, we thought that was the big, bad final act of the Sacred Beast Spirit Key Shadow Rider arc, but there is still more left to come that present Jaden with an even greater challenge. And it seems like the fate of the world will really be hanging in the balance as Jaden will soon face this unknown, powerful, and evil entity that we have yet to truly know about.
Yugioh GX will continue in a moment.
Now it's Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
Now, after so much intense seriousness happening, let's get a little bit silly and stupid for a moment. And I say
Again?
stupid specifically because of what happens here. It's just dumb to even do. You see, Chaz, for some reason, gets some strong feelings for Alexis, so much so that he's willing to mess with the fate of the world over it by taking advice from her brother Atticus. To
What?
take the spirit keys and wager them over a duel with Alexis, where no matter what, the keys are going to go back safely into storage, as Chaz is only playing to win Alexis as a girlfriend to go on dates with, and his feelings for her seemingly kind of come out of nowhere, and they're like really, really strong, and spoiler alert, after this episode, they're just gone. But either way, look, it's ridiculous. Atticus is being a messer of an older brother. Zane has some protective feelings over Alexis. And the reason the keys were returned to Chancellor Shepard in the first place is because everyone thinks that this is all over, since all 7 Shadow Riders have been defeated, despite Professor Banner's warning about what is to come. I just feel bad for Alexis. It kind of feels like a lot of the guys we meet see her as a prize to be won. Zane is okay for the most part. It feels like his sentiments towards her feel more like a close relationship type of bond that they have, more so than him alluding to anything romantic. And I guess all of this is another reason why she kind of digs Jaden. He doesn't just see her as a woman, and if anything, is really in love with dueling over spending time chasing down a girl. Now, in the duel, Alexis even makes a joke at Chaz's expense, saying she's only in love with dueling, trying to break his heart a little bit here and ease the tensions. And in the end, she beats Chaz and comes up to him offering to still be friends, willing to overlook any of the stupid nonsense that's been going on. And hey, that's great, but all of this gets interrupted as the ground starts shaking, leading Jaden to think this is what Banner warned them about, and that's how the episode ends. Not offering deeper closure on the love stuff, and right into the dark end of the world stuff. Continuing directly from this, we get into the special two-parter episodes that bring in the title of this arc, Rise of the Sacred Beasts. As everyone is confused as to how this is happening right now, especially if not all the gates were unlocked, and it seemed like Jaden saved the day, a bunch of spires that look basically like the ones already around the school itself begin popping up out of the ground, with the students fearing that what Professor Banner was telling them about is here, and whatever it is, it's not going to be pretty. All of the keys that Chaz has around his neck begin to glow and pull him towards the spire.
Holy
eventually
shit.
ripping off of his neck and individually going into each of them. Because of how this looks, Chaz is questioned about this, but he's like, no guys, seriously, I don't know what's happening. This isn't me, I promise. Dang, imagine getting blamed for the end of the world all because you were trying to spit some game, albeit the worst game ever spit. Suddenly, a special case rises out of the ground containing what could only be the Sacred Beast cards, as a voice comes from the skies above saying those cards don't belong to you, as we see a massive plane come in, dropping off that mysterious character who was in the tank that now is in some sort of spider-like mechanical walker setup, claiming that the cards are his. And when going back and thinking about it, there is a good fake-out setup because Professor Banner's body is deteriorating. It makes you think that it's possible that he could have been in that tank we saw on the call earlier with the Chancellor in his office. But it wasn't. It was this guy. As it all hits Chancellor Shepard right now, he knows who this dude is, claiming it to be the superintendent of the school, Kagemaru.
What?
He, like a bad person would, starts telling us the backstory and the plan, etc. So Superintendent Crazy Legs over here, Crazy Legs! That's a Max Keeble reference, is the one who sealed the cards away here, and the one who gave the Chancellor the spirit keys in the first place, which this whole time turned out to be a completely fake set of items to focus on, as they are not used to unlock the gates holding the cards back, as what was required was dueling energy, which apparently is a thing. Just go along with it, and thanks to the massive amount of dueling energy coming together from all of these duels, mainly thanks to the key holders fighting off the Shadow Riders, there is enough energy now to unlock these cards from being sealed away. Also, if dueling energy is a real thing, and in this universe of the show, dueling is one of the most important things, then why isn't the world running on dueling energy?
Right, that's what I'm trying to figure out. So, wait a minute, wait. Just wait. Just hold on for like a second. So you're telling me that those keys literally had no purpose, and the only reason why they were even a thing is because they were supposed to symbolize dual energy? So in GX we got dual spirits, just random time travel, vampires existing with humans, freaking sacred beasts that resemble the Egyptian gods for some reason, but they've been here for longer than anything. The first dual monster cards, and now dual energy? I'm so lost in the sauce. I think it's just, I just have to accept the fact that this is just Yu-Gi-Oh. This is just Yu-Gi-Oh. This is literally just Yu-Gi-Oh. Anything can happen. Anything.
Seems environmentally friendly if it comes from these people playing a card game. Maybe it can replace gas to be the fuel in the bikes for 5Ds. But yeah, anyway, why did this dude go through all of this trouble to have the cards buried and have this whole thing with the Shadow Riders? Well, year after year, he has been waiting for that one special duelist who can emit enough dueling spirit or energy to arise, step up to the hardest of challenges.
Let me guess, and that's Jaden.
The vessel to unlock these cards, with the only student to ever do so being Jaden. I mean, Yugi probably could have done it. Stop, Jordan, we can't think about the what ifs, only the right nows that are being presented. So Kagemaru challenges Jaden to a shadow duel, and if he refuses, he'll destroy the island with everyone on it. Naturally, Jaden is not going to back down and gets ready for the fight ahead, being a little worried that Kagemaru has added the Sacred Beast to his deck for the duel. But hopefully, a little surprise gift from Professor Banner that Jaden finds can come in handy. The card Sabatil, the Philosopher's Stone. Right away in the duel, Kagemaru ends up sacrificing a few trap cards in order to summon the first of the 3 Sacred Beasts, that being Uriah, Lord of Searing Flames. Wasting no time in wanting to show the pure force and danger of these cards, it ends up destroying Jaden's Mirror Gate trap card that he had face down due to its abilities, as well as gaining 1,000 attack points for every trap card in his own graveyard, bringing it to 3,000 attack points instantly. With how hard this duel already seems, as well as the fate of the world hanging in the balance, Jaden takes a moment in his head to hype himself up, reminding himself that this is what he came to Duelist Academy for, to be dueling against the best, to be the best, and this is that moment where it truly feels like that for him. Jaden ends up getting Elemental Hero Tempest out,
Okay.
giving him a boost in attack points with Skyscraper to now have 3,800 attack points. Being more powerful than Uriah now and able to defeat it, surprising everyone that he just took down one of the Sacred Beasts. I mean, all these people watching were going back and forth already doubting Jaden here and preparing for the worst to happen, but you know, a little cheering on here is nice. Kagemaru is impressed with Jaden, making him more excited to win this so he can harvest the dueling spirit that he has in order to be able to properly control the Sacred Beasts for world-dominating and destruction plans. But no more time to get excited over Jaden's strategy now, as Kagemaru activates another ability of Uriah, and that's by sacrificing another trap card to the graveyard. Uriah can be summoned right back to the field, and on top of that, gain another 1,000 attack points, because of the amount of trap cards in the grave, giving him 4,000 attack points and making him stronger than Elemental Hero Tempest. Yeah, as Jackie Chan once said in animated form, bad day, bad day, bad day. While Tempest gets destroyed, Jaden uses its effects to sacrifice a card to the graveyard to bring him back out on the field, also playing H-Heated Heart to boost Tempest's attack points to 4,300. Being able to attack Uriah again now, which continues the cycle of Kagemaru sacrificing another trap card to bring him back, and with more attack power now being at 5,000. And now, after they both had a pot of greed moment, Kagemaru plays Fallen Paradise to destroy Jaden's Skyscraper card, bringing Tempest's attack power all the way back down, leaving Jaden in a pretty bad spot. Continuing with his play, Fallen Paradise also allows him to draw another 2 additional cards each round, as he then plays 3 spell cards face down in order to sacrifice them to bring out the next Sacred Beast, Haman, Lord of Striking Thunder, and we ain't talking JoJo's Bizarre Adventure here. He ends up having 4,000 attack points and destroys Elemental Hero Tempest, plus thanks to his ability, deals another additional 1,000 points of damage since it destroyed a monster. Okay, yeah, these Sacred Beast cards are pretty cracked. I see why they needed to be locked up, aside from the whole ability to be controlled to destroy the world thing. Ojama Yellow ends up speaking to Chaz, now looking weak and frail, begging for help, as everyone then looks at their cards to see them all starting to fade away, as Kagemaru explains that the Sacred Beasts draw in their strength from dueling spirits and energy, not only from the duelists, but also from the cards. These beasts have the
What?
power to literally destroy every other card that exists on the planet.
That is
giving him
absurd!
the understanding of why they were locked away to begin with, and probably should always stay that way. Jaden and his cards are unaffected though, with Kagemaru stating that Jaden's energy and spirit levels are so high and powerful that it'll only be used for taming the beasts themselves, not just for sacrificial needs like everyone else's. As he explains his evil plans further, he shows off the power that he can siphon from the Sacred Beasts, and channel it through the shadow ring that he wears, as he then transforms his decaying old body into a buff young one, literally then bursting out of his own tank to continue the duel in his new form. All Kagemaru needs left to complete his transformation and have the power to rule the beasts, and the world for that matter, is Jaden's soul as the duel continues on. Jaden doesn't have any monsters on the field to deal with the 2 Sacred Beasts in front of him, opting for putting out his Rottweiler in defense mode and playing a face-down card. Kagemaru laughs at this and goes in for an attack with Haman, destroying Jaden's Rottweiler and dealing 1,000 points of damage to Jaden's life points because of its ability, bringing Jaden all the way down to only 600. Thanks to Rottweiler's ability, Jaden brings Elemental Hero Bubbleman and Polymerization out from his graveyard and into his hand, waiting for Kagemaru now to finish his turn, which looks like a pretty clear victory for him. When he has Uriah go in for an attack, he plays right into Jaden's plans of using Flute of Summoning Karibo to have Winged Karibo come out and save him for now, which as the spirit monster friend Jaden has a special connection with, it must feel so crappy to only ever really come out just to be attacked and destroyed instantly, or get turned into level 10, and then explode instantly. Just saying. Anyway, Winged Karibo appears next to him to be all like, Jaden, what the heck, man? You gotta stop using me like this. No, for real. He just makes those little cute Karibo noises. While Jaden ends up pulling the card that he found from Professor Banner at the start of the duel. With his turn, he ends up turning Elemental Hero.
What do you think about the return of the return of the gods? It's broken. They're actually broken. Like that's literally just absurdity.
Bubble Man into Elemental Hero Neo Bubble Man, who is basically the same Elemental Hero. He was in a previous episode that we didn't really talk about as it was mainly on the filler side of things. But in the anime, they treat him like a fusion card when in reality, he's not. But whatever. He uses Neo Bubble Man and an equipped Bubble Blaster to take out Hamon, despite being weaker than it due to his effect, and thanks to Bubble Blaster, Jaden takes no damage for doing so. When Kagemaru now sends in Uriah for an attack, Jaden plays Bubble Illusion, allowing him to play a trap card from his hand, choosing Heroes Rule 1, 5 Freedoms, declaring the effect be used on trap cards, forcing 5 trap cards in both of their graveyards to now be removed from play, conveniently taking Uriah's attack points down to 0. Now Neo Bubble Man can attack and destroy Uriah, bringing Kagemaru's life points to 2100. But despite such a powerful set of defensive and counter-based plays, Kagemaru plays Resurrection Tribute, destroying Jaden's Neo Bubble Man and bringing back Hamon from the graveyard with 4000 attack points. He also then sacrifices a trap card to trigger Uriah's abilities, bringing him back out onto the field as well, and with at least a little bit of attack points. But he's still not done, playing Phantasmal Martyrs, sacrificing a couple cards to the graveyard to bring out 3 tokens to the field. Uriah's attack also went up another 1000 thanks to one of the cards sacrificed being a trap card. Man, bad day to be Jaden Yuki. To make it a lot more worse for him though, Kagemaru still isn't done, now sacrificing all 3 token monsters to summon the third
one.
Final Sacred Beast, Raviel, Lord of Phantasms, who has 4000 attack points. And I love that Kagemaru's deck is literally just built with a bunch of traps, spells, and monster cards, or as we just saw and will see, tokens, just so that no matter what, he can keep summoning these 3 cards, and that's pretty OP. With all 3 of them out, we begin to see cards everywhere fully disappearing from their pictures, making young duelists cry, making Chaz's brother's investments worthless, and making poor Ojama Yellow here look like this, and then just die.
Oh my god!
Kagemaru is feeling all of the power flowing through him now, yelling repeatedly, "Come to me," with all the energy and spirit being absorbed into him. And after those choice words he said, Jaden's all like, that's freaky. While the others watching are pretty worried about the outcome of everything, Jaden doesn't break a sweat, being able to bring out Elemental Hero Flame Wingman. But in doing so, we get to see one of Raviel's abilities, being able to summon to the field a Sacred Beast token with 1000 attack and defense, and it's just like a mini version of him. It's so cute. With Jaden contemplating what to do, a Spirit Orb calls out to him as it is Professor Banner, telling him to use that card he left for him, saying he must play it now, but doesn't tell him how to use it, only saying that it's for him to decide, telling him that for the cost of half of his life points, the card allows him to transform it temporarily into any card from his deck that he wants 3 different times, each time costing life points. And after
They've
the
been
third
nerfed in the
time,
card
if
game?
everything has
Oh,
been
okay.
played well enough, apparently the true power will be revealed, and it will, well, we don't know yet, because Pharaoh eats the Spirit Orb again. Jaden just goes along with it, transforming the card into Fusion Recovery, bringing his life points down to 300. By playing this card now, he brings Elemental Hero Sparkman in Polymerization out from the graveyard, fusing Sparkman with Flame Wingman to bring out Elemental Hero Shining Flare Wingman, in turn allowing another Sacred Beast token to be summoned. But on the upside for Jaden, with Shining Flare Wingman's ability, it gains 300 attack points for every elemental hero in the graveyard, to which there are 7, bringing him from 2500 attack points to now having 4600 attack points. For his other ability, once it destroys an opponent's monster, the amount of attack points that monster had also gets subtracted from their life points. Jaden has attacked Hamon, defeating the Sacred Beast and now directly hurting Kagemaru's life points, is what would have happened if Hamon wasn't in defense mode, allowing Kagemaru to take no damage from Shining Flare Wingman's ability. Jaden uses the power of the Philosopher's Stone card again, cutting his life points down to 150 in order to get the card he wanted, playing it face down and ending his turn. Kagemaru ends up using more of Raviel's abilities, this time sacrificing the Sacred Beast tokens in order to add their attack points to Raviel, giving him 6000 attack points now. As this attack is now coming in to destroy Jaden, he reveals the card Defusion, splitting Shining Flare Wingman back into Sparkman and Flame Wingman, saving him from the attack, but in doing so, they count as summons, letting Kagemaru summon 2 more Sacred Beast tokens. Raviel then destroys Flame Wingman and Yuria destroys Sparkman, leaving Jaden completely open with nothing on the field. Now for his turn, he brings out Elemental Hero Clayman, which brings out another Sacred Beast token for
Jesus
Kagemaru,
Christ!
Jaden's third and final use of the Stone card, bringing him down to only 75 life points. He has it become Miracle Fusion, putting a bunch of elemental heroes together to become Elemental Hero Electrum with 2,900 attack points. With his 3 uses of the card up, he then says he's ready to find out the secret power that this card has, as playing it then allows him to multiply Electrum's attack points by the number of monsters on Kagemaru's side of the field, bringing him to a massive, ridiculous amount of 14,500 attack points. Jaden says it's over, and you know it's over because the instrumental for the theme song starts playing, and it's so epic. Jaden sends Electrum in to destroy Raviel, bringing Kagemaru's life points down to 0 and winning the duel. Oh, and technically saving the world. Now that's important too here as well. With that, all of the card spirits return back, but the special stone card given to Jaden ends up disappearing, as Jaden says he'll never forget Professor Banner. Kagemaru ends up returning to his old form, begging Jaden to understand his reasons for doing this, wanting to be young again and blaming this on his delusions of grandeur. Jaden, being Jaden, says, yeah, no, he gets it, but doing what he did is no way to feel alive again, saying he has to find the strength within himself, not harness it from others.
Right.
With Kagemaru saying it's too late for him to find his own strength, Jaden tells him that it's never too late, encouraging him to stand up on his own, to give it all he's got. And after doing so and surprising himself, he credits the duel with Jaden for giving him this personal energy and strength, and they embrace in a hug as Jaden nearly kills him from this. Chancellor Shepard then has the Sacred Beast cards put back in their secure storage under the school, saying they are under his direct supervision now. While the big ending to the rise of the Sacred Beasts arc is a bit too happy-go-lucky and feel-good, where the bad guy sees the error of his ways, the good guys just want him to stay good now, and there seems to be no consequences, it was still a fun and exciting time to see some awesome duels, powerful monsters, great strategies, and end the season off with a bang. Oh, wait, it's not the end of the first season yet? So, like, stopping the world ending and having Jaden defeat the Sacred Beast isn't where we're going to leave things off?
Oh yeah, this is just the first season, isn't it?
Dr. Crowler mentions that after all of that, right away, they
This is still just the first season, I think.
Where the duelists get a chance to move up from the dorm that they are in, and also for some, more importantly, graduation exams. We'll get to that. And now Jaden is truly terrified. To recap, not terrified of facing Kagemaru and the Sacred Beast, but terrified of exams. I guess Jaden's biggest challenge is still yet to come.
Yugioh GX will return in a moment. Yugioh GX now continue.
As we spend some time taking a breather so everyone can get ready for the exams, Chumlee gets a bit of his own storyline some more, rather than just being a character that is used for background dueling comments that are either him lying about how he could have played a duel better than whoever is dueling, or saying something food related because the joke is he is large. It's time for his real dreams to be recognized, and that's being an artist. While he has struggled heavily with dueling at the academy and is on his last chance before failing out of school basically, he ended up winning an art contest with Industrial Illusions, aka the company behind Duel Monsters.
Wow.
Pegasus' company. And look, he does make an appearance, which is a cool cameo. And he says that if the school gives Pegasus a good recommendation for Chumlee, that he will be hired right then and there to be a card designer for his company. While Chancellor Shepard is happy for Chumlee and is willing to give the recommendation, Dr. Crowler stops him and says that due to Chumlee's failures thus far at the school, what kind of educational establishment would they be if they just gave the recommendation without him earning it? To which I say, why does he need to be a good duelist at a school in order to go make cool art for the cards? Dr. Crowler says it will be a duel to decide it all then. Chumlee versus him. And if Chumlee wins, he'll get the recommendation, but if he loses, he'll be expelled from Duel Academy and will receive no recommendation. Chancellor just goes, okay, why not? Have fun. You know, the Chancellor, he's not a bad guy. He's quite nice. He's just kind of a schlub, you know? Luckily for Chumlee, he does give the duel his all with all of his friends watching and supporting him. With the passion he has to chase his dreams, putting everything he's tried to learn into his strategies, he ends up losing the duel to Dr. Crowler, crying over not being able to prove himself, even when he really tried. But all of his friends and Chancellor Shepard stand up from their seats and clap for him, saying that was his best dueling performance ever, and that he should feel very proud of himself. Dr. Crowler then breaks his hard exterior for a moment to tell Chumlee that while he did lose the duel, losing doesn't always mean failure. He didn't want the duel to be about winning or losing, he wanted it to be based on ability, to which Chumlee showed that he had that in stride. The tough threats of expulsion and not getting the recommendation were only there to push him so he can be his best. Something Dr. Crowler knew that was there and wanted to push out of him, like a good teacher would want at the end of the day. You know, this Dr. Crowler guy ain't so bad after
Yeah,
all.
he's
I
not.
think
He's just
he's growing
strict.
on me. He tells Chumlee that he will be given a recommendation, and that technically now he's just graduating. No more school for him, straight to the 9-to-5 working life.
Oh,
It's
wow.
a pretty nice
Yeah.
episode, and I'm happy for Chumlee to follow his dreams. For now,
Good
we
for
do
him.
get into the final
Good for
episode
him.
of the season, the graduation match. While this won't have the tension or stakes like the Rise of the Sacred Beast finale did, it will still deliver a solid and exciting enough ending for Season 1 of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. We start off with Zane being shown as the top duelist in the school with the highest scores in the school, making him the headlining match at the graduation exams, and given the honor of picking who he gets to face off against, deciding that the only person worthy of this would be Jaden, wanting to give him his rematch since the first time they dueled. Zane pops over to the Slifer Red dorm to tell Jaden the news and give him the time to prepare. And Cyrus is all like, "Oh no, Jaden, this is like the biggest match of the year, and that's my brother Zane, and he's like the best. What's happening? Jaden, what are you gonna do?" Hey Cyrus, chill out. It's okay, buddy. Jaden is just excited for it and tells Cyrus that it will be all good. And then Cyrus is all like, "Okay, you gotta love it." But maybe things aren't okay for Jaden here. He takes a moment to sit and understand that the match ahead is going to be tough, feeling the weight of the importance of it, along with the strength of his opponent. But he's still going to give it his all, but maybe his all in the wrong ways. With the duel getting started, Jaden is trying to play as tactical as possible, anticipating Zane's moves, with Zane bringing out his Cyber End Dragon already. Zane also ends up setting up a few things on his side of the field, causing
Also,
Jaden to take
I
a
love
moment and see if he
I love how Jaden still has the pendant around his neck. He still has the pendant around his neck.
can figure out the play here, knowing that Zane is just trying to outsmart him. I do like that this duel really feels like a true showcase of strategies that we've seen throughout the season, giving Jaden a chance to really show off all that he has learned and to prove that his cockiness of being a great duelist doesn't just end at, "Oh, hey look, I saved the world, I'm the best," but rather that he has taken time to learn and study, so that he can be ready for whatever is thrown at him. Let it be something he already knows and is anticipating, or something completely new and surprising. But also at the same time, showing that even as a great duelist, he is not perfect and flawed, which can lead to making mistakes, or in Jaden's case here, starting off by not really playing like himself. And having him go up against Zane here in this match makes it all more interesting, as it falls into...
Hold on, what'd you say? There are 4 seasons. 3 seasons are dubbed, and the 4th subbed is never dubbed. Okay, so that means that I'm just gonna have to watch it in sub. That's just all that means.
both of the categories of anticipating what is coming and also dealing with new and unexpected things. Zane keeps his cool and never is able to be easily read, while Jaden is trying to prevent every planned tactic he believes Zane has and is going to be setting up. He mentions here that he is playing this duel with his head and not his heart, which may have good intentions being said, but it may take a solid balance of both to be the best. But specifically for someone like Jaden and his dueling style, it's all about playing with his heart. That's
Right.
how he's been able to always play his best. If Jaden overcompensates playing with his head, then how will the heart of the cards even work, you know? Zane ends up surprising Jaden a bit, having him overthink what the strategies are to seemingly get the upper hand on him. Atticus even tells Alexis that maybe she needs to root for Zane now instead of her boyfriend, ticking her off a bit as if it's not obvious enough that she definitely has an interest in Jaden. Zane then nearly defeats Jaden in one turn, as Jaden only survived due to draining shield, raising his life points up to 6,100 before then being attacked directly some more and having them fall back down to now 1,900. With Zane playing at the top of his game, Jaden tries to figure a way out of this, getting out Elemental Hero Wild Edge, who according to Jaden is going to do what?
Now he's gonna edge you.
Oh.
Mm.
Alright then. Anyway, Wild Edge ends up defeating Zane's Cyber Dragons, bringing his life points to 2,000. Zane, however, uses Return Soul to bring all 3 Cyber Dragons back from the grave.
Jesus
He's also
Christ!
dogging on Jaden a bit here, making a joke by saying that he asked Jaden to be his opponent, and he didn't show up, explaining further to Jaden that he isn't being himself and isn't playing with his heart, which is going to lead to his downfall. Jaden says that he has to play with his head here for the sake of the duel, and thinks Zane is just playing mind games on him. But even Cyrus can tell something is different and doesn't think Zane is trying to get to Jaden here. He's just kind of genuinely worried and upset about it all. This is the most heated we've ever seen Jaden as well. He's not his usual full of laughter and jokey self, but instead way too focused on the wrong things and playing the game like a different duelist altogether. So with Jaden
what's
not
going
being
on?
himself and Zane disappointed in Jaden's performance, you can feel the tone of the duel become a lot more serious. Zane then plays Future Fusion, allowing him to fuse together monsters that are still in his deck, bringing back out Cyber and Dragon. Jaden is telling his brain to...
Can you do a watch along with season 4? I mean, I could try. I don't know. It's probably not gonna, you know, go well with YouTube's copyright laws.
But with double the attack points, as well as risking everything on this final move to win, or else it will backfire and take himself out. Now, Jaden's really breaking a sweat, believing that he'll never be able to live it down thanks to playing only with his head if he ends up losing. Zane hits him with, "And to think I used to admire you, and I or anyone else wouldn't make that mistake again," as he then sends an attack heading his way to finish Jaden off, cutting the episode right there before seeing the results of what just happened, as Jaden only has his Wild Edge on the field and a few face-down cards, and things don't seem to be working out in his favor for this duel.
It's Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
Watching Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
Entering back into the duel for the final episode of the season, Jaden tries protecting himself by using Soul Union, taking Elemental Hero Blade Edge's attack points and adding them on to Elemental Hero Wild Edge, raising it to 5,200. But even then, Cyber End Dragon has way more, something that Jaden somehow overlooked and beats himself up about. But after the attack, he somehow still has 100 life points, surprising everyone as Jaden activated emergency provisions to give him some extra life points to keep him barely in the game. And as he barely squeaks by for another round, Jaden ends up bringing out Elemental Hero Bubble Man, and starts thinking to himself that using his head over his heart was the wrong decision. And it's shocking that it even took him this long into the duel to truly get that things aren't looking good for him for doing this, and he's not playing right. To keep Zane now from instantly losing from his power bond, he plays Cyber Current to negate the damage that he would have taken. He then asks Jaden where is the duelist that almost beat him in their last duel, to which Jaden responds that he's right here. Thinks before admitting he doesn't know, as Zane instantly replies back saying, "Of course you don't, because your heart is not in this." Jaden then acts like Jaden again, and by that I mean he also mentions neither is his stomach, as he sits down in hunger, asking Dorothy in the audience for some food as he skipped eating earlier, and we all know that you aren't yourself when you're hungry. So Jaden snapped out of being headstrong about only using his head and wants to take a moment to eat real quick so he can go back to feeling, as well as dueling, like himself, seeing if Zane is okay with that. With Zane wanting the real Jaden to finish the duel, he of course says yes to this, having a tiny break where Jaden stuffs his mouth and belly with food and diet soda and plays some Burnout Revenge for the PS2, as everyone aside from Dr. Crowder is excited to see the real duel now take place. Jaden hops back into the duel with all the gusto he once had when he does play with his heart, quickly impressing Zane again to where he's happy the old Jaden is here. By getting his hands on Zane's Future Fusion, Jaden is able to bring out Elemental Hero Rampart Blaster in defense mode, lining himself up with cards to protect him and some face-down cards as well, as the battle isn't quite over yet. During the match, Atticus is still hounding Alexis about Jaden being her boyfriend, and she's getting more defensive of it, not admitting to liking him like that, and really wanting nothing more than Atticus to just shut up. For Jaden, when faced with another attack from Cyber End Dragon, he splits his Rampart Blaster back into Persinatrix and Clayman with Diffusion to save himself further. With 4 elemental heroes out on the field, Jaden plays Elemental Burst, sacrificing all 4 based on their elemental typings in order to wipe the field of all monsters, which was a pretty solid strategy from Jaden to hopefully turn the tides of the duel. Zane, however, is always ready for something like this, having a deck built around always getting his Cyber Dragons or Cyber End Dragon back out into play, using his Cyber Phoenix's ability to pull a card from his deck to his hand, playing the card Time Fusion, allowing him to bring a fusion monster out into his side of the field on his next turn, and we all know where that's leading. He even calls Jaden a fraud that the whole school will be able to see by the end of this, which, ouch, I thought we squashed the beef over playing with the head over your heart thing, and I thought you still respected Jaden now that he is dueling with his heart. Why would he then be a fraud? He just saved the world. You were literally there. He's good. Hey, maybe it's a way to get him motivated to get his game on more.
No, it's just the dub. The dub is kind of just all over the place, and I could say that just by watching this. The dub is all over the place.
Or something, going hard on him like when Professor Banner was saying the same thing just to push him to be his best. Now Cyber End Dragon comes back onto the field, but while it can't attack yet, he plays a card face down, while Jaden uses Fusion Recovery to get Elemental Hero Persinatrix and Polymerization out from the graveyard, using Miracle Fusion to create Elemental Hero Flame Wingman, to then fuse him with Elemental Hero Sparkman to bring out Elemental Hero Shining Flare Wingman, going up to 4,900 attack points thanks to all of the Elemental Hero cards in the graveyard now, sending him in for an attack to destroy Cyber and Dragon and take Zane's life points down to 1,100. Now, for Shining Flare Wingman's ability, he can inflict Zane's life points with Cyber and Dragon's attack power power to win this duel, but Zane stops him using Damage Polarizer, forcing Shining Flare Wingman to stop his attack, and both of them get to draw a card. Somehow they both end up pulling the same card from their decks, that being Battle Fusion. Jaden tells Zane that something tells him that this is going to be the last round, to which Zane agrees. Both of them have a big smile on their face for what's about to happen as Zane ends up playing Power Bond, bringing back Cyber End Dragon thanks to Cybernetic Fusion support, allowing him to bring a fusion monster back out without needing the separate Cyber End Dragons to do so at the cost of half of his life points, dropping him down to 550. While Cyber End Dragon already has 8,000 attack points now thanks to Power Bond, Zane plays Limiter Removal, allowing for its attack points to double, making it have 16,000.
What the
Zane,
fuck?
however, uses Battle Fusion, allowing his Shining Flare Wingman to get that 16,000 added to its existing attack points, bringing it to a ridiculous 20,900. But little does Jaden know that Zane had one as well, activating it and bringing Cyber End Dragon all the way up to a stupid 36,900 attack points. Jaden knows that whatever's about to happen, it's going to be the end of the match, but he's just happy with such an incredible end to the duel. He tells Zane that he's going to miss him after this match, as Zane is graduating in general from Duel Academy, with him telling Jaden the same, and says that he's passing the torch down to him.
Oh,
Meaning that
wow.
once he's gone from here, Jaden will now be the top duelist in the school. His grades or his rank, he'll be the best and wants Jaden to make him proud. Jaden tells him that he's going to give it his all, but he's going to do so starting right now, mentioning that the game's not done, having one final trick up his sleeve. The trap card Final Fusion. Appropriately named, we appreciate that. Now the theme song instrumental is kicking in, and things are getting real now. With this card, both of them take damage equal to the number of combined attack points their monsters have, which is a total of 57,800, with them both wearing a smile on their face as they get ready for them to both be hit with the attack at the same time, which was the most amount of attack points and damage done at the time in Yu-Gi-Oh! History in general. As a white light engulfs the arena, we see everyone in all of this. Heck, Bastion ends up doing the Attack on Titan salute because of the way the battle is going to end. With both duelists defeated from that, the match is officially a draw, giving them room to have a proper rematch one day. The two of them look forward to whenever that day is, dapping each other up and nearly passing out from exhaustion while laughing from the experience. Jaden says after everything, he certainly needs a break, and guess what, buddy? Hey, that's exactly what you're gonna get, as that is the official end to the first season of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. There's a whole lot more to still come in the series, though, with Jaden and the gang going into their next year at the school.
Of course.
Will there be promotions to different dorms for our main cast? Will there be a relationship between Jaden and Alexis that forms? Are there darker moments than the Sacred Beast storyline yet to come? Next time when we come back, we will be taking a look at Season 2 of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, all of the lore, the insane moments, and more, and I can't wait. This has been a
that was insane. That was just actually just insane, crazy, and yeah. So this is just further confirmation that I have to, I literally have to watch this through just like the English sub, because holy shit. Holy shit. But with that being said, I'm gonna get up out of here. I gotta prepare for work tomorrow. Hopefully in the next Tuesday we'll do another live stream where we're gonna be, talking about something else. Yeah, and I'll probably do a video this weekend. I'll keep you posted. I'll keep you guys posted. This has been Master of Sakurai. I'll see y'all again next time. I'm out.